Look at the stars, look how they shine for you, and everything you do. Yeah, they were all yellow. I came along, I wrote a song for you, and all the things you do, and it was called Yellow. So then I took my turn. Oh, what a thing to have done. And it was all yellow. Your skin, oh yeah, your skin bows turning to something beautiful. And you know I love you so. You know I love you so.
Digibro, Pro Crastinators, 2016, y'all. Let's do this shit. Rolled up at Coldplay in 08. Songs were great, but the stage play made an impression. I'm guessing the old white vulture, the show never gives us a listen, but here's my position. I need some invention, not iteration, on the basics of emotion for basic reaction. Some action, some verb in the verse, some verb in the curses you spit. Not a cleaned up, clean cut show for some verb and my dads and the kids. I need some legit, but that's neither here nor there, cause the real subtext of this is nothing but a bit. Foreshadowing the hell to come, it's a totally complete piece of shit. So sit back, motherfucker, get lit, cause this podcast is long as fuck, and you'll definitely wanna quit.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Pro Crastinators podcast. Here back again with all your favorite internet people.
It's not yellow!
Oh,
fucking God. Right
host.
away. Right off the fucking
all right,
bat.
let's settle it down. I'm your host, the best guy ever, Bestie Boy.
Fuck you, I ruined
Here with
the podcast.
all my internet friends. We've got patreon.com/BenSaint.
Former internet friends.
Yes, that's right. The Devu Collective.
Yo.
21st Century Digital Boy.
See, the fact is that we can't ever escape each other because we're all a part of the Devu Collective.
That's
and
exactly right.
There's no fucking breaking out of this hell.
Hip-O-Crit.
It is yellow.
Endless Jessicles.
Who's ready to argue about Homestuck for an hour, guys?
Yeah, feels that way. And
no.
me, the best guy of all. So today is a we a couple of times before we've taken suggestions on what the topic's been from like comments and stuff. But today is a suggestion from a friend of ours, our buddy Nino. Or is it like 9090 or something? Nino. You can Google him, Nino. We'll put a link to his shit in the bottom. And, by the way, quick plug, he made the coolest song ever, just today we heard it, called Jakushi on his SoundCloud. I'm going to put a link to that in the shit, too, because it was so dope, everyone in the world should listen to it. So everybody go listen to it. And his topic suggestion was things you just can't get into. Or things you can't get into. And so, there's no Urban Dictionary for that shit. We're just going to have to feel it out ourselves. So, anyone have anything to say on the topic of things you can't get into? Because I've just got a bunch of examples personally.
Well, I generally think it's annoying when an internet person like talks about it and then says it too many times, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I can't get into this and I can't get into that." When I don't get the sense, when I don't get the sense that they're really even trying in the first place. I feel that something that you just can't get into should be a really special status for a thing.
Yeah,
Is that
like
the
if for
definition
example,
we're
someone's
gonna
doing
use?
like a Crunchyroll plug, and they're like, "I tried watching this anime, but I just couldn't get into it." It's like, nigga, you don't even care about fucking Crunchyroll. You don't care about anime. That kind of shit pisses me off. But
People that I have a friend who I tried to get to play Undertale, and he was like, "Oh, I just can't get into reading things.
Wow.
I just can't get into reading the text." I was like, "That." Well,
I agree with Devu, but mostly in the context, like, I don't mind if it's like, hey, I'm on this guy's vlogging channel, and he listed like 10 different shows that people asked him about. When I can't get into that one, I can't get into that. But when someone like writes a whole review of a movie, and they're like, I just couldn't get into it. I'm sorry, guys. And I'm like, why'd you fucking make a video about it? No one cares that you couldn't get into it. That's the least interesting stance.
When they let all these things that they just can't get into be like part of their mythos, like, you know, as everyone knows, I'm not the kind of person who can get into this or the person who can get into that. I think to some extent Yahtzee is kind of annoying about that. Like, he has all these things. Oh, I just, you know, like
he's
probably
really
can't
get into JRPGs at all, right?
But
just
like proudly wearing their inability to appreciate something on their sleeve is a really obnoxious character trait.
Okay,
but
I can't get into like, I don't know, rap or something. I don't listen to any. I'm not proud of that. I'm kind of ashamed that I sort of don't understand this art form.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, just 5 minutes ago, before we started the podcast, you were saying, what? This rap was done using a beat that wasn't made by the same guy who did the rap? That's terrible.
No. I was like, I thought it was something else.
He was
That's
misinterpreting.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate that Yahtzee, like, because, I mean, I don't expect everybody to get into everything, and I think with something like games, like, people group them all together, like, oh, it's all video games, but they're really so different that it's understandable to have ones you can't get into, and I'm glad that Yahtzee at some point said, I'm not going to cover JRPGs and fighting games anymore. Like, he cut them out of his life and of his
It's just annoying because of his attitude, but, his attitude is the double-edged sword that makes him who he is, so, whatever. But like,
and personally, the approach I'm going to take in this podcast is, for me, anything I can't get into, like Ben said, I'm, like, disappointed in myself. Like, I'm on a constant quest to get into everything. So stuff that I just can't get into is like a major failing.
So by the way, let's just clarify, not being able to get into something is very different from disliking something that you experience. Totally different.
Yeah. They
totally
can be
different
the
thing.
same thing.
It could be the same, but it doesn't have to be. It's just, if you watch something and it leaves no impression on you, that's
well, Nate,
more...
you seem to have a well-figured-out list and stuff, so why don't you lead the charge here and
I do.
show us all what kind of thing we're looking for.
Yeah, I put some thought into this, and mine are a little bit less like specific pieces of media or anything I couldn't get into. They were sort of more things that over the years that I've been interested in and just never really found a comfortable place in my life for them. So let me see. I've got three bigger examples here. Okay, here's my favorite one. Back in college, me and my buddies.
What is it?
Okay, I'll just tell you. It's like playing video games with other people. Is something that, but unless it's like a fighting game, obviously that is built for that. But like being able to play any kind of game while other people are in the room has always been a big problem for me, and it was particularly an issue when, like in college, me and my buddies did nothing but sit around and play video games all day. And when we played like Smash Bros. Brawl, it was great. We all had a fantastic time. But then like my buddies would play like their favorite RPGs because we all played that kind of shit. And well, like one of them recommended, and I enjoyed being in the area while other people were playing a game. That was great. But like eventually someone would recommend. I played Tales of Symphonia. That was a game recommended to me at the time, and I played it. And like my buddy, my friend, quote unquote Mike, as he's known, was there, and he that's just his name.
Like quote unquote.
He's just Mike in quotations. That's his name. Yeah. Okay.
Wait, hang on. I thought he was your quote unquote friend, Mike.
The terms have become interchangeable. He goes, he goes by both.
My quote unquote friend, quote unquote Mike.
Yeah, that's
I don't really know anything about him.
Everything I know about him is by implication only. But okay, so he recommended that I play Tales of Symphonia, and I did.
He quote unquote recommended
and quote unquote play this game. And so I quote unquote did, and it was a good game. I liked it a lot, and I beat it. But the thing was, like that game has like a Final Fantasy IX kind of multiplayer aspect, where like in battles.
Oh God, you played it multiplayer?
Of course we did, because he wanted to play too. And the thing was,
that's how we played Secret of Mana back in the day.
That's very different.
And
Secret
back when we were totally
you.
uncritical children, it was fine.
I gotta
As
tell you
adults,
guys,
I'm sure it would be infuriating.
That's the back in the day, me and Ben played I would sit like right next to Ben, watch him play video games. We played Secret of Mana together. I remember those days so fondly. It was fantastic. But when I got older,
let me real quickly to clarify the difference between Secret of Mana and Tales of Symphonia. In Tales of Symphonia, first player does everything, and then once you get into one of the random battles, then second player gets control of one of your characters who would ordinarily be controlled by the AI fighting with you.
Yeah.
But the camera still follows player one, so you're basically like a glorified NPC in this game that, like, once the battle's over, then player 2 just sits down as controller and fucking player 1 does everything else.
It's not fun, really. At the very least, you're going to have such small... Because it's a fucking JRPG. It's all fucking talking all day, and then there's a couple cool fights, and then you're out in random
little
battles,
sister multiplayer, where it's like, you're like, if you're like 15 and you've got like a 5-year-old sister or brother, then and they are like, I want to play video games, you're like, here,
Secret of Mana is so much better for that, because unless, like, there's pretty few, like, hardcore cutscenes in that game, you're always able to just run around and do whatever as player 2. It's a great game. But the point is just, like, when I got older, I was, like, I don't know, 17 at the time, playing this game with all my friends around. The thing is, we all wanted to talk, because, you know, that's what we always did. We would sit around, we would talk, and, like, I would get so angry when people would talk over, like, voiced cutscenes, and there's a million of those in that fucking game, including, like, little dialogue pop-ups that happen, and it infuriating me. And, like, their presence made the experience horrible for me, and my need to hear everything made me, like, they'd be talking, I'd be like, guys, shut up, I'm trying to hear the story, I can't hear what they're saying. Made it horrible for them. It was terrible for everyone.
Over cutscenes. People talking during movies. I mean, similar issue.
I was going to say movies are the same.
Watching movies with people,
Oh my god. Watching movies with a fucking woman. They never shut their goddamn yaps. And then 20 minutes into the movie, I don't know what's happening. Because you
Oh my god, why
shut
are you
up.
paying attention, you dumb bitch?
Oh my god. I would actually rather shoot myself in the head with a gun than watch a movie with a
The time I
woman.
remember that most strongly was, me and Ben might remember this, we were at, like, a family, I want to say a family reunion, I think at Uncle Andy's house, and, like, they were playing The Big Lebowski in the basement, and I had always wanted to see The Big Lebowski. I was fairly young at the time, maybe like 18, and I was excited to see this movie, and then my fucking cousins, and, like, the adults, at this point in my life, I hated alcohol and it terrified me. Everyone piled into the basement to hit up the fucking bar, and they just kept talking, and they kept talking, and they got louder, and they got louder, and more people came down, and they got drunker, and then they were like, hey, Nate, what are you doing? Why are you all by yourself over here,
And
Nate,
that's
trying to watch
when
this movie?
Nate's
What are you
genocide
doing, Nate?
crusade
Why would you be
began.
here? We're trying to have a party here. It's not like you people put on the fucking movie, and I just
All right,
chose to
Nate.
sit down and watch it.
You're getting away from the topic.
You know,
here.
Yeah,
that's true.
totally.
That's true.
Totally.
And even the original thing you were saying sounds a little bit more like a gripe that it does a thing you can't get into.
No,
Like,
no,
You know,
okay.
I
I don't know that
because
that's a
let me
good
just
experience
clarify-
for
let me
anyone to play
clarify my-
two-player Tales of Symphonia.
Once
That's
again,
definitely
we've picked
that way.
a
I wanna just
horrible,
clarify, 'cause
esoteric
that's-
topic that makes no sense and that no one.
All right, we
can
can move on as soon as I finish my point, which is just that we would play other games, and whenever I wasn't the one who was, like, playing the game, if I just came in to do whatever, like, it would always be a great time. Like, my friend was playing, fuck, what was it? I can't remember. Some other game.
It doesn't matter. Jesus.
All right. The point is, I've always hated that experience, and I'd like to be able to do it, because I know lots of people have fun doing it. So, all right, that's my first example, but we can move on to somebody else's shit.
Hippo, you got one?
Okay.
Yeah. There's a forest near my house, and there's this big old tree, and it's got like a thing underneath it, and I just can't get into it anymore. I used to be able to when I was small, but I'm too big now, and it makes me really sad.
Every time!
I know that feeling. I got fat, and Hippo, I'm surprised you can't fit in there, honestly.
Well, it's
He's
a
got
very
the big
small.
bones. It's his hair.
I do
The hair is too
actually
bushy.
have a thing.
Okay.
It's now that I forgot it. Forget it.
All right, Ben.
Okay.
No,
We need
wait,
more-
I remembered it.
We need more PCPers
Oh, wait, he
like
remembered
you,
it.
Hippo.
Yeah,
oh,
we
the
do.
points
The-
points
the-
gone? Well, let's
No,
move
no, no.
on. Okay.
Right. It was about the idea that, considering what everybody said about the, getting into something and not trying, I'm very much the person who doesn't try. Like, I can get into anything. It's just the actually opening
Except
it
that
up
tree.
and looking at it.
No,
Yeah,
I'm-
except the tree. But like,
I agree- I
if
agree
somebody
with that.
like really pushes something to be like, if something's like considered among everybody to be really, really good, then I'll look at it like.
But sometimes
like
the
Ava
fact
or
that everyone's
something.
pushing
Yeah.
it makes it less appealing, When it's
Well, yeah,
some
that's what I
hype.
feel. That's how I feel
sometimes.
about Game of Thrones. I don't want to get into Game of Thrones
Yeah,
because
okay.
everyone's constantly talking about it.
I
But it's not
felt
that I
the same
can't get
way
into it. I'm
until
sure
I
I
got
would be
into
able
Game
to.
of Thrones.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I'm pretty hesitant to like pick up a new thing. It's just like because most everything sucks. So like when you pick up a new thing, odds are it's gonna suck. That's like I never pick up a new thing unless it's been recommended to me by like multiple trusted sources.
Yeah.
I don't trust any sources, so I pick up absolutely everything.
Well,
Right.
like if Nate recommends me an anime and then independently some other person is like, "Hey, have you heard about this anime?" I'll be like, "Oh shit, that's twice. Maybe
Yeah,
there's something
yeah.
to it." Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never ever in my life had someone whose taste correlated with mine enough that they could recommend me something and I would be like, oh yeah, that obviously is going to be something I'll like.
Well, yeah,
maybe,
okay, but you can figure out like why they like it, and then figure out how that relates to what you like. Maybe.
I guess, but like I said, my method is just to literally watch everything.
Oh, that works
like,
too.
I won't be able to trust anyone until I try it. Like with Game of Thrones, like there's nobody who could tell me that it was good in a way that I wanted to watch it. And then finally, the only reason I did is because it was so fucking universal that I was like, I gotta at least, let's just fucking... I sat down with Victor, and I had seen like a few scenes here and there that I thought were kind of cool. I'd seen the Red Wedding on TV, and I was like, oh, all right, that's kind of cool. So then I watched it. But no one can ever like just talk me into watching something. I have to just check out everything.
Except the seasonal anime charts. All right, who else? I
guess Steven Universe though. We all kind of talked each other into that one.
I got recommended because all you guys are watching it. So yeah.
Right.
All right. So my first item of things I can't get into is something that I used to be very into, and that is Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yeah.
And or tabletop role-playing games in general. Now, as a youngin', I was very taken with my self-image as a quote-unquote nerdy kid, as an intellectual, fucking smart nerd guy, and the image of that on TV portrayed these people as playing Dungeons and Dragons. So I was, I gotta get into Dungeons and Dragons, and I found some stuff, I figured it out. I invited all my friends, and we all played Dungeons and Dragons all the time, and it was a fine and dandy way to hang out. But that's all it really was.
Agreed.
Because the thing about D&D is ostensibly the point of it is to tell a story. Like, the point of D&D is that a story unfolds. But, everything about the game itself stands in the way of good storytelling. It is all based on fucking... I mean, a great dungeon master can pull a great story out of even the stupidest scenario. That's fine. But, it's all based on random chance. It's all couched in these stupid fucking combat mechanics. Every time I play D&D and there's a fight, every fight takes hours, and they're boring because nothing narratively interesting happens during a fight. It's all just fucking dice rolling.
Everyone having to wait for everyone else to go. It's the worst. I hate D&D. It's shit.
I did a pen and paper role play with my friends. We just sort of invented our own rules, did something really basic, but
that's the way to go. Make your own rules.
Whenever we wanted to do something that was fun or dialogue focused, I would just simplify the rules. It was basically like one of the new Paper Mario games. We're just okay, just one hit will kill this enemy, but 5 hits will kill you. All right, how about that? No more health points today.
Ben, looking back on it, I think there were exactly 2 times I had a good time doing RPG stuff. The first was our Homestuck one that you ran, which was awesome.
I talk about it in my interview.
Oh, yes, Nate was in that too.
I was.
I played
Nate
was in
Luke.
that.
I was Luke something, the guy. I remember what I was.
You were the heir of life.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. I brought shit to life. It was cool.
Yeah, your power set was about animating objects.
It was super dope. And the other time was, do you remember, Ben, back at College Academy? That guy Kevin, the DM.
Yeah.
That was the first time I played DM, and he fucking killed that shit. He was the dopest.
Me and Nate both did this summer program as kids where we went to. The point is, it was a thing for smart kids, and
we were in the Mentos trio.
The Mentos
Holy
trio.
Shit! The Mentos trio is life.
We gotta save the Mentos trio for another day.
Okay.
But they had a class at this thing that was basically just playing Dungeons and Dragons, and a guy who ran it was this dude Kevin Powers.
Yes.
He was this tall, extremely white, extremely skinny nerd, but he was really into jazz music, and he had the deepest baritone voice I've ever heard in my life.
Fuck yeah, Kevin.
And you would roll the dice and be like, I attack the monster, and he'd be like, the kobold reels back from the savage blow of your mighty war hammer.
He was such a badass.
Roll for damage.
The guy.
That was the best. That was the best possible experience of D&D playing that.
You guys, I've noticed an issue with all of your things so far is.
Okay.
One thing I can't get into is such and such. Except for that one time, I totally got into it. It's kind of going against the spirit
you know
of the
what?
thing.
Ben admitted that he used to be into it.
I'll talk about it.
Let me bring it to why I can't stand it now. 1, the rules are cumbersome, and there's too many of them. 2, playing it with people is a nightmare because when you get together, everyone has their own idea for how to have fun playing it, and combat takes for fucking ever, and everyone else's turn is the most boring thing in the world. Only your own turn is interesting, and it is a minority of the experience. And you just fucking sit around and do nothing and just fucking deal with all this rulesy bullshit, and I fucking hate it. I hate it so much.
Sounds like it's not like inherent. The inherent format isn't a problem for you. It's just like it's about the way it's always done.
No, it is the format.
Some people like it.
Well, no.
There are better games than D&D that have less crunchy rules and are less annoying about it. I still think they kind of end up being annoying because of the social aspect.
Guess that
but
makes sense.
D&D itself, I think, is a particularly bad game.
I think for me, because I'm piggybacking on yours, I also can't get into tabletop games, and just like you, it was a thing that I grew up thinking looked cool, and like obviously it was like what all the big kids did instead of like you know, like it's like a big better than video games because it's real and tactile and you're making it up yourself.
Hold on, dude.
And then,
I remember specifically in your old Q&A you said that like you could just play Arkham Horror for 2 weeks if the power went out and you'd have a great time. Because you had done that before when the power went out one time.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we did do that, and Arkham Horror is not really a role-playing game so much as like
Arkham Horror is
I had no idea what idea what it was. I thought maybe it's a prequel to one of the Batman games,
Yeah.
the board game edition. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's a H.P. Lovecraft inspired board game that's just ludicrously intricate in the way you play
by
it.
the way, Davu, they're both inspired by Arkham from Lovecraft separately, so they're you know.
But yeah, like that's sort of a different thing. But like with pen and paper, which I'm not that into board games either at all, just because they take so fucking long to set up and do everything. And
I used to be into board games, and now I just think.
That's why that's like the best part from the
in
board game series when he has this one board game that he's gonna play, and like it's like 5 minutes of him explaining how to set it up, and motherfucker Mike is like, okay, when are you gonna be finished setting it up? And he's like, well, see, you also have to get these stats in the right way, and you gotta do this and you gotta do that, and it's like this huge montage of setting everything up, and then at the end he's like, all right, I'm all ready to go, and Mike is bored and leaves. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna go now, and I just like, oh man, that's I totally agree and relate to that, man.
That's also the Dungeons and Dragons experience because every player's turn lasts too fucking long, and nobody else is like unless you guys are like really tightly packed as a group into whatever event you're doing.
Yeah.
If everyone's doing something even slightly different, it's not relevant to anyone else.
And by
so
the way,
second one guy gets his turn, everyone else gets on their phones and starts fucking texting other people and just wants to be anywhere else because they don't care about what's going on in your fucking story, especially if you're fighting something.
Yeah.
Like nobody cares. And then like in order to make the story at all interesting or to accommodate anybody's creativity, then our DM would just like, you know, just basically say fuck most of the rules. Like he would just be like, all right, well, whatever. And then eventually it got to a point where we're like, well, the story's not going anywhere because it was just all of us. We're not fucking story writers. We have no sense of narrative progression. We're just dicking around.
There's too many conflicting
my friends, particularly
ideas
my
going
brother
on.
is great with that. We were in the final battle of of our game, and like the boss was about to like unleash their ultimate attack, and I don't want any of the characters to die, so like the final attack is like heading towards my brother's character, and he's like, okay, what do you do? And he's like, I slice it with my sword, and he gets like he rolls a 2, and that's like a failure. He's like, I hit it with the.
He got it too, so he did
I hit
it
it
twice.
with like the edge. I hit it with the butt of my sword. He rolled a 1. I hit it with my left butt cheek. He rolled a 1. I tried to like fart in its general direction. Rolled a 2. Like he just kept getting further and further into like abstract ways of attacking until finally he rolled a 4 and it succeeded. And he's great.
That does not sound like any kind of Dungeons and Dragons I have.
That's basically what my run was like. Mine usually involved
because like
throwing
I was
alcohol
physically
at things.
moving the attack towards his character, so he kept running out of time and had to come up with it like in the span of a few seconds, and it was glorious. And so that's how,
I think I'm just a lot less interested in the creativity of my friends than I am in the creativity of anyone who is trained as an artist.
Dude,
like
related point, like my interest in Dungeons and Dragons and board games pretty much completely died exactly at the moment that I became interested in like drawing and making my own shit. It's so much more. It's such a waste of time compared to that.
Sure is.
Like it's a creative endeavor, only you don't get anything out of it.
Yeah, and you're doing it with a bunch of people who aren't creatives and have no stake in becoming creative people because they're not trying to do that as a passion or career.
Basically,
It's
You can see that, by the way, on your first session of D&D every time. It's everyone making their character. Nobody knows how to fucking make their character. It wastes like an entire fucking day. It's
So I guess
Never do it.
I guess what I would do in the future is just you roll a six-sided die, and 6 means super successful, 5 means very successful, 4 means and then 1 means a huge failure. So you just decide what you're gonna try to do, and then you roll for the success level, and then just.
But see, there's a problem even with that, because the fact that your actions are controlled by a random chance means that the narrative that you want to happen is not guaranteed
that's
to, and could
going
just
into
easily
it
be
trying
fucked
to
up.
have a narrative is not the way to go, man.
Yeah, I mean, part of the idea of it is that
well, then why are there stories crafted?
Part of the idea is that an interesting story can emerge through
That's
random
absolutely,
chance, and I get
the story that me and my
I
friends
get
did.
that.
Like, it was interesting to us because.
But it won't, because people aren't.
Well, because what
though.
happened was
It can.
one of my friends.
Do you want to take that risk, hundreds of hours, I don't know, dozens of hours on a campaign that might be
I
shit?
think it's pretty much
too much for
inevitably
me.
going to
That's all
be
I'm saying.
interesting with the right people, because like what happened was my friend kept
Well,
like we
anything's
had like
interesting
all
with
the
the right
characters lined up on a grid and stuff, and like one of my friends kept happening to move in just the right spaces to like constantly be in a circumstance where she would probably trip in the universe, and so it became a completely accidental running gag that her character like gets knocked over or trips or falls. It was totally organic. And then at one point another character trips into like one of the NPCs, and like just the way the dialogue ended up happening, he became one of the main characters, and I ended up having to play a character as well as DMing. Like, just it was so cool. And like and then like there was like one side character was exhibiting very suspicious behavior just because I couldn't come up with like what the secrets were. I couldn't the point is I had to come up with a whole secret special twist like on the go as I was going, and it turned out to be an incredible twist that I wouldn't be able to explain here. But yeah, a lot of really interesting. I came up with like a whole lore about.
Is this the D&D cast or what?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
anyways,
I know,
a lot of
right?
Yeah, we
interesting
need to
stuff
move on
happened.
from this.
I remember wanting to do it when
All right,
Digitop
all
with all
right,
the
we
cool
gotcha.
things that he did with his friends doing D&D.
The thing
Most
is,
of the stuff we did was
Look, the
retarded,
point is
though.
Ben can't get into it, right? That's all we're saying.
Fun things can happen, and like it can be really interesting and entertaining, and also a good way to hang out with friends, and all that stuff is cool. I just think that it's way more pain than pleasure, and that the amount of bullshit you have to deal with to get those benefits are not worth it.
All right,
for
and the
me
case has been
anymore.
made, and it has been contested, and that's fine. Let's move on to the next one.
Okay.
Jesse, you got
yeah.
something you can't get into here?
Yeah.
I haven't heard from you.
There's this
No.
webcomic.
Almighty.
This it's pretty
What is it?
popular. It's like kind of a webcomic, but I guess it's also kind of like a shitty video game. I don't know.
Yeah.
The art style is really gay. The characters, what's it called? Something about homos. Something about homos and suck. Ah,
Yeah.
my God.
Is it Homestar Runner? Is that what you're talking about? I like Homestar Runner personally. Bring back Homestar.
See, here's the thing with Jesse is that if
that all you have to
something
say
is
about that,
introduced to
Jesse?
him in a contentious
No,
way,
it's
then he'll never be
Not
able to
all
like.
that I have to. God damn it! No, Devu, don't even fucking start, because you're not gonna goad me into a fight, okay? Because I thought about this long and hard, okay? No one here is going to say some stupid shit or infer some far out bullshit about me. That's going to fucking get my blood pressure up. I'm not going to have it. I'm not going to allow it, because I have constructed the perfect argument-proof
All right.
example
Oh my God.
of why I can't get into Homestuck.
Okay, we'll hear
We're
it.
all going to sit down.
Interesting.
We're going to sit in a
Interesting.
circle. We're going to have a calm, familial discussion. We're going to have a
Jesse,
Thanksgiving turkey.
I will do that. I can do that if you can.
We're gonna
I'm
sip
prepared
hot
for
tea.
this.
We're gonna fucking play some Oriental music on like some strings. We're just gonna go to a fucking Chinese restaurant and
We're gonna turn on some yellow lights
Yeah.
to light everything.
I don't know what those are. I don't think that yellow lights are actually a thing that exists. You stupid
Well,
motherfucker.
they do in a
But let's
Chinese
talk
restaurant.
about-
All the lights they put up are yellow lights. So okay, let's.
Yes, because they're yellow people.
I'm making a racial joke.
yellow,
Okay, go
yeah.
on.
Got it.
And what a joke it was. All right.
Okay. Homestuck. It's fucking gay.
There it is.
Yeah. There we go.
You know,
Oh, it
you're
was
not
worth
wrong.
it. It was
Argument.
all worth it.
I don't even disagree that it's gay.
Yeah, it's pretty gay.
It's pretty gay.
In both
It is
both
pretty gay.
ways.
This is gay.
It's
No,
it's
I figured it out.
homosexual and it's gay as well.
I figured out. No, I figured out the mental block, for real,
Okay.
Oh my god.
If something is really long, but grabs me immediately, I can give it a chance. If something doesn't grab me immediately, but it's short and manageable, I can give it a chance. Homestuck is both really long and doesn't immediately grab me. So that's
Well,
just the two factors
Makes
right
sense.
at once.
You know.
I mean, I know there's some people say that it's boring at the beginning and it only gets interesting later when the trolls or the time travel shit comes in. I'm not saying that's what you think, Jesse. I don't think that's you. A lot of people do say that, and I, for one, totally disagree. I think Homestuck is maybe not like on the first page, but definitely within the first act. Is really interesting.
I was also one of the people who heard that because Victor read it before I did, and I just kind of saw him reading it, and I'd never fucking heard of it at all. So I saw him reading it, and I was like, "What's this?" And he had gotten into it from his girlfriend, and he was like, "It's Homestuck." And and then he was in like Act 3, and he didn't really start enjoying it till like late into Act 3. And he was like, I don't know, it doesn't really get good for a long time. And I was like, well, I'll be the judge. I'll just read like 5 pages, and if I'm not into it, I'm not gonna read it because it's fucking long. And I read like page 1, and I was like, this is the funniest thing I've ever read in my life. I'm gonna read all of this. Like,
Right?
I was
It's
immediately
funny
hooked.
right off the bat. I don't know what people don't.
No,
see.
I mean,
it's funny,
It's funny
right off.
in its own way. It's a little bit, it's got its own sense of
I
humor that you
mean,
have to kind of
it's
adjust
funny,
to a little
but there's
bit.
also a lot of these like long dialogue, like chat things that you have
That's
to
the
skip.
funniest part.
Yeah,
though.
but
You
that's
can't
where the
just
jokes are.
The way I got into Homestuck is that
Jesse's
I saw
not much of a reader.
I saw
Don't
Jesse's
please.
Jesse's the only one of us who reads books.
Yeah,
sorry,
he
sorry,
reads
that might
way
not be
more
true.
than all of us.
That's true. Okay, sorry, Gib,
Hippo,
go on.
what
go
were
on.
you saying?
He was saying that.
I was
yeah.
saying I got into Homestuck because of Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff. So
Oh, me too, dude. Me too.
I saw that and I thought like the guy who made this was hilarious. I got to read the main thing.
Dude, in
but
college,
I
me and my
don't know
buddies
whether-
just loved. Yeah, sorry. Go on.
Shut
go on.
up, Nate.
I'm sorry.
Remember before the podcast started when Nate was like, I'm going to really try not to cut anybody off. I'm going to talk a lot less in this podcast.
I make tactical insertions where I think people are going to stop. But go on.
You see,
go
Nate,
on.
I'm
the way that
always
the
going
rest
to
of us
stop.
do it is someone starts talking and we just wait for them
I can't
to
afford
finish
that.
their point.
I can't afford to take that risk. All right, sorry. Go on, Gib.
I forgot now.
You were saying you got into it
you.
through Hella Jeff and Bro.
Right. Yes.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
and like I didn't find the very first act to be that as funny, but I kind of
Yeah.
got it. I feel like I would have
God.
I stuck through it anyway, but I don't know.
Me and my
I had,
buddies.
like-
Okay.
Yeah.
Me and my buddies are just like in college. We didn't even know Homestuck existed, but we read all of Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff, thought it was the best thing ever, and had no idea about Homestuck. I think until like Ben showed me that Homestuck existed and was a thing. And
I had,
frankly,
like,
I yearned for those days before I knew. Those were the great days.
I had seen Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff. I didn't really know.
Yeah.
I got into Sweet Bro through Homestuck, but like the existence of Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff is like one of the best things about Homestuck.
It
the
is.
fact that like in universe there is this fucking comic that exists that one of the characters makes, and
Yeah.
that like all like most of the best memes in Homestuck are not like external memes, but are memes that were generated by the author within this like in-universe continuity of Sweet
I
Bro and
just
Hella Jeff.
reading
Holy
the end
shit.
recently when Caliborn gets ripped. It was fantastic. It was the best.
We've got Tom joining us. Tom, are you recording?
Hey,
Hey, dude.
I am recording, yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
Cool.
So
Should we
was
sync
that the
test
end?
right now?
No,
Well,
we'll sing it at the end.
okay,
We'll sing it at
I
the
don't
end.
want to go too much into Homestuck on account of I think we'll have a Homestuck podcast
Oh,
at
yeah.
some point
One's in the
once
works.
everyone finishes the
Yeah.
story. So
I would
Yeah.
like
In all honesty, I'm so fucking tired of fighting with you shitwits because you're so fucking. I was fighting with these dumb motherfuckers for like an hour. because they you know what? Let's just get
Here
into
it
this.
comes, here it comes.
I'm sick of
All right.
holding it inside.
We should get into this now because Jesse isn't invited to the real Homestuck podcast, so this is the time
this
to
isn't
air
even
his
about
grievances.
Homestuck.
No,
Now,
this
this
isn't
is
about
about
that. He's
light,
about
man.
to
This
talk
is
about
about
lights, about
Oh,
yellow.
fuck, never mind. Okay.
Fine,
These
Jesse,
fucking
go.
guys,
Let's
they
do it.
all fucking ganged up on me. It was like the people versus Endless Jess.
I
Because
wasn't ganging up on
being
you. It's
wrong.
no,
Fuck.
you were no, you were being aggressively wrong. Every single one of you stupid idiots, objectively aggressively wrong, saying that my fucking video looked yellow. It does not look yellow. And you know what?
All right, you know what, Jesse? I'm going to post those fucking pictures in the
I
chat.
hope you do.
They can
I hope
weigh
you do.
in
No,
on how yellow this is, all right?
You post
they can
those
weigh
videos.
in.
No, post those pictures and
I
don't
will.
even say anything. Don't say who did what and just say
I
which
won't,
one
I
looks
won't.
better. I
Okay,
dare
that's
you.
perfect. We'll make a poll. People can
Wait, is
decide
the question
which
which
is
one
No,
looks
it's
better
not which
or
one looks
is it
better.
yellow?
It's which one looks yellow.
Okay, well, that too.
None of them look
Have
yellow.
We'll have them answer
Well,
both questions.
nobody's contesting which one looks better. I mean, Nate might be because
Well,
he
I think
has a
the yellow
personal
doesn't
opinion.
look very good either.
There you go.
Yeah,
There
but
is a
yeah, I have
contention.
also my own illustration that I put together where I compare the individual pieces of Jesse's face in almost all of his videos, like where it's got the lighting that he has in almost all of his videos, versus.
I'm sorry. Did we explain what the
so
issue
in
was
almost
fully
all of
yet?
Jesse's
Did
videos,
we already
he
do
has
that?
a certain style of lighting that all of us identify
Jesus
as
fucking
yellow
Christ.
lighting,
Stupid
but Jesse
motherfucker.
disagrees that it's yellow lighting.
I am not even
Even
friends with
though-
these people anymore. I'm done.
Okay.
I thought we were going to try to make these enraged
It's
Jesse
just
less,
called
not more.
Right, or
incandescent
yellow
lighting.
And I have an illustration of a graph that compares the actual colors of his face and his beard and his eye even in that one scene in one of his horseshoe reviews where he goes outside, and it's
In
a totally
fact-
different, less yellow color.
I would
Yeah,
even say
and
that
it looks worse.
Jesse's argument that the color is normal is also true.
Normal's
It
not a
is
color,
normal.
Jesse.
It is normal to live in an incandescently lit room because most people have those type of light bulbs. It's just that the type of light that
Right.
is called
Now,
yellow
Jesse,
light.
I don't
It
disagree
is,
necessarily
I
that
don't care.
that
Warm
the
light.
lighting in that one shot that I used of you being outside is worse. That might be true, because you just grabbed the camera and talked out.
I thought the outside
Well,
shot
I don't
looked
know,
way
like-
better.
The outside shot looked like
agree.
shit.
Well,
You're
it's-
objectively
you
long.
weren't
Let's
facing-
talk
the light
about the
wasn't
real
facing
issue
you, your
here.
face was
the real
shadowy.
issue is that these people do not know what yellow looks like. They literally do not know what the color
You
yellow
don't.
is.
Fucking DeVoe proved that it's yellow.
No.
He proved
DeVoe
it.
proved
Okay, just-
himself wrong.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
these guys, they made images to try and show me how wrong I was, and the images proved them wrong.
No,
and they can't
didn't,
accept
for
it.
fuck's
Oh
sake.
my
In the
fucking
video
God.
of you being outside, your face looks like pinkish gray.
In the video of you being
And
outside.
Jesse, what
No
the?
one
That's
gives-
not an
and
argument. You're just making
In
retarded noises.
most of your videos, when you're in the basement,
His
That's
whole
what
your
you
point
face
of the
looks
series
like
of retarded
pitch yellow.
noises.
Like if
That's
you were
right,
a
Tom.
What's up, everybody? Digibro here. Feeling existential, having a smoke, drunk after the end of that podcast. Thinking about my philosophical take on the color yellow. This shirt is obviously yellow. The light being cast on me is actually from a fluorescent light from inside of the garage here. I feel like my face tone is pretty close to my shirt tone, and yet this is definitely blue light. But you can tell that's blue. The sky is definitely blue. And I look over here, and see, now that looks white. You can tell that the light is white, or blue rather, which is what white light is considered. Yet when it's shining on me, I don't really look white. I look more yellowy. But I look over here, and behind me, I can see what are more clearly off camera than on, yellow lights in the distance. You can't even see me now, probably, because it's quite dark out. But I'm thinking about the street lights, right? And how, I would always think of a street light as yellow. But what is yellow as a concept? I think we'd all agree this. The light on my cigarette is yellow. But does yellow mean a color that an object is? Or a light? Can lighting be yellow? We can agree that a monitor represents things in colors. A camera captures things in colors. But does light actually emit colors? Or is it a different thing? Is the sky blue? Is my shirt... My shirt is definitely yellow. But if I have a yellow light on me, am I yellow? What does yellow mean? I don't know what yellow means anymore. I have lost track of the meaning of yellow. I guess yellow, like most things, means what we want it to mean. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Character with yellow skin. Like, that's what your face looks like.
Do you people at home, do you hear how these morons are ganging up on me? They're so fucking insecure about how wrong they are. They just can't accept it. They can't handle it.
Do you think people are supposed to look
Listen
like
to
Simpsons
the
characters?
aggression.
I want to clarify,
Listen to the
Simpsons
fucking...
characters are not what real humans look like. We're not actually yellow in real life, so just
You're saying
remove
my
that
video
standard.
looks like a Simpsons character. You're that fucking
You know,
stupid.
like Jesse, like you have to understand where I'm coming from at least. Of 3 years of watching your videos, and in most of them being yellow. I think some of them are lit by like other means, but most of your videos have been yellow for all this time, and like.
No, here's how dumb these people are. Okay, Digi goes, "Look, Jesse, I'll show you a picture from one of my videos that also
It
looks
does.
yellow." He shows me a picture. It also doesn't look yellow at all.
So there.
It's yellow lighting. It's what it's called.
I
That's
don't care
the
what
name
it's
of
called
the light.
if it's wrong, Digi. It's objectively not yellow.
And by the way, we've been having this argument for 3 fucking years, just so everyone
Yeah,
knows.
it's
Like,
true.
this is not the first time the yellowness of Jesse's videos has come into question. I don't know if you've been around for the last one, Devu, but this is like an ongoing battle for all
Okay, first
time.
of all-
Longer than the Homestuck fight.
First of
by
all, you're
far.
mischaracterizing it, okay? This is not about the yellowness of my videos, plural, okay? Because not all of my videos are professionally lighted and professionally made. Most of my videos are like vlogs. I don't care about the lighting. Anytime that I fucking put effort into the lighting, it looks beautiful. It looks perfect
I do
because
think
I designed
it
it to
looks beautiful.
be.
I do think
I take great offense.
I don't disagree with
but
those
it's
two
also yellow.
statements.
Like that.
I disagree. I don't think any Jesse video has beautiful visuals or lighting. There you go. I said it.
Okay, that may be the truth, but
Nice
let's not
one,
even get
Ben.
into it.
Yeah, we
Let's not
can't
even
get in. We
into it.
can't
Yeah,
get
high
into
five,
Jesse's
Jesse.
yellow
Woo!
lighting. Some of it, or at least Ben can't.
In fact, we shouldn't even be on this topic at all because it has nothing to do with the topic of the
Indeed.
podcast. So let's just move on, all right?
No, it does, because I can't get into the insane frame of mind that you people are in, that you see yellow where there is no
Just like
fucking
memes
yellow.
that need
I
to
can't
die.
get
It's
into
a
it.
format where you could talk about literally anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To clarify what I just said, I only mean that I don't think that, like good, like high quality visuals are one of the things people come to a Jesse video. Like that's not something I would say that like any of the Jesse
Ben,
channels
no matter
are
what
about.
you say, Jesse's not going to listen. It's not going to matter.
I'm not talking to Jesse
Oh my
right now.
god!
I'm talking to the
Yeah,
viewers.
let's talk about that, okay? Because Nate can't handle that he's wrong, so he gets on this high horse about, oh, Jesse just never
damn it.
listens to criticism. He can't handle my hardcore criticism, my
I'm
constructive.
just saying that you get angry when people criticize your
No,
shit.
no.
as
I get
evidence
angry
right
when
now.
people criticize it wrong. I get angry with wrong criticism because your criticism is objectively not true. I don't care if Gibbon's playing guitar. You can play your guitar. You can sing your little gay boy songs all you want. It's not going to stop me. It's not going to quell this fire. It's not going to put the fire out, Gibbon. You can play all night. I don't care. It's not yellow. It's not
right,
fucking
Tom.
yellow.
Tom, what's something you can't get into?
I don't even understand. Like, what are you? Jesse,
Enough!
Oh my
I'm never. No, this is my hill to die on. What are you people seeing? It's not yellow. It is not. I'm not even. This isn't even like. This has nothing to do. This is not me going like, oh, my videos are great. Don't critique my videos. This has nothing to do with whether I think it looks good or not.
Right, right.
Fucking take that out of the
This
equation.
suit
It just
is
plain
not black.
Yellow. It's not yellow.
They just are
Tom.
yellow. God.
Tom,
Jesse,
what's something you can't get
just-
into?
we feel the same way towards you about this issue. Like, how can you not see it?
Yeah,
That's
it's
an
like
You
impact.
guys are
Friggin'
saying
totally
something that
cross-
isn't there.
You know what
like
it is?
You don't know what
It's like
yellow
the
is.
dress.
I can fucking show you a picture of the color yellow, and you look at it and go, "Yup, that's yellow." And then I show you my video and go,
Oh my
"Yup,
god, the
that's
fact
yellow
that
too."
it is not like the perfect, the fact that it is not, like hashtag FF0069,
Whoa, Ben,
exactly
good
fucking
job.
lemon yellow is not the issue.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wait, is that actually the yellow
Is it?
hexadecimal
I
or
don't
something.
know.
Diffuse
I
did
don't
a
know.
good job.
I mean,
Like
you
you
said
really.
it like you
Ben's
knew it
been
correctly.
reading
No,
his
I've always been
Lulu
wanting to have.
a
I've
lot
wanted to make
lately.
a shirt called that's just like it's pitch white and the text is "I'm hashtag fucking white," because that's the Unicode. That's the code for.
Ah, I
white.
get it. I get
Oh,
it. Okay.
All right,
okay.
Tom, what's
Tom,
something you
Bottom
can't get
line is
into?
that I made a video that looks
God fucking
fucking
damn it.
natural and beautiful, and Nate's like, "Oh, I'll show you how yellow it is. I'll show you," and he like color
It
corrects
is
it and makes
yellow.
an
I
image.
showed
His looks
you.
so and yours looks so much worse.
Okay, so this room looks one way, right? And this room looks another way. Because this room is lit with fluorescent light. No, this one is incandescent light. And this one is fluorescent light. Incandescent light is referred to as yellow or warm light. Whereas fluorescent light is referred to as blue or white light. So this room, it looks normal. This is what a normal room looks like. And you could say that it's technically not, like, nothing in the room is yellow. The room is not yellow. And even the light isn't technically yellow. It's just that it has more yellow values. Like, the values in what is being presented through the monitor. Like, look at my hand right now. Like, yeah, it is skin colored. My hand is skin colored. But it does look different in this light. It is still skin colored, but the lighting looks different. And the way that that lighting is represented by a computer monitor is to use more yellow values, whereas in here it's more white values. This is more white, this is more yellow values. This is more white values, or blue values rather, is what I mean to say. Yellow light, blue light, both are normal. Both I would describe as normal light. A lot of people think this kind of light looks cleaner, and I do think this kind of light is very appropriate for the videos of someone like MKBHD when he's talking about technology, because there's a very pristine look to it. You can see more detail in white light. It's easier to pick out every individual, detail, whereas in yellow light, it's more of this homey, nostalgic feel. It makes it feel like you're in a house. When you think yellow light, you think, I am in a house. And I think that if the concept of your video is that I am in a house, then yellow light's appropriate. Because whenever I see white light, like I said, it makes sense in an MKBHD video because he's talking about technology. But I always feel like it doesn't look like a real place. Like, it doesn't look like his room. It doesn't look like a place where a person lives, because no one lives in this. I would not be able to live in a room that looked like this. So to me, having a room be... Oh, God, my food's done. You know what I'm saying.
Yours looks like white and
First of all,
glitter.
it doesn't matter if it looks worse. The point is it looks less yellow, which it does.
It does.
So there.
My video does not look yellow in the first place, so no, it does not look less yellow. It just looks like a different color.
A different
My video,
color? Which
it's not
color?
yellow.
A difference in color because it's yellow.
Yeah,
Is the
It's gotta
color
be
yellow
one.
color.
It's gotta be
There's a
one color.
delta
It's
in
a different
yellow.
color. Which other color is it?
I can't fucking believe that you guys are all seeing yellow. There's no. I'm fucking. My wig is
Which
blown
color
off.
is it
I'm
if it
losing
isn't
my
yellow?
fucking mind here. It's not
Okay.
a color.
Alright,
It
guys, you know
just
what? I
looks
just
normal.
realized that I still have my flux
yeah,
on,
normal.
so maybe that's why I'm seeing all this yellow. I just have to turn off flux. Tom, what's a thing that you can't get into?
I have a couple things. One of them I said is I can't get into going to concerts.
Oh, man.
okay, that's a good one. That's a good
I
one.
agree with you, but I'm still fucking pissed off.
That's understandable. I feel the same, Tom. Could you give us any anecdotes?
I mean, I haven't even really gone to like any like big concerts, but even just like small ones that I've gone with like friends and shit. I don't know. For me, like
Yeah.
I enjoy listening to music just and like kind of getting lost in it. And I feel like when I'm at a concert, there's like a bunch of fucking people that I hate.
Yeah,
Because I hate people. They're all around me, and like people are like fucking just like crowded together. Then the music
And, I
never
mean,
sounds is fucking
yeah.
good because like you're like
Yeah,
fucking
exactly,
far away
yeah.
from a stage. And I don't know, the appeal of like, oh, it's the band playing the music live. I'm like, I don't give a fucking shit about the band. I give a shit about the music. So
I
there
think
is
the
a-
last
Yeah, go on. Ben.
concert I went to was last year's BronyCon.
Ah.
I think that's the last time. And I mean, that was cool and all because it was a thing. But like now, when I think about going to a concert, I think I would have to physically travel there, which is annoying. I would have
And
to buy a
cost money.
ticket, which is really annoying. And it would take like my whole day or like my whole evening, which is
it's
like
a
I just can't
huge
bear. I
time
can't
and
bear
money
the thought of
investment
it.
for a
Yeah,
subpar
and like
listening
let's call it what it
experience.
is. What you're getting out of that is
Yeah.
you're seeing these famous people and you're going to socialize, and that's fine. That's what you want to do. But that's what you're paying
Yeah.
for, really, and to hear songs that you may or may not like.
Well,
a little bit.
when
in
I've gone
worse
to
quality.
concerts, it's usually because like my parents have taken me or friends have taken me, so I didn't
Yeah.
have to pay. So in that way, I'm just experiencing.
That's cool.
It's the
If it's
experience
free,
of like
I
being
would
in
totally
a
go to
huge.
some.
If it like it's been in a huge stadium, the appeal that I find is not necessarily that the music is there because I can listen to it whenever.
Yeah.
It's that
Yeah.
it's just being in a stadium is really cool because it's all echoey and really loud, and
Well-
your ears hurt afterwards.
Yeah, the best concert I ever went to was on my birthday. My buddy Rich came up from New Jersey. We went
Wait,
to
Nate,
an.
is this relevant to the topic of not being able to get into concerts at all?
It is because I got into this girl who I finger banged on the dance floor for like an hour.
You told this story already, actually.
Did
now
I?
that you mention it, yeah, you
I
told
was
us on
able
the
to get
show.
into it.
Jesse, why aren't you able to get into concerts? I want to hear everybody before I chime in. Jesse, you still there?
He killed himself. He did.
Jesse's girl. Jesse,
Man, that was a great joke that I could have made. Oh, there was this girl.
You know,
she's got
I'm
a
just
pussy. I
walking
can't
around
get into it.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
there's
no, but I got
so
that
many
one.
things that are yellow, and none of them look like my video.
I was waiting.
all right,
for
Devu,
it.
how do you
Jesse,
feel
go
about
buy a
concerts?
yellow fucking lemon.
No yellow thing looks like my video.
Jesse,
Yellow does
there's-
not look like.
Do you understand color?
It's
There's
not
degrees.
yellow. It's a yellow tint, sir.
It's a tint.
Let's just,
It's not
let's
even-
just
it's not even
fucking-
a tint.
Let's just categorically
Wait.
redefine what yellow is, so we can say the
Hold
video
on,
doesn't
That's what you
look
guys
like
have been
it. There
doing
we
this
go.
whole time.
Wait,
Categorically
Jesse, if-
redefining
You've been
what
doing
yellow
this
is.
Jesse, if
time.
your lighting is yellow, then wouldn't everything in your room be yellow by
Oh my god,
necessity?
that's it. That's
are you
it.
talking
He can't
about?
see yellow because he's been saturated and
Yeah,
it is
did you? I
entirely
really like when you brought
What
up
the
flux,
fuck?
'cause I wonder
I
what
told
would
you there's no
happen.
such thing as yellow lighting. Light bulbs
All
are not
right,
yellow.
all
Light
right.
bulbs
What would
are
happen
white.
if
That's
Justin?
okay.
There's a problem in thinking about light in the way I'm describing. It's mostly philosophical, right? Like, do we want to say that light can be yellow, or do we want to say that this is what yellow is? Like, I think if you were in defense of yellow as a color, if you wanted to be a purist about what yellow is, then we shouldn't refer to yellow light. We should refer to incandescent or fluorescent light, each of which does have its own meaning and looks different. However, not necessarily a color. I don't know, man. Is it an insult to say that somebody's video looks yellow? What world do we live in? What universe am I in? Where the fuck am I? Where am I that we can even talk about this? Why is this happening? Why is this the world?
It
Dog,
should-
yellow
yellow
doesn't
doesn't
even notice
exist.
the difference, or he would think it looks better when he has flux on, or I don't know. Like that's like
Shut up! I am not the crazy one here, you stupid motherfuckers! I am sick of being vilified and treated
No
like
one's
I'm the guy
vilifying you.
who's crazy here. I am not the one who's crazy. You are
Right,
all
when-
crazy.
Jesse, the viewers will get to decide for
when
themselves.
everyone else in the world is crazy, right, Jesse? It's all
Yes, I am
everyone
the
else
only
who's the
sane
weirdo.
man in a mad world, as we've clearly established multiple times throughout the history of this podcast.
Jesse, would you like to weigh in to why you can't get into live shows, concerts? No.
Do I have to make a yellow video so that you can all see what a yellow video actually looks like? Is that
All
what's
right,
going to have to
moving
happen?
on. Moving on. Who's got a thing? Digi.
All right,
it's
well,
your
I was
turn.
going to go in the opposite direction because I
Right.
love concerts.
Right.
I go to them all the time. For me, it's, I guess because I grew up with them, my parents are big, like, metal heads and stuff, so I went to lots of metal shows in my teens, and it was always just about fucking destroying myself and going apeshit, and, you know, it's like, because it's the loudest that you could possibly listen to this music.
Right.
And there's a bunch of other people who are all into it, too, and you're all just, like, just going ape shit, and there's like a lot of
Never
it's like
really
an additional
understood
layer
the
of
loud
energy.
is better. Isn't that like worse at a certain point? You know?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think I definitely I've been to a lot of shows, and there's definitely a huge gradient of how much I enjoyed them.
Sure.
A lot of the time, sound mixing is fucking terrible at shows, especially if you go to like a big like a stadium type thing.
Yeah,
then usually there's just not the best mixing of the audio, and wherever you're standing or sitting can affect it, you know. And the worst thing that can happen is when you have a crowd who doesn't get the music.
Oh yeah,
like,
it's the worst.
Going to, because I know, Tom, you're a big Opeth fan.
Yeah.
I've been to 2 Opeth shows, and those guys, they perform perfectly. Like, they sound exactly as good live as they do on the album. They have perfect sound. And they'll play shows, but, like, the people who go to them are, like, the metalhead crowd. And those people are fucking wasted because they're at a show. And so they'll be playing, like, the heavy part of a song. For those who don't know, Opeth transitions, like, frequently between heavy and calm parts in their songs. So they'll be playing a heavy part, and everyone's like, yeah! And they're all going crazy and moshing and shit. But then there'll be, like, 2 minutes of soft finger-picked guitar.
The average Opeth song's, like, 10 to 15 minutes. So, like, transitioning back and forth is, like, minutes, not seconds.
Right, and so everyone in the crowd is just kind of like, doesn't really know what to do because they're all drunk and ready to fucking throw down in a metal show. And a lot of them are people who aren't necessarily Opeth fans, just people who are dragged by their friends. And so there'll always be a bunch of people talking or people on their fucking like phones and shit. And it's like, it's miserable.
Me. Yeah.
Like, it's such a good performance that the band is putting on, but the crowd is so terrible at Opeth shows that it's like almost not worth it.
Get a bunch of inflatable beds and inflatable couches and just like give everyone a bunch of weed in the middle of each song so that they can chill out.
It seems like it really is important which
reminds me of my next thing I can't get into.
Wait, hang on.
Wait.
All right.
But the best shows I've been to.
Was it Lady Gaga? I bet it was Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga was a fucking awesome show, and the best shows are the ones where the people get it, and like everyone in the crowd seems to like Lady Gaga. The crowd is almost all gay people.
Right,
and
right.
like almost all of them, because I was
went
down
to
in
a
the
Lady
pit,
Gaga show. It's
people
all gay people who go to Lady Gaga.
Yeah. Well, no. Other than me and Victor were the only straight guys there. Like we did not expect that it was like I didn't know what kind of crowd Lady Gaga pulls. So when I was there, I was just like, oh my god, it's all gay people. And we're in the pit and everything, and it slowly dawns on me.
And then I looked down at myself and said, it's all gay people.
It slowly dawned on me that everyone there, like Lady Gaga, really meant something to them.
Yeah, right,
right. You know, there's a part where she had people throw like, because I guess she has some kind of fan club, and like a bunch of people took stuffed animals and threw them on stage at one point. Like, I guess it was, you know, something they knew was supposed to happen at this part in the show. And she like lays down on a couch, and they throw all these stuffed animals, and they have letters attached to them. And she's like reading out these letters from her fans about like the deep emotional connection, how they saved her from fucking, or she saved them from suicide and all this shit. And she's like reading these letters and stuff, and I was like, whoa, this is like such a big deal to the people at this show.
Yeah.
But the best one I've ever been to, because I'm not the biggest Lady Gaga fan, it was a really cool show, but there's this band, Boris, we talked about this in the Sleep podcast, the band Boris with their album Flood. They were doing a tour where they were just playing Flood. So, like, because they have a lot of different sounds, they play stuff in all these different styles, but, like, it was touring for that album, which is a 15-year-old album, and they were like, we're doing a Flood tour. So everyone who was there knew exactly what they were in for. It was like a small dive bar in DC. Everyone was a huge Boris fan, and we just fucking stood there and like zoned out to this like epic fucking post-rock song, and I was like just sitting there like with my eyes closed, and I felt like literally like the ocean was washing over me.
And that's so cool. Imagine if somehow it was in a crowd where no one got it, no one knew the song. It would be the worst performance ever in terms of audience retention. They're like, why has it been 10 minutes of doom boodly doom boom?
Oh no, they didn't do that part.
Oh really?
Actually. They skipped.
Well, what's the point?
First,
That's the part where you're supposed to fall asleep to challenge yourself.
Well, there's like a lot of they played a bunch of other songs like that weren't just Flood, and then they played like the main
hold
part
on
of
here.
Flood. But,
all right. For like 2 years, I've known about this concert you went to because you did a vlog about it when you first did it, and this whole time you said, I went to Boris Performs Flood, and they just played Flood, and now all of a sudden, like more than 2 years afterwards, you're saying, oh, they didn't just play Flood, they didn't play all of Flood. Well, my whole life is a lie. You've deceived me.
They cut off the first like 10 minutes and the last like 5 to 10 minutes.
That is a good point.
Flood,
the last
so
5 minutes
about
is just
45 minutes long. Right. So they cut off a lot of the end and the beginning, and so it was like a 40-minute version of Flood, and then they had played like 5 or 6 of their dronier songs before
Okay, that's cool.
But it was a great show.
Ben's got a thing to say, right, Ben?
Oh, yes. Devu mentioned smoking weed,
yeah.
giving the crowd a bunch of weed,
that's a
and
good,
smoking weed is something that I just cannot get into.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way,
same
I
with-
was
same with
asked.
drinking,
Digi asked me
actually.
about what I thought about concerts, and then
Yeah.
Jesse interrupted, and then I never got back to what you think of concerts.
Oh,
and what
sorry.
sucks
Okay,
is that I
alright.
had a really funny line about how I've never been to a concert because I live in a cultureless void of humanity, and it was gonna be funny, but
You've never been to like a country Christian?
no,
rock
just everyone
kinda,
around me
like,
is uncultured
gospel-y?
fucks, and it's ridiculous.
Oh,
And
man.
yeah. So it's really weird.
I've performed a concert in a church.
Believe me, Devu, I know what it's like to be surrounded by uncultured fucks.
Anyways, yeah.
All right, Ben, talk about
oh,
weed. That dank
well-
420 meme.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like
Can
it.
you get into the meme, Ben? Can you get into the meme at least?
No,
I
listen.
hate
Like,
the
like
meme.
I've smoked it. I've smoked it a handful of times,
You
and
smoked
like
a
it's
handful
the
of it?
sensation I've gotten from. No,
Wow.
a handful of times, and the sensation I've gotten from it has been better or worse. Like sometimes I've gotten like weird
Yeah.
and anxious and tingly and felt really bad. Other times it's been like relaxed and I've gotten in a very meditative state and it's been okay. Fine, fair enough. But like, God, when the people around me smoke it, these days I just have no patience for like altered states of mind. I want to be focused all the time. Anytime I'm not sitting at my computer, either working on drawing or like trying to get myself to work on drawing, I'm in physical pain because I should not be doing anything else.
know the feeling.
Nothing else is of any value. So when someone is like, "Hey, I'm gonna smoke weed," and then they smoke weed, I try to be cool about it, but I'm just like, I'm looking at them like, "You sad motherfucker! This is what you want to spend your time doing. This is how you want your life. This is how you want this evening to go for you." And someone offers it to me, I'm like, "Haha, no thanks." But in my mind, I'm like, "You motherfucker! How dare you?"
You know what, Ben?
How dare you
I
try
do
and
the same
destroy me?
fucking. I know exactly how you feel because every fucking party at some point someone pulls out the doobie and they all start and just
Well,
like
hang
you
on, if
said,
you're at a party,
I'm like
that's a
I'm
little
like
different.
I'm like no thanks, I don't want any. Like I'm polite about it, but in my head I'm going, I want all of you to fucking die.
What?
How
Why
dare
don't you
you
just hand me a gun and say, "Hey, would you like to shoot yourself with this?"
How dare you
we
do
all
this
saw
in my
Reefer Madness.
presence?
We know what happens. We know what goes down.
I mean, I'm not saying it's gonna kill you or anything. I'm just saying that like it's not a good thing to do. You know? I mean, I don't feel like.
I mean,
it is.
you
Sure, it could-
gain pretty much nothing. I mean, maybe stress relief, I guess. You know?
It's just a fucking juvenile thing for people who have no fucking creativity or no fucking
wait, hang on,
ability
hold on.
to entertain themselves and have an actual conversation.
Here's the line.
It's
Thank you, Jesse. It's juvenile as fuck.
Well, think
It
about
is-
this. Think about it
it's
this way.
dumb.
'Cause, like, one of the best defenses people have for weed is that it helps soothe the pain if you have a terrible disease. Well, what's your disease?
Well, that's a separate
What is
issue.
the disease that you have?
My disease is being a man in the 21st century.
I mean, in this whatever.
This matriarchal fucking
I don't want
society.
to go too hard against it because like I could make the same argument against any recreational activity.
Right,
Like, oh,
right.
why are you watching that movie? That doesn't accomplish anything. You know, that's stupid. That's juvenile.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get it. You know, if you enjoy it, fair enough. But for me, it's like.
Jesse,
this is
do you
not
think
how I
you're
wanna
gonna have a
spend my
good time?
Speaking,
And once you do it, like you're trapped in it. Like once you're high, you're trapped. You have
Yeah,
to be
that's
high
right.
for a while.
I hate that.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
the
sca- it's
scariest
scary.
part.
By the way, did I ever tell you guys about the
it's
time I
scary.
was physically trapped? Like, I got really high with a couple people I barely knew, and one of them had
Did
given
you
me a
step
ride,
outside
and I was
and fall into a
trapped.
bear trap? Were
you
you
know,
swinging
I won't-
from a
Did they
tree?
stuff you in the trunk of their car and drive you to a cliff?
Well, okay, really quick. So me and some friends I had met when I was working at Best Buy a couple years ago. I had met this guy Aaron. He was okay. We were hanging out one time, and like when I go over to his house to hang out the first time, he's like, "We're gonna go drive to my other friend's house. He's like the coolest guy in the world." And so we go and we drive out to that house.
Oh my God,
This was
this
a
story.
terrible. Yeah, it's this story. It was a terrible idea.
Oh my god.
So we go.
Yeah, tell this.
All right, we go all the way out to his house, which was like fucking half an hour away, and so now I'm trapped. He gave me the ride. I can't leave until he, takes me away. So I'd smoked weed a couple times before this. Just had a little bit of experience, and it had been hit or miss up to this point. So I meet this guy You know, fuck it. I'll go all out. I'll tell you all the
No, how
details.
about you
So we
don't?
pull up to this guy's house.
Please don't tell us all the details. Please condense it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm
all right,
already
all right,
sick
fine.
of this story.
You're
I
like
don't care
Owl
anymore.
from Winnie the
Yeah.
Pooh. It reminds
you
me
know
of
what?
the time,
you know what?
nigga.
Fuck it. You guys don't deserve to hear this fucking story. The point is,
Okay, good.
I'll tell
Let's move
somebody
on.
else.
I got
Fuck
a
you.
thing. I got a thing.
No, it's a
Ta-
good story. You just suck at telling it. Is all.
I want to hear the story. Wait, let's have Ben tell the story.
Ben
Yeah,
can't
Ben,
tell
tell
this
the story.
fucking story. He doesn't know anything.
I don't remember all the details. I mean, you were there, and did you get high, or did just they get high?
Okay, the point is, the guy that we went to meet turned out he hyped him up like this god among men, and he was a complete disgusting piece of shit. Who this guy was obviously blind to, like a certain person I know can't see a certain color. This guy can't see how shitty he is in real life. You know, sort of like that.
What did this guy say was cool about him?
Well, okay, they had a YouTube channel, and I hadn't seen any of their content, but at this point, having a YouTube channel was really impressive to me. And, I don't know, he was just a cool guy. And he kept telling me how amazing this guy was, and what a creative genius he was, and, you know, things of this nature. But anyway, I meet him. He's like, I walk into his room. He's this fat fucking stoner wearing no pants, just like smoking from a fucking, he had like a vape bag sort of thing. And was just like, he's just like, what's up, guys? And like his walls were plastered with like heavy metal posters that were just like covered in shit. This room was disgusting. And the point is, there was nothing like what I'd been led to expect. And the point is, we sit down, there's nothing to do, so we all just get high. And once I get high, I immediately realize, I go into panic mode that, oh my god, I'm trapped here. There's no fucking escape. What am I gonna do? So eventually, they started showing me their videos. It was a fucking nightmare. I just eventually I text everyone I know in my phone.
But what were the videos like?
Were
Man,
they
I can't really
yellow?
remember. I've looked for
Were
the
they too
channel.
Ben,
yellow
why
for
are you
you?
making him give more detail in the story?
I
thought
don't
we were
know.
trying
I
to make
thought
it go
that was
faster.
an interesting point. He described them to me one
okay.
time, and like they were really
we
embarrassingly terrible
had to
videos.
watch
It's
these videos. They were so yellow, I couldn't take it.
All right, the videos were in fact because of the context where I've been hyped up that they'd done all this awesome shit and they were such amazing creative individuals. When they showed me the videos, it was a fucking nightmare. It was like, and I was super high by this point, and when I watched them, what I did was I looked around, I looked at these people who had nothing going on in their lives. This is what they do with their life. And I think to myself, this is how I'm spending my life right now, hanging out with these people, and I'm trapped
That's
here?
how I feel with everybody.
Yeah, it's on this fucking planet, right? So the point is, I panicked.
Especially on this podcast.
I texted literally everyone in my phone, like, please call me immediately. That's what I texted to everyone in all caps.
Yes.
And like, I start getting calls from all my contacts on my phone because my plan was I'll have someone call me, pretend there's an emergency, and then like force him to take me home immediately so as to get out of here without, you know, like saying anything weird. So, like, I keep getting calls, and, like, I'm pretending I'm on the phone with my mom right now while I get another call, because I wasn't actually on the phone, because I just hung up on people, because I didn't actually want to talk to any of them. The point is, I was high as fuck, dude. I was high as fuck. It was a total clusterfuck. And so, like, I'm like, guys, I have to go. My sister, needs a ride to the airport. I have to leave now. Or something like that. And the guy's like, oh, dude, we're pretty fucked up, though. Like, we should probably chill out for a little while. And I was like, oh, okay, I can survive. And yeah, I survived for the half an hour. We went home, got the fuck out of there. It was the worst experience of my life. The point is, the weed made me super terrified, super paranoid. It was horrible. Don't do it.
Yeah, man.
Don't do it.
Right.
It has given me very anxiety
Yeah,
attacks.
that anxiety is the word.
It sometimes makes me feel really bad. So
And
I don't do it.
Gib, go on.
Okay.
Wait, Gib,
I haven't done
Tangentially
that yet.
related.
Wait, Gib.
Go on.
Tangentially related to weed is alcohol, and that is a thing that I can't
sure,
get into.
sure.
Because
Oh yeah, everything I said about weed just now also applies to alcohol.
yeah, there's specifically getting wasted. I've been wasted like 3 times. The first time I was sick. The second time it was pretty cool. But the third time I was so sick, so hungover, that I swore I would never drink again.
I've
I have
had my
drinking again,
None
but
of you guys
I've never
are
gotten
doing
that
it
drunk.
right.
I've had
again.
my
I
ups and
hate it.
downs with booze, but these days I've sort of settled into a comfortable sort of, I'll drink rarely just to, I don't know, because I
I'll
like
have
the
a
taste
cider
now,
every
you know?
so often,
Yeah.
and maybe
yeah.
a glass of wine. But I
I'm
don't want to
3
get drunk
cups
again.
deep into my box wine right now.
I'm
Like,
sure.
since we
I
started the
can't get into
podcast, I've had
drinking.
3 cups of wine.
I've like tried,
Yeah.
but I don't like having my senses dulled. because
it's
guess
understandable.
Because I'm naturally anxious. So when I like, oh my god, everything's spinning.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I'm just like, what the fuck? Like.
Well, I kind of like
dude.
being buzzed. I'm just like, it's hard to get into drinking when there's not a reason to.
It feels good to be a little bit buzzed and to be a little bit drunk. Like, it is like relaxing and it kind of can be fun. But before I get there, the thought of getting there makes me anxious, and I'm like, I don't want to dull my senses.
I don't think I'd ever get into alcohol as much as Digi.
Well, Digi's past most mortal men at this point.
It's really like it's like a practice thing for comfort. Like, I mean, if you know how much alcohol you can handle, you can pretty easily make sure you don't get to the point where you're gonna fucking lose your faculties and throw up.
Yeah.
Like, I know exactly how many cups of wine I can have before, like, I know how many it'll take before it's, I feel like I can't drive, and then I know how many more it'll take before I feel like I can do anything in the world, and that's where I need to stop, and if I go any further, then it gets into the, I'm gonna feel this all fucking night, and I'm not gonna be able to do anything. So,
I remember at BronyCon, that last night where we were all drinking for the show, I deliberately
that was one of the most drunk I've ever been.
Yeah, I deliberately didn't drink that much because I didn't want to get sick, in another country.
Smart.
But at the same time, I felt bad because I wasn't as crazy as everyone else. I was just sort of normal.
Well, I think I was like on
balancing
another
thing,
level from everybody else.
I only had one drink that night, so
we were wasted. I remember getting
I
very
really
wasted.
hate every part of like the getting drunk process.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hate the taste. I hate putting it inside me. I hate fucking getting there. I hate being drunk. I hate feeling the getting hungover. I don't usually get hungover, but I hate it when it happens enough to make up for all the times I don't. But like the only time that I actually drink a lot is when I specifically want to turn into a monster. Mm-hmm. It's like the Mr. Hyde.
It's your doctor. I was just gonna say Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
It's like I gotta let this monster out somehow, or else it's gonna eat me up from the inside. Something has to happen tonight.
You know, my least favorite part of the whole process is definitely the morning after. Because oftentimes, when I was in Japan, me and my buddy Gareth would go to the red light district and just fucking party all night and get super wasted beforehand and just be fucking monsters. And then the next day, it would just completely destroy my next day because of how much I drank and how irresponsibly we did it. And I didn't know anything about how to do it right at the time, Well,
hangovers are a well-documented phenomenon, Nate.
I know.
Well,
Well,
it's
there are
funny.
ways to mitigate it, though, as Digi can tell you.
It's funny because the last time that I got drunk, I drank an entire bottle of rum. I recorded a whole album that will never see the light of day because it needs to be destroyed. It must never be seen or heard by anyone.
I thought it was good, though. You said it was good.
It's
Did you
good.
change your mind?
No, it's...
But the world's not ready for this kind of good,
Yeah, exactly. The world isn't ready for it.
It's a special kind
Can
of
I
good.
have it? Can you just give it to me, and I'll just, like, keep it around
you
and
can
never
listen
show
to it,
anybody?
but I'm not ready for the world to hear it.
Yeah, okay.
But
I feel like I want it for myself, because I hyped myself after the podcast over it.
Yeah.
just have to name the album Yellow. The world's not ready for
Oh, shit. The world's not ready. Yeah.
The album art is actually yellow. It's
Oh, wow.
Are you sure? Because
Yeah.
I don't know if I can trust you.
Are you sure?
well, it's funny that you want to dwell on that, even though the conversation is over and I've won the debate. I guess you're just so stubborn. You're
that.
so insecure about how thoroughly I've trounced you in this objective fucking debate. You can't handle the fact that I am objectively smarter than everyone in this chat combined.
That's
and so
true.
you're bringing it up again out of thin air for no reason. You just want to keep harping on it because you can't take it. You can't handle the fact that you people are fucking colorblind, that you see colors that are not there. You see yellow, but, I was going to tell a funny story about the color yellow. I'm not going to tell it now. I'm just going to let it go.
Aww.
We lost
poor
out
viewers.
on the yellow story.
You lost out on a great yellow story.
That being the case,
because you want to talk about made-up yellow stories.
I mean, his yellow story
Alright,
was probably not going to be very good anyway, so.
Oh shit.
Oh, yeah, it was. Shut
I'm
up.
trying to reverse psychology.
All right. All right, I haven't done one of these things yet.
Right, yeah.
I've been letting you guys.
The point
fucking
is,
go
I was
forever.
puking up stomach acid, and it was yellow.
I see. Holy shit.
That does sound like a great story.
Is Digi the last one that hasn't done
I think
one?
so.
Yes, we've gone through some of you twice.
I haven't done any.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I have a third one.
Oh, Devu, you haven't done one?
Hey, I
Okay.
have plenty. I
Okay.
got a whole list, baby.
I've got a list too, yeah.
Well, I'm
We'll
gonna
have
fucking
to
get
do
one out.
Digi and then
yeah.
I think this is one that probably was obvious because I'm sure I've mentioned it before. And Devu will definitely know I've talked about this, but country music. And also, I'm throwing in classical music. Both of them I can't get into.
I see.
I have heard. Well, go on.
Yeah, well, the thing about country music, and I talked about this on an old podcast, that like for me to enjoy something that's like country-ish, like country influenced, like it becomes enjoyable to me at exactly the moment it stops being country. Like there's a lot of artists who are like folk, who are like country folk who I like, or like maybe have some country aspects, but as soon as it's like country, I can't take the voices. I can't take the southern accents, like the mixing where it's usually like very prominent vocals with these thick southern accents going like honky tonk, and like. Because, I mean, my mom, like, despises country music to an extent that if she hears it for 10 seconds, she'll, like, flip shit. And so, like, I grew up with it, like, very ingrained in my mind that country was the devil. Like, never listen to it. It's the worst thing in the world, So, like, I have, like, this knee-jerk reaction to, like, a country accent that's immediately, like, nope,
Well, I have that,
and, like,
but yeah, for like just because it's a terrible voice, like the way that they not the country accent, but the country music voice, the y'all doing on the stain on the phone on the plan.
I mean, I get that for people who come up in a place where people talk like that, it probably sounds a lot more normal.
I would be annoyed by it. And if I had a country accent more than I do, I would hate it.
I grew up in
Maybe.
Yankee country in Massachusetts, and there's a little bit of, and I wasn't really exposed to much of this at all growing up. But over the years, I found a couple of things that I'm into, like Mr. Conway Twitty. I see the sparkling little diamond in your hand. No, he's great. He's great.
When you guys,
there's
when you guys
certain-
watch Pokemon, does Pikachu just blend into the background for you since everything looks yellow?
When you look up at the sky, do you see blue? Is there any other colors up there?
Shut the hell up, Nate. I want to finish this fucking country point.
All right.
There's certain songs, like everybody loves Johnny Cash, right? He's
Right,
he's like the hips, like if you're a music hipster guy.
Everyone says
Johnny
no
Cash
country
is
but Johnny Cash. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a country guy who's very acceptable to like. There's been the Needle Drop's done a classic album review of one of his things. He's he's popular in the circuits of people who like music, people who ordinarily wouldn't like country at all.
Yeah.
And I've heard some Johnny Cash songs I thought were kind of okay. I think he has a cool voice. I like his cover of "Hurt" by Nine Inch Nails, but like I can't get into even Johnny Cash. Like I can't listen to a whole album of his stuff because it's just like. It's just too country,
and even then, and like it's not that country anyway. Like he's more, he's more like blues, folk, rock, pop fusion. Like
I mean, that's what country is.
There's a large infusion of retardation and very incestuous country.
Yeah.
I've
heard some outlaw country where sometimes the music's not that bad, but I just can't deal with the voice. I've heard my ex-girlfriend was a huge country music person. Like she grew up with it, and all she listened to was country and country rock and shit. And well, not only, but
she
had terrible taste in music. But she played me this album that was like the soundtrack to this show Nashville, which is like a show about country musicians. And like I actually thought a lot of the songs on that soundtrack were pretty okay, but they were all like folk country. Like they weren't really country songs. And the ones that were country songs were terrible.
Right.
And it's
this is really what I feel is like the heart of what I wish this podcast were, and it isn't quite. It's because Ben will say something like, I can't get into this except when I can. And even like Hippo is like, I can't get into drinking except that one time where I did like it. You see, the point you made back in that very old podcast was that as soon as a country song becomes good to you, it's also becomes something beyond just country. The definition of country, like what makes country its own thing that makes it unique from everything else, is something that you do not like. It is something that is inherently shitty to you, and for me, that is the ultimate of an example of something you just can't get into.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's...
Yeah, I don't want no handout living. I don't want to part
That sounds
anything
terrible.
they're giving. I'm
It
proud
just-
and
see,
white,
even-
and I got a song
Even
to sing.
trying to do a country voice, like, immediately makes me feel like the song must be bad, you know? And
I said a few things, and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you gotta hump and get it. I'm a white boy looking for a place to do my thing.
I won't say that I've never heard a country song that I liked at all, but I've never heard one that I was, like, returning to regularly. You know, it's a hard genre. And then also
I really resonate with "I'm a White Boy" by Merle Haggard.
I also want to throw in classical, because I can't get into that either. And like classical, at least I can appreciate the compositions and be like, yeah, that's that. I mean, I understand the emotions that that's supposed to evoke, but I don't like
what
the
you gotta
sound of
remember about
classical instruments.
is that it's soundtrack music. So of course, you know, it's like it's not necessarily something you can get into as much. And we're not talking like a song that plays in a movie. We're talking the background music that's going on during a scene. And it's like you'll have a scene of a guy
not,
who like
not
has,
classical. Like Mozart wasn't a backing track to
Devu,
anything.
you're thinking of orchestral. It's different than
Yeah.
classical.
no,
There's a big
isn't
difference
most
between
classical
orchestral
music
and
like
classical.
set to certain plays? and
No.
I'm pretty sure
They
about
just
that.
they wrote them to be stories in and of themselves.
Yeah, Beethoven and Mozart and fucking what's his fuck? None of them are.
Well, you know, I don't think anybody
Bach.
actually listens to classical music. Everyone
Hold
just
on.
says they do.
Wait
Everyone
a second. How
wants
many of
that
you
I know-
have
I
seen
know
the
some
movie
music.
Amadeus? Like half that movie is like people playing classical
Amadeus.
music, and there was a play going on to it, and he's composing it for the play. What's going on? Have I been lied to?
Amadeus is
Some-
the greatest
some
musical,
things-
movie of all time.
Some things are made
Yeah.
for.
Well, a lot
for,
of it is like that.
plays
Like
and stuff.
whether or not
Like,
it's
there
all
are
soundtrack
actors
Well,
music.
the
on
point,
stage.
look,
A
the
lot of
thing
it is
is,
like
it's not
that.
about whether or not it's soundtrack music. I just don't like the sound of the instruments. I
you're
don't
dumb.
like classical instruments. I don't
Have
like
you- have
orchestral
you-
music at all.
That's
and I
how
know
do you
people.
not like orchestral music. That's way too
all
broad
of
a category.
All of the people I know who are into that kind of stuff are like only into that stuff. Like it's all people who like play classical instruments and are only into that kind of music. No, I don't like any orchestral music with
That
like
is-
very
I don't
few
believe you.
exceptions.
I don't believe you.
Like a
Listen to
couple of
ELO.
anime soundtracks I think are pretty
ELO
okay.
has the best classical sound, but it's a rock and roll sort of guy thing.
What are
ELO,
you talking
Electric Light
Orchestra?
Oh, ELO.
ELO.
Okay.
But they're
ELO.
like
ELO
they're
rules.
electronic. They're got like
No, they're electronic / classical. All those
right, but as
instruments.
soon as you put electronic elements in there, it's no longer just orchestral.
Well, you said you didn't
music.
like the sound of the instruments.
Well, I mean, I don't like them. Like, I love the violin. I think the violin sounds great in the background of a rock or pop song. Like, I don't want to just listen to a violin unless it's like one exception being like the opening song on Agalach's.
Did you like Your Lie in April? Did
what's
you?
it called? Well, first of all, I dropped that show after one episode because
Well, there
it was
you go.
fucking garbage.
So you didn't even get
and,
to the music. Okay, just checking.
Yeah. No, I mean, I watched most of Nodame Cantabile, and, like, I appreciate the musical performances. They're well directed, and they're good. They are good pieces of music. I would never listen to them of my own accord. Like, I've tried countless times to put on, like, you know, everyone loves Moonlight Sonata, right? That's everybody's intro to classical song, and I put it on, and I feel nothing, you know? It's just, I'm like, I don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah, whatever. All right, fine. I accept that you don't like it. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I just want to say to Devu that the idea that, like, a lot of the things we're saying, like, we can't get into them except that one time. I think that's mainly because, like, we're all basically quite open-minded in that we can get into a lot of things in a small way.
Yeah,
Like
I object to your objection, Devu.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Well,
yeah,
it's not.
yeah.
It wasn't an objection. It was just like an observation that we're all talking about things that we like once, but most of the time not.
I mean, like, I don't hate everything about Dungeons and Dragons. Like, there are parts of it that I think are fun and cool. It's just that I think, on the whole, the experience of it is generally.
Well, as long as we're clarifying previous things we've said, and as long as we're airing our grievances
Oh,
with
boy,
each
here
other,
we
I
go.
want to go
Right.
back to the yellow thing for just a minute.
I'd rather you go back to the
All right,
Homestuck.
I've muted Jesse.
No,
so
because-
now what are we gonna? What's the next
Devu,
topic?
you muting me doesn't have anything to do.
How
with...
does you muting Jesse
Yeah,
affect
it doesn't
the
really
rest
help
of us?
the rest of us. Go on, Jesse. Go on.
I still hear
Oh,
Jesse.
really? Oh, you can only
Just
mute
can't
someone
hear.
for yourself? I didn't know that's how that worked.
Yeah, you dumbass. You fucking idiot.
Jesse,
Hold
go
on,
on.
no,
Finish
hold
your
on
point,
a minute.
Jesse.
Wait a minute. Wait a
Wait,
minute.
no, don't finish your point. I want to hear what.
What makes you think that you get to have authority over who mutes Jesse anyway?
First of all,
Yeah, that's
that
a
you
good
think
point.
that you can do that is stupid, and that
No,
you think
I
you
have
have
a
the right to
perfectly
do
rational
that is
reason for
out of-
thinking that, alright? There's two reasons. First of all, when I muted you a second ago, there
Jesus.
was a mute symbol next to you that's identical to what it looks like if someone mutes themselves. Second of all, I gave everyone, I gave everyone here like absolute moderator admin powers, and I'm the one who owns the chat. Oh, I
Not
guess
me.
you never accepted them.
Lol.
Okay,
And
stop
You
trying to
I can
change the
delete.
subject. We're
Hey,
talking
shut
about
up.
yellow
Let me
here,
defend
okay?
myself. You ripped on me for not knowing, and
Okay,
now I'm going to
all
tell you
right.
why.
Finish.
I can delete anyone's
Jesus,
comments.
just
We can all
fucking
delete
jack
one
your
another's
dick.
sentences.
Just fucking sit there.
Shut up,
and jack
Jesse.
it. Why don't
I'm
you?
going to tell you, I can
Just fucking
delete
sit
anyone's
there
messages,
and-
and anyone can. So I thought it seemed very likely that I could mute someone else.
Okay, Davu, you make that's fine.
Davu, we weren't
It's a fine
bashing on
point.
you for
Jesse
for
was!
thinking you could do that.
Jesse
It's the
was!
fact
Jesse
that you
was.
Okay.
It's
all
the
right,
fact
you're
that you
right.
thought
On
that you
Homestuck,
were
the
allowed to
light
do that.
player's uniform is orange.
Also
It's
yellow.
not quite yellow. It's not quite. It is
There's some
kind of
yellow
yellow
in there. All right, so
It's
Jesse,
a little bit.
go
Okay,
ahead.
I just wanted to
What's your
clarify
point?
for everybody because I said before that the issue was not whether or not my video looks good. The issue is that whether or not it looks yellow. See,
Right.
there's actually two issues there. They're both separately on their own. They're both very valid issues that I take grievance with. First of all, it doesn't look yellow. It's not yellow at all. But I didn't mean
Okay.
to imply that the other issue was not important. My video absolutely looks beautiful. That fucking Christmas video, Ben, you're out of your fucking mind. It looks gorgeous. It looks beautiful. I don't know what the hell you think.
I would not.
a
There is
beautiful
no
video
Jesse
is.
video I would describe as gorgeous.
I don't know what you think gorgeous is then. I don't know what you think gorgeous is then. Because my videos, you know, I'm the best fucking director. I'm the best at fucking framing a scene, setting up a
Hey,
shot.
if you want to see something gorgeous, why don't you head on over to saintcomics.com and have a look at some of my fucking bullshit?
No, my camera is HD. My fucking... Okay, you're all giving me shit like my camera quality now. You know, once I beat you in one subject, you jump ship to the next
Jesus.
subject and try to start a whole new thing.
Wait, did anybody
my
bring
camera
up the
quality
camera
is great.
quality?
My
No,
lighting...
not a
No, that's
single
not true.
person
It was
brought
brought
up
up.
the
Tom
camera.
and I both
No,
brought it
no,
up.
Okay, so I was right about the yellow. It's not yellow. I was right about how beautiful my videos look. They are beautiful. I was right about the camera quality. My camera's great. So you guys are just fucking wrong about everything. And every
It is
time I
yellow.
catch you in the act of being wrong, you jump ship to something else. And
Well,
try to
Jesse,
change the
just to
subject.
clarify,
But the
what
fact
you're
is-
doing right now is you're just grabbing other arguments and attaching them to your main one as to give it more validity.
No, these are all separate arguments that I'm right in
Okay,
each
all right.
one by themselves.
All right,
I'm right
well,
in every
Jesse, you're
single
right
one of
about
them.
everything. Davu, what the fuck do you
Yeah.
not be
No.
able to get
See,
into?
that's another sick tactic that you people use. Okay, you try to brush me off as
There's
some
no
person who
way
needs to be
out.
right
There's
about
no way out of
everything.
this
There's-
conversation.
What answer would you like, Jesse?
I would
what
like you all
answer
to
could you
admit that it's
possibly
not yellow.
want?
I would like you all to
It's
get down
not
on
yellow.
your knees and
Davu,
apologize.
what do
Can't
you
find the
fucking
exit. Can't find the
Can't
exit.
find the exit. There's no exit. There's no exit.
roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it,
Jesse,
roll
you
it,
can
roll
all
it,
get
roll it.
behind.
Call if we want. If you
Let's
won't
roll to
shut
our
up.
fucking deaths.
Davu, what the fuck can you not get into?
Raisins. I've never been able to enjoy them.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm 100% on board with this.
Okay, look, here it is. Here's the thing about raisins, right?
no,
I think
no.
the taste of raisins. Well, look, I think the taste of raisins.
Do you like grapes?
is
Do you
all
like
right.
grapes?
Just shut up,
Okay.
Nate.
First of all, Nate, I know what you said about
I'll kill
grapes.
you.
Look, I can also like.
I know what you said about grapes.
I also
motherfucker.
like
Okay, sorry.
orange juice, but I don't like rotten orange juice that's been out in the sun for 5 days. So here's the thing
Well,
about raisins, right?
okay,
The taste
okay.
is so-so. Like I'm okay.
I
on
suppose orange juice is yellow too, right?
Sometimes.
Is that why it's called fucking yellow juice?
I'm starting to get on board with this banning Jesse idea.
like raisins are like the
Good.
taste.
I hope
is-
you ban me. I hope you all ban me. This is my hill to die on.
Go on, Davu. Keep power through.
I'll never let this go.
All right, I've kicked him out of the call. So
Oh, you.
You don't. Why?
yeah, he said he's never gonna
Whoa,
give up,
whoa,
and we
whoa.
have to finish the podcast.
I care more about his
that was a-
hilarious argument than I do about
Yeah,
your taste
far
of
more.
raisins.
That was a little bit
Is-
much.
Is he not even in this chat anymore?
Oh man, you really stepped
Whoops.
over the fucking
What
line.
did you
this
do?
time,
I thought I
Davu.
was just gonna kick him out of
I
the
mean,
call.
I
He apparently
can't-
kicked him out of the group.
Kicked him out of the fucking.
You clearly
chat
don't
group.
know anything
Oh my
about
God.
the rules
Oh my
in the
God.
fucking
I-
thing.
Excuse me,
You
I'm not the
idiot.
one who derailed this podcast 5 times.
You are the one who
Podcast,
completely.
dude.
No, I'm honestly honestly glad that he's gone, but I still wouldn't have kicked
bring him back right now. This is beyond.
I don't know how
I
to
have
invite
to
him
figure
back.
out how to get him back in here now.
Oh my god, this is not good. Fuck.
These fucking raisins are tearing us apart.
Okay,
you guys
we
were
need to get him an
constantly
invite
shouting,
right now.
Jesse,
Where the
shut
fuck
up,
is the
Davu, say your
invite?
thing, or do you guys
Like
stop
the
talking about
raisin
this, stop
itself.
talking about this. I take action to solve that problem, and everyone
Like the
thinks
raisin
it's
itself,
weird.
our friendship is shriveling under the hot yellow sun.
Well, yeah, well, here's...
Does anyone have an
I have-
invite
I don't
link
know
for
how-
this shit?
I got it. I got the link. I'm trying to find.
Yeah, I
him.
have...
You should still be friends with him, or if you go to like
Yeah.
the top
Yeah.
direct messages.
Oh, I have not sent him a.
But
direct
now
message.
all we're going to be talking about is how I kicked him out. And again, I thought it was just kicking him out of the call. Like, that makes
we
him...
can cut it, dude. We can cut it. It's not a big deal.
No, we can't. It's funny.
This is pretty funny, honestly.
I want
mean,
him to
maybe
be
not
able.
all.
we'll
I want him
see.
to be able to listen to this.
Oh man, Jesse. If you're listening to this, I'm sorry, dude.
Once he,
No,
as soon as he
no,
enters
here's-
the call,
here's-
all he's
here's
going to
my
talk about
stupid
is me
asshole.
kicking him.
He's back.
Here's my. I mean, I think that Jesse was going way too hard on this yellow thing, but I also think that that this is like, yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I don't know. I'm a centrist.
Yeah, sure, fine.
You realize,
Jesse, I didn't realize I was going to kick you out of the chat. I thought it was just the call, all right?
You realize the mistake that you just made. You have just made this fire so much worse than you ever could have imagined.
When you beat Jesse to low on HP, he only comes back stronger.
Yeah,
like
it's
a
like Final
Saiyan
Fantasy
warrior.
VIII.
You
Yeah, I was
realize
gonna say like a Saiyan.
that it is now my mission to
break.
derail every podcast with this subject until the end
All you
of
had
time.
to do, Davu, was just move Jesse into one of the other voice
All you had to
channels.
do was follow
It
the
would have had
damn
the same
train.
But you
effect.
still would have ripped
There's
on me for it, saying
you
I was
are
like, you guys just
going-
aren't happy with any actual executive action taken to fix this problem.
By the time
Because
this crusade
this
is
is
over,
all a funny act thing. Like, it's hilarious that we're derailing the podcast and arguing about yellow. It's the funniest thing in the world.
How is
now,
kicking him not
if
also
we don't,
funny?
I thought
Where
it was.
do you
I
draw the
thought it was
line
getting
here?
pretty
Like-
tired, honestly.
because kicking him was hilarious,
he's-
but it's
Oh.
also hilarious because it was
it's not
incompetent.
yet begun to become tired, Ben. It's not yet begun to become tired.
Oh shit.
You people are going to beg me for mercy by the time this is done.
I don't think it's at all.
I will keep this going for months. I'll keep this going for years if I have to. By the time I'm through with you, you will beg. You will weep. You will beg me to accept that it's not yellow. Do you understand? You will be like Theon Greyjoy. Please cut my finger off. Please cut it off, Ramsay.
Like Theon fucking Greyjoy, just cut it off.
I'm at this point, I'm also mostly laughing at the thought that Davu was so campaigning to make Jesse be quiet and kicked him out so that he could talk about raisins.
Yeah,
About how he
Not
can't
me.
get
It's
into
just
fucking
a podcast in
artistic
general. You
depiction
guys
of
were
this.
constantly telling him to shut up.
You
This is
just
one of those
created
things.
your own
This is one
monster,
of those
Davu. You
things
just
that should
created
be
a nightmare.
Turned into like a mural on the Sistine Chapel. This event, you know, should be
I
immortalized.
was gonna do it regardless of who needed
on
to
that,
talk at the
TPC
moment. It was just that
fans.
it was like the fourth time we derailed
fans,
it.
go draw
it wasn't
this shit.
because of me
Somebody
at
draw
all.
This.
Do you know what it feels like to be betrayed, to be abandoned by your friends, to be kicked out to the curb?
Et tu, Davu? Et tu, Davu?
Do you know the rage that
You were
builds up
expelled
in a
from the
man?
Davu Collective.
Oh no!
You're finally free.
You know what it's like to leave the Borg, don't you? That's a death sentence right there.
Yeah, no, Jesse finally had sweet escape, and as soon as I gave him
true.
a leash back in, he
Yeah.
immediately jumped on it. He was like,
Well,
no, put me back in for another
I mean,
round.
I would have.
For what it's worth, I kind of want to hear why Tavu can't get into
Me
Reach.
I love
too.
it because
Me
it's like
too.
we have this 10-minute delay between me actually explaining it. The texture is
That's all
gross.
right.
It feels like I'm eating a bug. That's it. That's all I had to say.
It feels okay. All right, all right.
I like raisins. They're sweet, and that's it.
I don't like them
I
in
can eat
muffins.
them-
They're annoying.
They taste like candy.
I don't like
I
candy.
ate
I,
them when
I
I was,
dislike
like,
the
6.
vast majority of candy my entire life.
Whoa,
I guess I should have said
okay.
that. Like,
I mean,
Why
I
didn't
really
you
love
bring
that.
that
I
up?
just-
That's
well,
way
see,
more.
you know what I was thinking this whole podcast? I know that all the things I can't get into for real, I'm not even going to be able to think about them because I just haven't even, like, I haven't thought about them in so
That's
long.
true.
But yeah, candy as a
That's
kid,
true.
and I like slightly more candy as an adult than as a kid. Like just almost all of them. I can only think of some candy I can tolerate, like Laffy Taffy.
Do you like sweet food in
yeah,
general?
totally. Just candy is disgusting.
Okay, just checking. I have friends who just don't like sweet food, so I was just wondering.
What do you mean when you say candy? Because candy is very
Like
specific.
anything you'd buy at a candy
kind of
store,
vague,
you know,
yeah.
like
Do you like?
Because we call them sweets in general.
Do you like Three
and then candy is a
Musketeers?
specific
Like a
thing.
Reese's or a chocolate bar or like
Yeah.
a
Well, here, to go into, like, what I
Okay,
was
so it's just
saying
anything
before.
sweet.
Any sort
Well,
of
not a
like
cake.
candy that I can kind of like, the fact that it is candy is the biggest detriment against liking it, you see. Like, for example, one candy bar I do kind of like is like Take 5. I don't even know if that's still in production. It's called Take 5.
I like Take 5.
It's got
They're
stuff.
alright.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
got
the one
stuff
with
in
the
it that I
pretzel
like,
in it?
but the fact that it's this tiny, really processed with tons of preservatives thing makes it vastly inferior to just getting some pretzels and chocolate and peanut butter and layering that and putting that in an oven. That would be vastly preferable.
I feel the opposite. I like everything more when it's
Right, so,
processed.
like-
I've come to realize I can't home make any snacks. They always taste.
Well, yeah, you
disgusting.
can home make them
dude,
wrong.
you should experiment with cooking. It's the best. Feels great. Tastes great.
Trying to recreate like candy bars like at home. It never works. It's all
Well,
like
yeah, that's true.
How would you recreate
yeah.
a chocolate
Well, yeah, well, so
bar?
getting
You
into
melt the
chocolate,
chocolate over whatever
chocolate
ingredient
in
melt the
general,
chocolate,
I do
and then
not
you
like
unmelt
most of the
it.
time. All the like Hershey's chocolate.
Yeah, I'm not a
Hershey's
chocolate
chocolate
guy.
just tastes like it came out of a
Me neither.
can, and it's
Hershey's
just really
chocolate
disgusting.
is
but like,
pretty gross. I'm not gonna.
I've heard that Hershey's is
awful,
yeah,
awful
like and like
aftertaste to it.
and like Hershey's, chocolate kisses are just like disgusting for some reason. Ugh, and then M&Ms.
I don't like them.
I don't know what
M&Ms
you're
are
talking
hell
about.
Kisses are-
on
they're
earth. I just
annoyingly
can't
small to
stand
me.
M&Ms. Are the grossest thing because they also feel like I'm eating a bug. Because they got that
What?
shell
What do you know?
that feels like the
Dabu,
exterior
as soon
of
as
a
this
bug.
call
That's
is
the
over,
best
I'm
part.
going up to the convenience store and getting a fuck ton
love
of candy.
M&Ms.
That's all this conversation's doing for me right now.
Yeah. Well, see, here's the depressing part for me. I grew up loving candy, especially Reese's, and like as I grew older, like taste wise, I could eat more candies. Like the stuff I didn't like when I was a kid, like almonds or stuff like that. I don't care. Any candy, it tastes good. But I take one fucking bite of candy, and not only do all of my teeth hurt, but I can't drink anything
shit.
afterwards because like my whole mouth tastes like sugar, and it just ruins my whole fucking throat. Like I can't. As soon as I take a bite of candy, I want to die immediately.
You should get
even though it
some
tastes
work
so
done
good.
on those teeth, dude.
Every once in a while, I'll go to the supermarket and buy like an entire box of Gushers.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And then like open a pack and just scoop the entire pack and scoop the whole pack of Gushers into
all
my
at
mouth.
once. I used
to do that.
All
And
at
then do the
once.
same thing. And then do the same thing with every other pack in the box, and just
It's-
eat
Those
the,
aren't
just stuff the
technically
entire
so good, dude.
box of
It's
Gushers
so
into my
good.
mouth, and just let the gooey juice
Yeah.
just.
I love
squeeze
Gushers
What
so
about?
much.
Did you
my
guys?
lips.
Did you guys ever turn fruit by the foot into just a jawbreaker?
Hell yeah.
Yes,
Wrap
I
the whole
did.
thing
Just
up
like
and-
squeeze it?
Dude, I would
Like,
take
squeeze it into
any
a
of those
thing?
fruit by the foot
No.
or like the fruit roll-ups. I would just mash them into a ball and take
Yeah,
little
all
chunk
those
bites
things.
out of
Fruit
them.
roll-ups,
Oh my
I'm
god, I
just
loved
like,
it.
I eat them and that's tasty, but I feel gross. It just feels wrong after I ate
Oh.
it. Feels.
Well,
I just
they
always
are
regret
wrong.
it.
It's pure
love-
fructose.
I can't do it
love
as
No,
an
that
adult.
as a
I
kid
get
as
my
well. I
teeth
just
guys
like,
have
why did I
Haribo?
eat that? That wasn't like a satisfying experience overall. Like it was.
Well, I mean, for me, it's like it's not about satisfaction; it's about physical pain.
Yeah,
All of my teeth
well,
will
yeah.
scream at me. I have a filling in every tooth in my mouth, and they don't take kindly to that shit. It's sad. It's really sad because
You guys-
because as an adult, I can afford as much candy as I want. I could go to the store and just buy all of them if I wanted to, and it won't.
Yeah.
It will mean nothing to me.
I kind of get the same thing. For some reason, lately, chocolate's been making my teeth. I think I probably just have a cavity. I should get
Yeah,
looked at.
yeah.
But like other candy, I'm
Yeah,
fine.
but like regular, like
Other
there is a
candies,
way to get chocolate that I enjoy, which is bags of chocolate chips, and you just do something with that. I could just put.
That's just a Hershey Kiss, but smaller.
Well, here's the thing, though. The thing about that is that that's literally not true at all. It's a completely different taste. Like when I think of chocolate,
Yeah, I'm with him.
the taste of chocolate chips is exactly
It
what
might be a
you get.
different
Like even if it's
formula.
Hershey's, even if
chocolate
it's the same
chips
brand,
is not as milky.
yeah, it's a totally
Alright,
different taste.
I guess that's true. You're
It's
right,
way
you're
better,
right.
of course. I don't know how this works, but like if you put chocolate chips into cookies and then you bake the cookies so the chocolate chips are melted, but then they get unmelted because the cookies cool off. The chocolate tastes a million times better now that it's been infused with the cookie. See, I do like sweet things and bakery and stuff, but
Yeah.
anything that comes out of a wrapper is just like inherently gross.
That's
so
interesting. That's
I
interesting.
can't get into that.
Well,
All right,
if that's wrapped it up, yeah.
I have one more thing.
Okay.
I don't know if I should bring it
I
up.
wasn't planning
I
to
don't know
wrap
if
the
this
whole
is-
podcast. I just want to move on to the next. Anybody
Right.
else who
I
has
have like
one?
one other thing.
Okay.
but-
Oh, I got plenty.
Let-
You know, since
I have a
Davoo
bunch, to be
booted me
honest.
for like 3 hours, I have so many topics left over. Since
Give
I
us
was,
one.
Oh my God.
since I was unceremoniously
let me do
betrayed.
mine.
All right, Ben.
Let me do mine, and I really hope that this is not off base for the tone of the podcast. But the thing that I cannot get into is the gender non-binary.
Okay.
And I'm not. And when I say that, it probably sounds
You can't get
like
into
I'm
it
anti-
because you can't because you you tried on the dress and it just wasn't working for you. Is that what you're saying?
No, when I say that I can't get into that, it probably sounds like I'm transphobic or something. I'm not. I respect people's right to be treated the way they want and to express themselves the way they want, and I wouldn't tell anyone that they can't do.
I'm
anything.
transphobic.
But-
I hate trans people. I hate them all.
No, I'm not. But there is this idea that some people have in like that community, and like when they try to express what it is about being like non-cis or trans, they'll say like, I am a woman on the inside, like spiritually I am a woman.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
like I am biologically a man, but I feel like a woman, and I don't know
Well,
what that
hang
means,
on.
and I don't, and I don't,
Okay.
and I don't think they know either, because I don't think there is any specific feeling like being a man or being a woman. I think that it is. I mean, I think what they probably mean is that I want to, look and act this way, and I think that's fair. But when they kind of put this weird sort of almost mystical twist on it, like it's what it is inside me, I have to be like, that doesn't
Well,
mean
hang on,
anything.
Ben. Let me ask one.
I think that
Okay.
I really think that the whole issue honestly comes down to definitions and words.
Yeah.
I really think, in my heart of hearts, that it is at its core a semantical issue of how you define the word gender,
Possible.
Yes.
and therefore, because it is a semantic issue, I find the whole thing kind of boring and pointless.
Yeah,
to
you
You know,
know,
defend.
that's
Ben,
like
well,
the
hang on. I've got a really important thing to ask about that because I have heard something that might be an issue with that. Now, I'm pretty much with you on all that, but I have heard when I've been, reading about this stuff, I have heard that there is an argument that there is a real biological difference between the male and female brain, and some people contend that they have the wrong brain for what their, their body is. Now, I have not really looked into it, but I've heard that it's legit
think
a
that-
little bit, maybe.
I think that
Yeah.
claim. I mean, I don't know the
Yeah.
studies. I haven't read the studies, but I think that on an individual basis, that claim, I have the wrong brain, is impossible to back up.
Okay,
You know,
but
Ben,
just
What
because
I
it's
think is that
impossible,
even
it
if that
doesn't-
were the
yeah.
case, even your brain, the definition. Like imagine if a white guy had like the kind of nose that black people tend to have a little bit more often. Would you say I have a black nose, or would you just say that?
okay,
yes,
first
Or
of
would
all,
you just say
would
that
have
that
to
nose isn't
research-
necessarily the black nose?
You would
So
have to
similarly
research
speaking,
if there is a
say,
difference
is
between
that
racial
necessarily the
brains.
female brain? If one male person can have the same patterns as that female brain, then is it necessarily the female brain? That's
God,
why I
hang
feel
on,
What it
what
is,
the
what
fuck?
it is,
Yeah, have it wait
what
for
it
5
is,
minutes. You go from
what it
raisins to
is,
like tap dancing on the line.
what it is,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
what it is
Yeah.
about the brain thing is that it's the average. So the male average brain acts in a certain
No,
way
okay, I'm with you on
over
that.
many tests.
There's
and,
actually
like, if somebody
3
has,
genders:
you could lean
Pinky,
towards one or the
Elmira,
other.
and the brain.
Okay, but
okay,
wait,
hold
hang on. I've got an
Ben,
important thing to say about
Wait, I
this
wanna hear
first.
what
God
the-
damn it, let me say my thing.
the
and
last
then
thing
can
you
move
said
on.
was an important thing. What's this
As
one
is-
now?
this
Come,
is relevant
get it all out at once.
Okay, because Ben said that such a thing is unquantifiable, but because it is unquantifiable,
I didn't say it's unquantifiable. I say that it's
Okay.
impossible to back up on an individual
if that's the
basis.
case, then don't we kind of have to take their word for it when they say that?
I didn't say we shouldn't. No, look. Okay.
Okay.
Let me say
If
my
some-
thing. I think you'll
All
agree
right,
with me,
fine,
Ben.
fine.
Okay.
Because I'm partway with you on this, but for me, I am not into labels at all. I think
That's
the
the
problem
bigger
is,
issue. That's the
I
bigger
think
issue.
the problem is people making a big deal out of being male or female or any gender. Just
You guys
be
know
you.
about you guys
It
know about
doesn't
gloom
matter.
gender?
Yeah.
You know about gloom
Just
gender?
be whatever you are,
Oh,
and
God,
don't.
gloom
It doesn't
gender.
need a name. It doesn't need a title. You don't have to make it a thing. Just be you. And if you
Like-
want to act a way that does not match up with what your genitals are, then just act that way. And you
Yeah.
know,
There is a strange dichotomy in the thinking of trans allies and the LGBT community, which I cannot wrap my head around. And that duality is that on the one hand, they say that gender is merely performative. You know, they define gender to be merely
right.
performative and a social construct.
Yeah.
Fair enough. On the other hand, they then, you know, they have, you know, they choose one or the other. Like, I am this. I identify as this. But if it is a social construct and a performative thing, why must you then slot
That is
yourself
an excellent point,
to
Ben.
one?
I've yet to hear a defense
When
of
it
that.
comes to me
my whole
with
thing
tags and
is
with definitions and names and boundaries of where the words begin and end is what's the most useful, right? Like, because like I
No,
understand
that you got to throw
needing-
that away because it doesn't matter what's useful or not. People will come up with whatever they want, and
well,
you know.
I mean, when you think about stuff like terms like gay, straight, bi, or I guess asexual, like I feel like no matter which sexuality you have, you can sort of at least round it
Well, we weren't
up
talking
or
about
round it down.
sexuality.
Well, it's a better example to make my point here. That you can round it up or round it down into one of those four, and those terms are useful if, like, say you're like at a party or a bar or whatever, and someone wants to know whether or not they can hit on you or something like that. You know?
Fuck that. Just
Like-
tell them. Just tell them individually. I am or am not attracted to you.
well,
it doesn't have to
hold
be
on,
I'm
but
bi
then
or
there's,
I'm
like-
gay or I'm straight.
well-
Just I don't like you. Get the fuck away from
seems
me.
fair.
Yeah,
Seems fair.
that could be more useful, but like there are plenty of other like circumstances where you need words to shorten down like what you are. Like Digi
Yeah.
is the otaku gonzo journalist. Those are 3 labels right there. Jesse
Yeah.
is the old school fool. Those are different terms, right?
Hey, by the way,
consider that one.
Taboo,
Come on,
I
man.
came up with a new name for you. You're the homeschool fool with that homeschool cool.
Tom, what were you trying to say
Right?
earlier? I want to
see,
hear
no,
Tom's
actually,
fucking
no.
input.
What Nate just said is great, right? Because people say homeschool, but there's such a huge gradient.
And
of
good
what-
old Ben, he's that Homestuck fuck with that Homestuck suck.
But look, man,
I will gladly take on
but, what Nate brought up with homeschooling right there, right? Because there's
Yeah.
so many different kinds. It really doesn't necessarily say anything about how that person was raised, right? But here's the thing.
Yeah.
The term homeschool does mean that you were like taught by your parents probably at home as a term. And
Right.
there's no concrete definition to it, but that term is useful. Like I can't just be like let's say in the
But who cares about the fact that you were homeschooled, other than like you
when
just
we
feeling like
other than
sounds like
well, for
Davu's had
example, when we
experiences
need to
with
talk
that.
about it, like in the last podcast we talked about school, and what if I began my talking about it, my commentary by like trying to like in 3 paragraphs describe exactly what my situation was.
that
But
would
it's-
have been perfect
no,
for that
hold on, no,
podcast.
Digi, not at all.
hang on,
Because
hang
this
on.
is how I used to communicate. I would like try to explain all the details before like explaining what the overall reality
You don't
was,
have to
and
do
then
it
you
before,
could
you can
no,
do it later.
No, I did it that way, and you complained that whenever I begin talking about something, you don't know what I'm talking about until I'm toward the end of my point. So I'm like, oh, this
I
is
don't-
what we need words
I don't
for.
think homeschool counts as a label. I don't think that's
Yeah,
the
it
same
does.
thing
People
as what I'm
will.
describing.
You say homeschool, people think of certain things, but they'll probably be inaccurate. But it
That's
means
true.
it does mean like you weren't schooled in a building. You were probably schooled by your parents. It means certain things, and it necessarily, even though everyone is on some sort of weird gradient,
okay.
of
But
other
how is
variables,
this related
the
to
fact that I
Ben's?
began my
Tom,
commentary
Tom,
on the
yeah.
last
Wait,
podcast by
Tom.
saying I was homeschooled, that lets people get some context into what I'm talking about, and then I can elaborate later. But not everyone
Okay.
can know exactly what you mean.
Devil,
at all
shut
times.
up.
People-
Let Tom
yeah.
say his thing.
Tom.
Well,
Tom?
I mean, what I think the reason though that people get hung up on the label with like trans and all that kind of stuff is because it's not. It's because they want to feel part of a community. It's because people that whole kind of like there's this huge kind of collectivist ideology that's like deep in the root of like social justice and whatever you want to identify that as. It's very much a collectivist ideology. So they don't really. It's not. Digi, you're making a great point. I agree with you because I'm an individualist, but they're not individualists.
Right.
Like they classify
Yeah.
themselves.
Isn't
true. That's right.
individualist a
By
label,
that.
Yeah.
though?
So like when and that's one of the problems I have, I think, with the whole kind of like trans movement, I guess, is that because what they do is they'll say like I want to be a woman or I want to be a man, but then they make a big deal about the trans label. So now we have male, female, trans male, and trans female. So now we have 4 things instead of trying to just transition from one to the other. So you that quest for identity is making it more complicated instead of just simplifying it. But
Right.
because by putting so much emphasis on that.
That's true. The social and community aspect must complicate. Must complicate the issue.
This also comes down to because I made this exact same argument on an episode of Digibros before, the one I was making earlier, and some of the responses were saying, well, in the name of getting people to understand what the fuck this thing is, having labels is helpful, and I get that. It's just that, and Devu has accused me of this before, that I always seem to go right for the biggest possible picture as opposed to what is individually relevant right now.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I'm wanting everyone to not care about labels anymore forever. Just all people all over the world.
And I was going to say, like, if you're one of these people who's, got their own fractured, gender identity or whatever, like, do we just need to make labels for everybody? Because there's always going to be somebody who doesn't fit. Isn't it better to just shoot for we all kind of just, we live
it would be
in our
nice
own
if
shit,
we lived in a world
That's
where
the real
everybody
solution.
just was themselves and everyone else
right.
didn't question it and just accepted it. But
that's easier
obviously
said than done,
we're
obviously,
not in that world,
yeah,
and it's gonna take a while. And a lot of people won't get what you're doing if you're like acting one gender that is not the one that you seem to be. People won't get that.
Right.
So I get why the labels exist. I'm just saying that as an idealist who wants to live in a world where everyone's just a fucking weirdo. That's my dream of the perfect reality, is that everyone is totally fucking weird. That's my perfect world, is that every person I see, I look at them and I'm like, what the fuck is that guy? That's awesome. What is that? Yeah, guy is not a gendered term.
Yeah,
okay?
guy is just
Anyone's
a name for the coolest
I'm a dude,
guy, the
he's a
coolest
dude,
guy
she's
around.
a dude, we're all dudes, yeah, alright? The same applies for guy.
Yeah, it's like
you can't even do this example without saying he and she. Like, you can't even make any progress.
Well, they're just entrenched in our language,
What
It's
fuck
whatever.
did
It's
this
kind of a problem with
podcast
the
become?
language.
I liked it better when we were arguing about yellow. Honestly.
I sure didn't, and I just want to close out my point by saying that, again, it's not about like what anyone does or chooses to do. I think everyone should be free to do whatever they want. It's only some of the reasoning behind it that when explained, I think when someone says I'm actually a woman or I'm a woman on the inside, I don't think that necessarily means anything. And I think that there's kind of a confused logic
I
behind
guess,
it.
is like another thing that I've always kind of like thought is like kind of insolvable with this kind of mentality. Maybe just no one's explained it to me good enough. Is that you have people saying that like I'm a woman on the inside because like there's differences between men and women, and I'm a woman trapped in a man's body or whatever.
Yeah.
But those same people also say all the time, that like.
It's arbitrary. It's
that
socially defined or whatever.
Like gender norms are bullshit. So like if there's differences, then like you're either like saying gender norms exist
Ben kind
for
of
a
made
reason.
that point, I think, while you were standing up.
He did.
It's
a good point.
Like I can totally get relating to and identifying more strongly with a traditionally feminine, societal role. That makes sense to me.
Because that's a
being a
social
woman
thing.
on the inside. Feeling like a woman on the inside does not make sense.
Ben,
to
I think
me.
you have a very funny definition of the phrase "things I can't get into."
And you know what? Just to close out, people, everybody go watch.
Wait, are we closing out, or do we not have more to go?
Do you guys want to do more?
I
We can
didn't
do
get to
more.
say like anything in this podcast.
Okay, all right. Tell you
by
what,
the
we will
way.
do more. But let me just say, because I wanted to just say, Digi, I have a beautiful vision of what you were saying would look like. And what is Imaishi's current show that's going on with the alien girl and the
Luluco?
Space Patrol Luluco is the perfect ideal of
Man,
this.
I gotta
great.
talk Matthew Matosis into cutting this 10-minute chunk out of his 4-hour live stream at E3, where he was just on this epic rant about how space should be fucking chaos. He was like,
what?
every time I play a game about space, I can't do his accent.
That
He's
is-
like,
that
every
was
time he plays a
not
game
his
about
accent.
space, then
Whatever.
he like it's always just like normal. He's like, it's
Yeah.
always human stuff. It's always humans fighting humans. He was like, if I go out into space, everything should be fucking crazy. I want to walk up to somebody and be like, oh my god, what the fuck is that? And like he
Like
just
Rick
went
and
on
Morty
this
kinda
like
thing?
long rant about it. It was awesome.
Well,
It was the best thing I ever heard. Jesse,
you
what's
were
something
agreeing
can't
with
get
him.
into?
Oh, okay, I get it. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Matthew Matosis, tell me your sins, boyo.
Oh, Father McCree.
Tell
Oh,
old,
saints
tell old
preserve us.
Father Matosis your sins. He's definitely.
I can't get into Matthew
Jesse,
Matosis,
what's the
guys.
thing you can't get into? We're
okay.
on you.
That's not true. I can.
Old comics.
Oh.
By old I mean
comics,
Like Golden
comic
Age?
books?
yeah, like
You mean like
anything
Silver Age?
like before,
Bronze Age?
Shut up!
Yeah.
Iron Age?
Shut the fuck up! God damn it!
Oh, he's getting steamed now, folks.
I'm gonna ban you.
Let's
I'm
ban
gonna ban
everyone
you all
else.
from this. I'm just gonna talk to myself.
That's the ideal scenario.
I'm really interested in this though because I've
Okay,
always been
okay.
curious about whether comic fans like old
Yeah.
comics.
I figured Jesse would be into the golden age because of what gold
Oh,
looks like.
okay, all right.
Shut the fuck up.
All right, Jesse, go on.
I don't know what you were getting at with that, but yeah. So in the 1980s, Frank Miller, Alan Moore, and Grant Morrison all got together and said, "What if comics were good?" And they made and they wrote Arkham Asylum, they wrote The Killing Joke and Watchmen, they wrote Daredevil and Wolverine and all those great comics. And suddenly comics were good forever, for all time. It was the greatest medium in the history of art. But before that, every comic was trash. All of them, from the Golden Age, Silver Age, the Bronze Age. I've been like, I try to, like, anything pre-1980s and even some comics from the 1980s. I try to read them. I'll buy them. I'm like, I want to read these old stories, and I just fucking, I see the art, and I see the giant fucking retarded word balloons, and it's just like, ugh.
Jesse,
Yeah.
are you telling me that Stan Lee is not the greatest creative genius who ever lived?
I don't think Stan Lee actually created anything. I think he's kind of a con man.
You stole
to
it
be
all,
honest.
right? Yeah, kind of. Except
no,
that one
Stan-
time he cosplayed as Liquid Ocelot. That was pretty dope.
No, Stan Lee's great. It's not his fault. It's just his time was an era bereft of talent.
Right,
Um,
right.
The
Yeah.
paradigm was to make bad comics, I guess.
I've always wondered about.
Well, it's all about the generational evolution, where the kids grow up on something that sucks, but they can appreciate. They
It's
get
just
into
like-
what is the potential
I'm gonna-
about it, and they spend all their time wanting to make it better, and they become adults, and they take it to the next level. That's what happened with film. That's what's happening with
That's
YouTube
true.
right now.
I'm gonna
happening
piggyback
with
on Jesse's
cartoons as
thing
well.
and say I can't get into old anything. As soon as it's past a certain threshold of age, it just like I think that what Jesse just described with the comic creators getting together and saying, "What if comics were good?" I think that has happened in every medium where like with movies, like the oldest movies I really can get into are like the 70s, which is when
Really?
the movie brat generation came
You don't like
around,
you don't like
where-
Citizen Kane, did you?
I haven't seen
I don't
You
think they
should have
actually.
Noir,
I
so
don't
I
think
take
they
offense
actually
to
had a
this.
meeting and said that.
Yeah,
I
me
made
too,
that
Tom.
story up.
Huh?
I don't
Right.
think there was.
Well, I don't think the movie brats did either. But my point is that there was a period in the 70s where a bunch of people who were like these big time film buffs, who were big fans of film, who were educated in film specifically, as opposed to this was just what Nino was talking about in his fucking Miyazaki video, where he was saying that like in the 70s and the 60s, anime creators were all people who were like doctors and stuff, like people who had come from
My
other
God,
fields and
referencing
become
a Nino video. It's a new world we're in now. It's a new
yeah.
world.
Nino was talking about how these creators of the older anime were not like anime fans. You know, they were influenced by other works of art. But then when you got Gainax coming into the fold and stuff like that, they were inspired specifically by anime, not exclusively. Like, I mean, Anno has made a huge point about how the fact that he thinks everyone is just influenced by anime these days, and it's a problem. But I think that those are the people
Wait,
who...
do you mean
because
Miyazaki? Or does Anno say that too?
Anno says it too.
Okay.
But I think that there's certain periods where people who are into a medium and who clearly care deeply about it can sort of recognize what's good about it, like better than perhaps the people who actually made the stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because everyone's just kind of like, if you're making something new that's never existed before, then it's more about like how to make it cost effective, how to make it something that is capable of being done, you know, like how do we even make an anime happen? And then the people who come later look at all those anime and they go like, oh, well, this, and this were the best episodes of Astro Boy, so what if we copied those elements and made a show like that, you know, as opposed to throwing, you know, 100 episodes worth of ideas at a wall, only some of which will stick. And so I think that every medium, it like inherently gets better over time because people can look at the old stuff and say they can cut out the stuff that didn't work and they can put in new stuff that does work.
Here's my counter.
Well, wait, you don't say that about video games. You're saying
Here's my Here's my
I would say
rebuttal
that
to
about
that,
video
Digi.
games. Video games from the fucking 70s were garbage. You want to fucking play
totally
Pong?
hang on.
We're talking about like
I totally disagree with that, Digi, because in my humble opinion, anything that is old or recycled or reincorporated is automatically a lesser version of the original.
That's insane.
Well, I completely disagree.
But what
I like
about the
Quentin
idea of
Tarantino more than
amalgamating
any
the
of the
ideas?
directors he copied.
The fact that new movie, okay, yeah, new movies might take something an old movie did and do it, quote unquote better. But the fact that they're not the first one to do it makes it less valuable.
I
and less
totally and
interesting.
completely disagree. I think being the first one actually is a sad weakness. Like, you were the first one.
Fucking
no,
fool,
man,
bro.
no, that's
You're
too
a
far.
fool,
You've gone
dude.
too
Like,
far,
like,
Digi.
look, those people deserve all the respect in the world. They just have, by the sad fact of being first, have made the worst
well, this
product.
this is getting like way
Well,
beyond
alright.
what I originally was talking about. I just think
Well,
that
what's- alright.
specifically with old comics,
Oh yeah,
The-
right. We were talking about comics.
I look at 'em-
I totally co-opted Jesse's problem.
I look at old comics and the artwork looks derpy. It all looks like this weird, like homogenized, like 60s style. Like, I think everyone knows what I'm talking about when I talk about old comic
Yeah.
book art.
Yeah.
And the stories are always like so wordy. Like the characters are like describing everything they're doing, and they're just a pain in the ass to read. They're just not well written or well conceived even. Not even just like that the stories themselves are bad. Most of them are pretty far out and weird and wacky, but not necessarily bad. It's just like they didn't have anything. They didn't know what good was yet.
Yeah.
It's like the same. And
Well, they were for kids.
Yeah,
back
yeah.
then, right? They were like
yeah,
just for
like
kids.
nowadays, like those three guys that I said, Frank Miller and Alan Moore and Grant Morrison. Every comic ever
Alan
nowadays is influenced so heavily by the books they wrote in the 80s that they kind of made comics something completely different than they originally were. So it's almost like a whole different thing that I'm talking about when I'm talking about old comics.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's
I mean, I
also
feel
like,
the same way about like TV anime with Ava, where like, all the anime that was good in like the 80s was either like a World Masterpiece Theater show, which meant it was based on an old novel, or it was like directed by like these very few certain directors who were doing like good stuff, but none of it was anything close to what Ava did. And like Ava created the idea of original TV anime, and the directing was so much better, in my opinion. I mean, there's plenty of people who fucking will actually kill me for saying that Anno is better than, like, Osamu Dezaki or something. But, like, I watch those old shows, and what I see is an 80s anime. And when I watch Evangelion, I do not see 1995. I see, like, the best anime I've ever seen, you know?
Yeah, but that's not.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's just-
okay, we've made new
I don't know
anime
what to
since
say.
Ava, so it's obviously not the best anymore. You know, there you go.
In that one specific instance, it might have been done like way better, but in general, it's not better just because it was done again.
I just think that when
Yeah,
you
no,
take
there has to be
something
there
and
has
you
to be
make
intelligence.
it, when
and
you
real
take
improvement.
something old and you subtract all the shitty parts and just tighten up the good parts and then enhance it with your own extra creative edge,
Well, what's
it's
an
a better
enhancement
product.
mean? It depends on what. Like
What-
that's
what-
so
what
vague.
are-
That's totally vague. It's all about the It's the
It-
individual artistic.
You can
process.
judge it by
What
whether
are
or not
these
it's better or
quote-unquote
not.
shitty
If they
parts?
didn't
Well,
enhance it,
okay,
then it's
but-
not going to be a better product.
It depends on what these so-called shitty parts you're talking about
Like if
are.
all is if it what it's
something
doing
is
to.
good,
Okay, go on,
then
Gib.
I
Go on,
like
Gib.
it. If something's good, then I like it. If
What the fuck?
Yeah,
Get the
that's
fuck
highly
out of here! That's the
controversial.
it
bullshit
doesn't
position
matter how
I've ever
old it is. I
heard.
like old things. I like new things. I like things
All right,
right
Ben,
now.
Ben, what if there's a movie where like the whole thing is amazing, but there's this one part where they left in like this like just lame ass 10-minute like two characters taking a poop or something, like, except not that hilarious.
Sounds awesome.
Something dumb that happens in the middle of the
Yeah.
movie, and then someone
Okay,
later
something I-
What, like
something
if
I
in
hate.
Yeah,
Citizen
something
Kane
that-
they just two characters started doing battle shits in the middle of it for like
yeah,
minutes.
though that would be amazing. Like, I'm trying to think of an example that wouldn't make
It
the
doesn't-
movie
we get
better.
The idea. We get the idea.
Okay, let's put it this way.
fucking-
What if you took Citizen Kane and made the same concept, but now it has battle shits in it? It's a better movie, right?
fucking Kane and
No,
Kane
it's
and
not.
his wife are sitting across the long
It's
table in the Xanadu, fucking farting at each other.
Like you can't just add bullshit to an old thing and then it's
No,
like
no, no.
inherently a
It's
better
not-
artistic piece.
God fucking damn it!
Ben,
You guys
I
are
wanna hear-
mischaracterizing
I
my
want you
point.
to prove yourself here because I want you to like list off all your favorite stuff at some point. Figure out if it's clearly all new stuff.
I will list off my favorite things at some point when we do The People versus Ben Saint.
Isn't
I will have to defend myself then.
Homestuck like your
Everything
favorite
else
thing of
gets
all time?
better.
That's super new and it's super built on the backs of like every other art medium ever created. If video games hadn't existed, you couldn't
everything's
have
built
that.
on the back of everything's built on the back of something, but everything that's great about Homestuck is the way that it fucking innovated and did things that no one had ever
But
done
would you
before.
not say,
Yeah,
like,
that's what we're talking
do you
about,
think
Ben.
that the video game parts of Homestuck are inherently not as good as Pong because they weren't the first video game? Is that what you're saying?
I think Ben.
Okay, look, well, let me counter that. If there had never been a video game, ever, if video games did not exist, and then you were reading Homestuck and you hit that next button and suddenly you were having an interactive
All right, but let's
experience,
discuss the
wouldn't
reality.
that blow your fucking
Let's
mind?
discuss
Yes,
the reality
of
we
course
live
it
in,
would.
Ben. Let's discuss the actual reality we live in, where things are constantly
coming up
getting
with
iterated and made.
hypotheses
I'm
anyway.
making a fucking thought experiment,
That's
Digi.
completely
But
useless.
Ben,
It has nothing to do
like,
with
your
of
what
course
product
that
is
would be
better.
the case, but that's not the case. So
Ben, you need to understand the difference between
The point is
something
that
that is
newness
better
is
and this-
valuable and precious.
You're talking about stuff that is impressive, like the amount of wow, that is so much more new. It's not the same as being better.
What other standard
Better
are we
is when
using?
you've built
What are
on
the,
top
like,
of
I
all
think
the
artistic
newness.
quality
Yeah,
before.
there is definitely an inherent goodness to newness, but I don't think that goodness exceeds the goodness of being better than the
Now,
old
Ben,
thing.
let's
But
think
you're
about- let's
judging
think
better
about some
by
more thought
it doing it
experiments
again
here.
with other shit. Like there has to be. You have to.
Which
do
is
it.
what everything is. Everything after the original is just doing the same thing,
I like
but
things
better.
that are good.
Look, if
Yeah, now think about
Hippo,
this,
get
right?
that
Like,
radical shit
Yeah.
out of here.
I like things that are good.
here's a much better,
I have-
vastly superior thought experiment. Imagine
Fine.
Pong came out today. You'd be like, oh, okay.
I can't
that's
get
not
into
worth
Pong,
my money.
honestly. I just can't.
Yeah.
It beeps and it
It's
boops.
not-
have
and
never
we're-
been
and
able
we've
to
heard
do
I
that.
don't
that, by the way,
understand how that
Pong
yeah,
is
but
just tennis.
Davu, that proves my point too. Because if it came out today, it wouldn't be good. But back when it was new, because it was the first fucking
Okay.
video game, it
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
good.
then it was good, and now it sucks. Do you want to play Pong? Is Pong your favorite video game? No! No one gives a fuck about Pong. It's not good
And
anymore.
by the way, almost no.
I
and
give a
even
fuck
at the
about
time,
Pong
people
on the
didn't
PS1
like it
version,
that
the
much.
remake.
Like,
That was a
here's the-
good.
But people,
yeah.
Here's
it
the
had
thing, here's like-
it had value and was impressive, and people
Yes.
wanted it.
Yeah, but
Was,
here's the
was,
thing,
was,
though,
was,
right?
was,
Because it was new.
was.
And wait, no, it's not even was. Here, there's
there
more
a
to
B
it
in
than
here?
that. Because as we know from that
Was.
And
PlayStation
it continues
commercial,
to be noteworthy. No,
Noteworthy,
my response
yes.
to that
It is very
it
noteworthy.
continues to be noteworthy and
It
interesting
deserves
in a historical
it deserves
context
all the
today
respect in the
because
world.
it was
Doesn't
new.
make it the best video
Sorry.
game.
This all came out of my topic somehow.
No.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
here is why Ben
I just wanted to
is
talk about
wronger than
comics.
anyone even gives him credit for. All right. Because okay, as we know from that PlayStation 3 commercial, our grandmothers played by having a hoop with a stick and kicking that around, right? People
No,
back in the 30s
grandmothers
had nothing
played by
to
getting
do,
raped.
right?
Yeah.
At
That's
the,
true.
at the,
Right. So like
they got raped in the back
There
of a
was just-
Cadillac after prom. Everyone knows that.
I want to hear
people
this
were
too.
bored as shit all the time, right? They're just people had very little stimulus to go on compared to what we have now. And now those people are old and they just sit in their houses doing nothing forever. When we are old, it's not going to be like that. When we are in our 80s, we're just going to be marathoning shows and videos and playing video games all the
I like
time.
to think I'll still
We
be
are-
drawing right up until I'm in the
Okay,
ground.
but you'll also be doing
right.
this other shit.
Like we are into so much more stuff. Like in 1997, a kid playing Final Fantasy VII is enjoying himself way more, on average, probably, than most of the biggest, most fanatic fans of Pong
Now,
in
okay, I want to stop you
1972.
right there, 'cause
the fact
enjoyment
is,
is
we are
totally
having
relative.
more fun. But
and you.
well,
I-
but relative, but there's also like a time relativity here. Like life is objectively better today than it was in the 1800s, but happiness is not up because of you're comparing it. Your happiness overall is compared to everything else around you. So
I don't know. I
the
think
medical
in the
technology we
1800s
have
it was a lot
today
easier to get
gives
away
you.
with murdering
Davu,
someone.
you should read. There is a fantastic chapter of One Piece during the Marineford arc.
I thought you were going to recommend like a self-help book
It's
or
pretty
something.
much what it is. That's pretty much what it is. In which Don't listen to this shit, goddammit.
This is my favorite podcast we've ever done, by the way. This is the funniest
Don
fucking
Quixote,
podcast.
Don Quixote do Flamingo
What
does
does
this
Donkey
grandiose
Kong have to
speech.
do with this?
Shut up, Jesse. I'm talking about One Piece, in which this guy, who's a really powerful pirate, makes a grand speech during this war in which, like, the fate of the world is at stake. About how when you're poor, like, little things become much more valuable to you, and if you're rich and entitled, then losing, like, even the small thing is a proportionally much bigger deal, and that our happiness is contextual on our experiences in
Well,
life.
thank God One Piece
Yeah,
exists to give us that philosophical truth.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
I imagine.
Thank God.
Imagine if Nate were a marriage counselor. It's like, yeah, we just keep fighting all the time. What should we do?
Chapter
Nate?
846.
Well, you pull out, like, well, I've seen chapter 375 of One Piece.
One
It
Piece
talks
taught
about
me how to be a real human being. All right.
I'm imagining.
I'm
I'm imagining Nate
Thank you.
like in a church, right? He's in like a big church, and there's stained glass windows, and they've all got like the crew members of the fucking of the Going Merry on them. And he pulls out, and he's like, "Today we'll be reading from chapter 537.
One Piece is my Bible, dude.
Page 15, panel 7." And Frankie said, "Super."
We sing
So
that
look,
shit.
okay, look. We have all the medical advances we have today, where our bodies, on average, get to feel a whole lot less pain and misery than we did before. But your happiness overall might be, the same as it was in the 1800s. But here's the thing. The amount of pain you have in your body is a different variable to evaluate your standard of living, and your happiness is a totally separate variable. So, like, a kid from the 70s could go out and have the same amount of time of fun playing Pong as a kid from the 90s would go out and play Pong. Like, it's the same amount of fun. It's just that the kid in the 70s has so few alternatives to go to beyond Pong, whereas a kid from today playing Pong could enjoy it just as much, but will choose to do it less because there's better alternatives. So they'll walk away from playing Pong going, it wasn't really worth it because I could just play Final Fantasy VII and have a much better time. Whereas from the 70s kid, he'd be like, oh, it was a great time. There's nothing better to do. So that is why, even at the time, it was worse. You just didn't have the ability to feel how much better it is now.
Putting aside the whole issue of like whether or not audiovisual stimulus is necessarily better than like real life stuff, I agree. So,
all right, who else has a thing that they can't get into?
I've got one. That's an extension, kind of one of yours, Digi. What was that? Country songs, right? Country music. And it's just music, all music in general. I can't get into it, and I'll tell you why.
I'm kind of with you.
Yeah.
I'm not.
It's not that I don't like music, because when I listen to music, oftentimes I enjoy it immensely. And you recommended a lot of stuff that I really liked.
I thought you were. I always thought you were a lot more into music than I know. Ben isn't into like anything. He's mentioned
Ben's
liking
less so
in the
than
Aeroplane
me.
Over the Sea, and that's about it.
Yeah, see that's the thing. I like music when I get to it. The problem is I don't have a place in my life for music, and that's really what I'm talking about. Because like, there's no point in my life when I like have a place where I can just put on music. Like you, Jesse, I mean you, Digi, you just listen to music like all the time, is what you've always said. It's just always playing in the background. When I'm editing, which I do most of my life, I can't be listening to music because I need to hear the audio stuff.
I have to edit in silence.
There's you just open up your music player.
Yeah.
You start playing an album with no vocals, and you turn the volume down on the music player to like 20%.
That's not gonna be good enough. That's not gonna cut it.
It's got to be quieter than the music of your video, and it will not interrupt anything.
Okay, but see, I don't want to just put music on in the background. I want to appreciate it and see if I actually am enjoying listening to it.
There's your problem, because I have recently found a place for music in my life, which is I put on some like soothing vaporwave, chill wave, Simpsons wave,
vaporwave
whatever
is
wave.
ideal for editing.
Yeah.
And I put it on, and it has to be of a particularly low tempo sort. And I put it on, and it's just atmospheric, and I leave it on, and if the music is non-distracting enough, then I can just sit and like either write or sketch,
but
or
you know
like ink
that
or tone or whatever.
I'm a little bit envious
while I have it on.
Just because yours doesn't involve audio at all, but my work does. So it's.
I don't think
fair.
it interrupts
that's
your.
A fair difference.
My work involves audio too.
You're gonna tell me what interrupts my work, huh? You're gonna tell me how I should be
I'm
editing.
just saying you haven't tried it,
nigga. I haven't tried it with like super chill music.
I mean, I think if you're
anything.
just syncing up like
The key is to use
maybe some.
Like,
for
no,
me,
it's more than that. Like I have to go
audio is-
find the music to play. I have to download it. I have to put it on loop. I have to see if I like
just
it.
listen to everything on YouTube. That's all I do. If I listen
all
to
right.
new shit,
I suppose that would work.
everything's on there. What I do is like, because I listen to all the music I listen to is contextual, right? It's like if I feel. Like with I always say that I love My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, but I can only listen to it if I'm drunk and depressed. Like that's the situation where that album's perfect. If I'm editing videos, it's like one of a few like instrumental calming electronic albums, you know, like or if I'm trying to get myself hyped for editing, it's Anamanaguchi. If it's like if I'm like in a mood where I just want to thrash stuff, I put on some metal. If I'm in a mood where I just want to chill, I put on some chill music. And
see, you know what this is? Like I don't view or use music that way. I like view an album as like an art piece. I need to sit there for an hour and study and appreciate it.
It is like the first time you listen to it or the first 25 times you listen to it, but I listen to albums hundreds of times.
Yeah, but I don't got the space to listen to it for the first time, you know? It's, you know, I'm not trying to like sell anyone. I'm just telling you what my life is and like why.
Let me break in with a brief anecdote. The other day I was finishing up my Hiveworks submission and I was inking in some sketches of the characters from my new comic, and I was thinking about what the story is like, what the main themes of the story are, and like what the goals are, and I realized as I was drawing this, I hadn't even realized it before. I realized that what the series is actually about, in my mind, is the quest to be happy and how to be happy.
Nice.
And I was inking in that character, that really cool looking character that I didn't show anyone else, but that I posted in the thing. And on my playlist, Pharrell's Happy came on. And I was so struck by, like, drawing that character while listening to that song. I was, like, quivering.
Aww.
I was, like, I felt like, not like I was emotional, like I was crying. I was just so, like, amped up. I was so, like, in the moment.
Yeah, it's
of,
so
like,
hard for me to imagine.
This feels so right.
It's so hard for me to imagine you, who's, like, the biggest hipster I know, getting all emotional over, like, the biggest song of the last 5 years.
Feel like a room without
I'm sorry.
a roof.
No. Here's the terrible thing about me, Digi. I hate popular media, and when things are popular, it makes me hate them. And yet, I often find myself really, really responsive to like huge hits and things that are massively popular. Like I fucking
Big
love
Bang Theory, right?
Happy. I think it's an amazing song, and I can't. I wish I didn't. I wish I hated
it's a fine
it.
song.
It's awesome.
That's all right.
I love.
It was a feel good hit of the summer.
And I was just sitting there, just like twitching, like it's all coming together. It all feels like it's all in place.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh man,
Nate, I will agree with you that like if I was editing or if I was even writing a script, I would by no means listen to music that I haven't heard before. That is not the right.
And see,
unless
I haven't
it was
heard most music.
That's
unless it was like because
if you're hearing it for the first time, it's
you can very easily go on YouTube and type like chillwave mix, and it'll just be like a 2-hour mix of like a bunch of shitty electronic music that's really generic, but is like perfect. Listen to any trance mix; they all sound exactly the same. Every type of trance sounds the same.
I'll just go to YouTube and search for funk and just jam the fuck out for a while.
I've been listening to some great chillwave mixes that are by some guy named I think Epikuros, and they start off with a scene from Blade Runner where he gives the test, the what's it test to Rachel, and I don't know.
That's
really
how
cool.
I feel about like all vaporwave. Like none of it vaporwave, other than like Blank Banshee, which I legitimately love. Like most vaporwave to me is extremely disposable and like not memorable and not interesting.
There are some like upbeat, like energetic vaporwave songs that actually get me kind of pumped.
Well, like I've heard because there was that Sailor Wave, like that hour-long mix or whatever that Nate had posted, and like the whole thing is like 1 hour-long funk song. It's like the same song
the best.
over and over again, and you can get the point within 20 seconds, and that's the entire thing. Yeah. And I just put it on for an hour, and I didn't pay any attention to it. I was doing work and doing other shit, but like it fit well, you know, like it's not something I would ever listen to as like a let's sit down and listen to Sailor Wave for an hour. Whereas I would do that for like a Kendrick Lamar album. Like that's not music you can have on in the background. You really have to sit and listen to Pimp a Butterfly if you want to get the point of that album, you know.
I have 2 vaporwave mixes that I listen to a lot. One is called Neo Batavia, and the other is called Squad Goals. And they both they both have like a couple of songs on there that are
Squad
like
Goals is
that
the one I was
actually
talking
are-
about, actually, not Sailor Wave. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the one that plays when like the looping GIF of the Doraemon characters walking.
Squad Goals is the mix with like the tons
one's
of
awesome.
anime shit in it, right? It's like an
I mean,
hour
most
of
of them have
nonstop
tons
80s
of
anime
anime
footage.
shit.
It's like the video is like a heavily processed thing of like old anime. It looks the video.
It's really
is so
cool
good,
because
too.
I know all those
Man, I
shows,
love that
and for me,
video.
like my favorite thing about Vaporwave is all these 80s anime that no one's heard of suddenly like surfacing
Oh my
in
God.
media, and I'm like, oh my god, people are making
there-
videos about fucking Cobra and shit. Like this is the best.
There's a YouTube channel called Artsy Music, and there is a like ARTZIE.
Damn.
And there's a song by Lord Sun, and the name is in Japanese. But like it's this looping GIF of I forget her name, the character from Gunbuster.
Oh yeah, that's
and
Noriko.
she's like, it's her,
I've seen the one.
Yeah,
I've seen
Noriko
it.
from Gunbuster.
I know the video you're
yeah,
talking
she like.
about.
Dude, yeah,
It's the
that
tit
bit of
bounce.
animation
It's the
where
tit
like
bounce.
she's well, it's not just the tit bounce. Like she stands up and like she has her mouth open and then she closes her mouth and blinks
Yeah.
twice. And as she's doing it, she closes her fists and like twists her arms inwards into like a triumphant pose.
Yeah.
I have watched that loop and I watched that animation like for 10 minutes straight. And I would just like try to blink at different moments in it to like pick out the different frames and like until I had like developed like a feel for every individual
Whoa.
frame in that like
Dude,
several second animation.
You know what you got to do now?
I fucking
you
love
have to
that
watch
one.
because that specific cut is in Daikon 4 and it's in Otaku no Video. Like
Yeah,
it's a cut that they kept reusing in Gainax. So like because it was a
So they're a
it was
little bit of
originally-
hacked. According to your definition, Ben, that makes Gunbuster worse. Oh fuck.
Well, it's all the same guy. It's all Toshio Okada wrote all
yeah,
of
it's a
those.
recycled
Yeah.
idea.
No, it makes the other things that it was recycled into worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was
Well,
recycled
well,
from
it was originally
Daikon 4 into
yeah,
Gunbuster.
It was first Daikon 4 and then
Yeah.
Gunbuster and then Otaku no Video.
I didn't know that.
Well, it's still a beautiful animation, regardless.
Yes, it's very cool. It's in
Yes,
right in the
yes.
middle of Daikon 4. You should watch it. It's only 4 minutes long and it's the
I-
best anime ever.
I have seen Daikon 4.
All
I
right,
can't
just,
get into
uh,
Steven Seagal. I hate him. He's a fat shit. All of his movies are bullshit.
Fucking plebe! Executive Action is the greatest movie of our generation.
I fucking, you know what? I
Of
love
our generation?
That's right.
You know
Because
what?
I was born in the wrong generation. I identify as an '80s kid.
You know, I love
shit.
action movies. The cornier, the better. You know, I love everything by Stallone, Schwarzenegger. I love Jean-Claude Van Damme. But something about Steven Seagal, I
He's
just
weird,
look at
man.
him and I want to
He's
puke.
weird.
He's
He
just
doesn't
a,
look like he can do any of the things
he
he's
doesn't.
doing
He
in
doesn't
his
look.
movies.
He doesn't look like he can beat anyone up. He looks like just a
No.
just like a fat dad.
He's
I
got
hate
some
him.
major dad bod
He's
going
the
on.
worst action star in the history of action cinema. He belongs in like Uncle Buck. He's like
Yeah.
a John Candy actor who was
Yeah,
miscast
I've seen
into
like
an action hero.
I've seen like a compilation of like, oh, really cheesy, hilarious Steven Seagal moments, and I'm like, this would be funnier if anyone other
Yeah.
than Steven Seagal
You know
was
what
the
it
one
was?
in this
It was
scene.
like
It's
some
not.
executives were like, "This is Steven Seagal. We made him a bad action hero as a joke." And that's just his whole career is just based on that.
But then they forgot
That's
it was a
right, that's
joke.
right.
How do you feel about like Charles Bronson? He looks
He's the
like-
greatest actor
Yeah,
of all
he's
time.
great. Charles Bronson's great. Clint Eastwood, of course, is the fucking man. I love all
Yep.
of them. They're all great, except he's the only one. Steven Seagal is the only guy I hate. He
Shit.
sucks.
You said Charles Bronson, but I thought
Charles
of,
Barkley?
of
Bronson?
of Marlon Brando.
Or
Now, Jesse, you made me think of one thing that I pretty much can never get into is the so bad it's good principle, because
Oh, yeah, that's a
most
good one.
things that are so bad they're good are like really sparse with things that are so bad it's good. You know, which is why
Sometimes.
like
Yeah.
Darcy's
Well,
Wing
I
is something
don't-
that Digi introduced me to, and that one's really great, at least the first episode, because that one is so dense
Yeah.
with interestingly
That's-
hilarious
I
bad
don't really
stuff.
believe
but
in that label at
most
all. It's like
so
it's,
bad
it's
it's
like the
good
same as I
things.
feel about like the guilty pleasure label. Like if it's so bad it's good, then
Yeah.
it's just good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Jersey's
true
Wing
in a
is
certain-
legitimately
it
good.
depends on how you're looking at it, but Davu, you really
but-
should watch
but you
The
can-
Room, because The Room has gone so far beyond ironic enjoyment for me that I just love every single bit of it.
Yeah, Nate, I did watch The Room,
Yeah?
and I didn't get a whole lot more out of it than just,
Okay,
like, to be
honestly,
honest, when I
dude,
watched Nostalgia
give it
Critics
another
review, because
try.
he just showed all the funny parts.
Give it another try.
Hold
you
on.
kind of fucking
I
spoiled it for
already
yourself.
watched The Room, and it wasn't like that good. Like, because whenever you watch a review, even if it's one of those really long, that guy with the glasses style ones, which basically just shows the movie, it doesn't quite capture what the actual experience of the movie is. So it's not quite spoiling.
I cannot think
I just
of
wanna
The
tell you-
Room,
The Room
as
has
a bad
all
movie.
these really long scenes that aren't that full of like really funny
Oh, I
stuff.
disagree.
It's just like a couple
what are
of
you
I
talking
disagree,
about, man?
dude.
Every second of that movie's
I don't
funny.
know.
It's true. It's all like
It
every
kind of
line
is.
Tommy says is instant gold. It's fucking amazing. And
I will say
but I just
that-
want to say that I too got into it
I mean,
via the Nostalgia Critic
the
review,
thing-
and I watched that video like a bunch of times. Then I got into the movie. So I'm just saying.
Devu, I don't know how many times you've seen it. Something about The Room is that I can see how you would think that on like a first viewing. Okay, I know you said you saw the Nostalgia Critic review, so maybe this is not you. Maybe you're not a naive viewer like I'm going to describe. But someone who watched The Room one time probably wouldn't. There would be some funny bits they laughed at, but I think it takes like several watches, and like I think you kind of have to discuss it and like digest it to really understand the depth and the density and complexity.
well, fine.
It's such a
Yeah.
it's
I'm
such a
gonna
social
jump to
movie.
a different
like,
thing.
You
It's
kind
that's
of
slightly different. I want to change my terms. I'm never going to be able to appreciate movies the way that James Rolfe does, even remotely, and the way that he can appreciate movies like horror movies and that are like really terrible. And like I don't know what he gets out of it, and that's definitely something I can't
Now,
get
Jesse,
into.
what
the
were you
horror
saying?
And
Oh,
cheesy
yeah, sorry.
and the cheesy horror.
Uh-huh.
It's just like
Yeah,
I just
I'm
feel
the
like people
same.
can really get into movies because they're movies, and the craft of film itself is like captivating to them.
But see, that's
And
exactly
for
what
me,
makes
I
The
just-
Room
I'm
cool,
so
because
hard
the
to-
deviations from what you'd expect a good movie to be are done so hilariously in that movie. That is inherently what makes it good.
I can't look at The Room even as a bad movie. Like, to me, it
It's
has
just
a
great. It's
place
just
that
great.
no other film in history has, and it fits exactly for The
Oh,
Room.
Jesse, I didn't know you were such a fan. You're a kindred spirit.
I've been down to clown with The Room since time immemorial.
Have you
I
been to
sadly-
Have you been to the live shows where they play these in theaters and thrown the
yeah.
spoons and shit?
That's awesome.
awesome.
I've seen it in theaters and stuff.
We should
and-
go to one sometime.
Yeah,
It would be awesome.
that's what I was saying.
Nate, didn't you
so
go to
much
one of
of
those
Ben, you
what
and me
makes
went,
The
like,
Room
twice.
enjoyable.
Yeah, I invited you to a thing,
And
that
it was
my
like the
friend
best thing
invited
I'd ever
us
been
me
to. It was
and-
so much fun. I can't
So
wait.
much of what makes it enjoyable
at the
is the
Brattle Theater in
social
Boston.
aspect of it. It's
Yes.
having a bunch
Yes.
of guys in a room and
Yeah.
everyone knows the lines and everyone's fucking losing their minds at everything.
And that did make it better, but I just want to clarify.
I
I
know-
already loved it intensely before
I
going
know
to that,
Jesse
so.
was also a big Rocky Horror fan, so
I
that's
was,
kind of
yeah.
the same
Oh,
sort
it kind
of
of same thing.
But
yeah.
I'm with Devu because I don't get like because I don't think that's quite what we're describing. The Room is more. I think of the Room as being just like Garzy's Wing, where it's there's so much to appreciate, and so much of it's like outright memes. Like with The Room, there's stuff that you can quote every day.
I think
of
Devu
your
was
life.
talking more like just like old timey effects and corny dialogue and stuff.
Right, like there's a lot of those
okay.
like
Kinda.
kind of more like the Cinemasochist, how he can get so into some of those old schlock movies, and it's not a cultural thing. It's not him joking
Yeah.
with his friends. It's not that. It's just him watching these movies and enjoying them by himself. And
Yeah, Digi, are you familiar with this one James Rolfe video, the top 40 shitty shark movies? He and his wife watched
Holy
more
shit.
than 40 shark movies. And like Sharknado was coming out as he was making the
Yeah.
list, so we put it at number 5 at the last second. He had the mental ability to watch all of those.
I'm with you, dude.
I mean,
I can only barely stand to watch one good movie.
yeah.
I could see, the thing is that like what you were saying about like being so enamored with the craft of film, I could definitely do that with anime. I don't think I would enjoy all those shitty anime necessarily, but I could easily watch any shit anime just because it's anime, because I'm so enamored with knowing everything about it and knowing every single
I think it really
possible
is
thing.
more than just appreciating it, like to appreciate something like these. It's not about really judging it by itself. It's about having a larger context of what
Like-
the work is and how it deviates from that and why that's
Right.
original and cool.
But I do think that, like, with stuff like The Room and Garzy's Wing, that's, like, a different story. Because it's not just that it's so bad it's good. It's so bad it's, like, amazing. Like, legitimately the funniest movie
it's amazing
ever.
that like it
you know?
got greenlit with these things. It's like the fact that people like checked a box, like okay, ship this, is just like holy shit. It's amazing.
I mean, a lot of what makes bad things good, like really bad things good and interesting is the way that it sort of forms a narrative about the person.
Exactly.
who
The things
made
you
it.
learn about
You know,
Tommy by watching
like-
that movie are
you learn about Tommy when you watch The Room. You learn about what's his name when you watch.
I just want to bring this up briefly that I've recently become fascinated as of the latest YMS video where he talked about the 3 movies by that one fucking weird guy.
Those look so good.
They look pretty
awesome.
fucking hilarious, and it suddenly dawned on me that like all these guys, because obviously these directors are fucking weird, right?
Yeah,
They're definitely weird people, and like their movies always have like suicide, like strong themes of suicide and depression and death, and it's like these are like tormented people. Like these are obviously people who are trying to express themselves because they've probably lived a whole life of being fucking weird and nobody gets them, and so they try to make a movie so people can get them, and people get them even less, and they get it all wrong, and that's why they want to fucking kill themselves.
There's no way to win. There's no way to win.
Horrifying.
I bet the guy from that new YMS review, he had like a laptop back in the 90s when he was nerdy and kids made fun of him and broke his laptop. So now all he can do in his movies is break more laptops in all of his movies to vent his frustration about laptops.
He needs to get a tough
And yeah,
book,
so like,
you know?
I totally get. I'm like that with video games. Like right now, I'm on Moby Games. I click random game, and without exception, I'm at least a little bit interested on whatever I get because the fact that video games exist is always the most mind-blowing, incredible fact that I can ever think, no matter how many times I do it.
That's how I feel about anime.
And a lot of people seem to be that way with film. Like they just can't believe that this film is happening, and it never gets old to them.
Dude, you have no idea how many times I sit back on my bed and I'm like, because I know enough about anime to know that this is like I always think of it as like 40 people making all anime, right? Like that's a gross exaggeration, but anime is so incestuous that it's like it really is compared to anything, like compared to the world at large. This tiny handful of people on this faraway archipelago in the middle of fucking nowhere, in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, who are sitting there like creating this. It is an archipelago. It's a bunch of islands.
It's totally an archipelago. You mean?
I must have the wrong definition, but okay.
It's just a bunch of like it's this handful of people on this island somewhere far away who have been doing this thing for so long that there's this whole culture around it, this whole like its own trajectory of development, all these things, and like 45 shows coming out a season, and yet it's so insular that it doesn't make sense to anyone else in the world. Like, how the fuck does anime exist? How are they still making it? How is it not died? Like, it just keeps getting more insular. It never gets bigger and broader and more appealing to the rest of the world. Like, every once in a while it does. At least Netflix is helping, and Attack on Titan, people watch that shit. But then a show will come out that, like, I feel like 12 people can possibly appreciate it, and I'm like, how are these 12 people gonna fund this show that only 12 people made?
Do you still feel that's the case? Even
each one of them buys 12.
Even in the age of light novels, do you still feel that way, or do you just feel that way about some shows?
Light novels are the most insular. Those are the ones that are like
but they have an established audience already.
Right, but that's the thing. It's an audience.
There
of
it
like,
is. There it is.
For the most part, in Japanese anime.
It's crazy that there's a whole market that is so small and so like plays to itself and it doesn't seem to be trying to get any bigger for the most part, and yet it somehow can generate more content than like any other medium. Like, what other medium has 45 new things coming out every fucking 3 months? That is an insane amount of content.
Video games? But I guess there's way less people
making
making anime.
Have you seen 45 video games coming out every 3
go on
months?
Steam, probably.
I mean, in indie games.
I guess so. But an indie game's also like one guy making it, where an anime is like a team of 100 people. You know,
yeah, that's
like,
fair. That's fair.
That's
There
fucking
are
madness.
definitely, like, you don't know just how many games there are on Steam. I remember on a Digibros, you were saying, eventually you've seen all the Steam games. No, eventually you've seen all the Steam games that are linked to by other Steam games in recommended pages. If you go to, like, list all games by most recent, multiple games come out every day.
Yeah. Well, whatever. That's cool. All right, we
sweet.
get the point.
It's pretty
It is
sweet,
sweet. It is sweet.
How
Let's move
do
on
I
to
list
another
all
one.
games? Hold on, I want to figure out how to do that.
before we move on from the subject, I know that the subject evolved a little bit, but it was originally things that are so bad it's good. And before we move on, I can't help but mention Christian Weston Chandler and Sonichu, the electric hedgehog Pokemon, which, wait, have you... Hippo's read it.
Yep.
Nate has read it. Digidevu, Jesse, have you guys read
I've definitely
Sonichu?
seen parts of it.
I have not.
Oh, man. You guys should do it.
Okay, I have read the entire thing multiple times. I was way into the whole thing in, like, college and a little after. And the thing about Sonichu is, the comic itself, I mean, it looks terrible, obviously. You can tell just by looking at it that the art is bad. The story is very often extremely boring and usually completely incomprehensible. But the challenge and the satisfaction of reading Sonichu comes from understanding Christian Weston Chandler himself, understanding his mindset and understanding what was happening in his life when he was drawing these things, and fucking figuring out how to parse what it is he's trying to say.
Often it is extremely obvious what's going on, but sometimes it's brutally difficult.
Like there's a scene where like Chris, he beats up a bunch of cops, right? At a bowling alley in the comic. Yeah, jerk cops. And he says, like, I'm not the weak person I was. I'm much saltier now. And, like, what does that mean, right? Well, if you dig enough, you find out that Christian Weston Chandler went to, like, some anime con in, like, 2005, at which he met the voice actors that played Hayat in Excel Saga. And Excel Saga contains a joke wherein Excel says, I'm not the sweet person she thinks I am. I'm much saltier now.
Did Christian start the salt thing? Like, is that how salt became a thing that people call it? Okay.
No. He means that he's tough. So it's actually a stolen joke from Excel Saga with its context removed and butchered to the point that it's no longer a joke
Which he stole a lot from,
anymore.
including his own inclusion in the story as a character.
There's dozens and dozens. Yeah, Excel Saga is like an unsung hero of like the lineage that became Sonichu.
It's big. It's big.
It's
See,
like
Ben, the reason I haven't read Sonichu
for like all of his plagiarized
the
jokes.
reason I haven't read Sonichu is I've always been under the impression that one day you were going to just tell me the entire CWC
That's what he did with me. That's what he did with me back years ago.
I've been waiting for the day that we can sit down and you can just describe the whole mythos.
I'd just like to propose for RadCon, let's just have the Sonichu sit down appreciation
like a whole day
time.
dedicated.
Sit down by the fire and Ben pulls out the tome. It's dusty. He blows the pages, all the dust comes off.
The tome, by the way, is Ululula's book.
Yeah.
You should bring that too.
Legend of the 10 Elemental Masters, which I also own. I don't think I've ever mentioned this on the show, but I have a piece of original Chris Chan art. I have a comic page that I commissioned from him that shows the secret fate of the brown-shirted imposter that was never shown in the comic. I was like, please, I'll give you $50, Chris. Draw me, Liquid Chris. Draw me what happened to Liquid Chris, and I have it on my wall, and I will show it sometime.
Man.
Probably
Amazing.
on my Twitter.
Put that up, Ben. I want to see it.
Yeah.
Again.
I was gonna say something about it's the whole Sonichu saga is like this weird puzzle that you gotta unpack, but once you do, it's like it's dense with meaning in the same kind of way that the room is.
Oh, man,
By the way,
I did link you to the way to list all new games on Steam.
Well,
a whole page comes out every day this week.
Your list doesn't have as many listed as the one I had already found, but I'm seeing 9,351. Not that many games.
Well, yeah, I narrowed out software and downloadable content and that stuff.
Okay,
well, it's just full games.
Who gives a shit? Let's move on.
Well, I have another one that thing I can't get into, and I need to disclaim this with, I'm going to sound like a nerd.
He's going to talk about economics. Here it comes.
Something I can't get into. So I'm going to sound like a jerk. So I want to. So as soon as I say this, I'm going to have to clarify why immediately.
I was the same with the gender binary.
I can't get into sports. Not because
Okay,
of
that's
like
fine.
athleticism. Fine with that.
Do you
not
expect
because
to be
of,
argued with by anyone in this call? Like, none of us fucking
Yeah,
like
I
sports.
think our audience is going to be mostly
yeah,
on
who the hell was
Well,
gonna
true.
make you sound like a
even
jerk?
though I know
I actually
most
do
people
like
would agree
football,
with
and
me.
I watch football occasionally, but
Even though I know most people will agree with me, I just know there's some subconscious judgment of like, it's because you don't have any athletic ability. That's
Sports
why,
are
right?
fucking
Well, that might be part of it, but the real reason is that there's no level design. We criticize.
that's not true. There's exactly one level design. There is exactly
That's
one.
not. Think about this. Think about this.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy
man.
13 is the worst game ever, but because for one simple reason, it's all a hallway, right?
Okay, but imagine this.
Well,
What
think
if in
about
Final
it.
Fantasy 7, you could
I meant
change
Final
your
Fantasy 13.
characters?
I meant 13. I meant Final Fantasy 13.
Okay,
I meant Final Fantasy
right.
13.
Yeah, I
thought you said
actually
13.
I
You
didn't
did
even
say
hear you
13.
say
Oh, okay,
7.
wait,
well,
sorry.
Nate
I meant to say 13,
paranoiafied me into
but here's
thinking-
the difference: is that every time you play Final Fantasy 13, in this example, your characters are all different, and it's a different team comp, and you get to have a different team that you're fighting.
What's funny
That's what
to
makes
me
it cool.
about this argument is that one of my favorite video games of all time is Mario Power Tennis, which has no level design.
I like Super
and it's one of the
Dodgeball.
best games ever. And I also like watching tennis on TV. So
I don't like
Tennis
watching
is
tennis
cool.
at all.
Well, it's like-
boring.
Why don't you fucking get some DFW David Foster Wallace essays and go read Infinite Jest,
Yeah,
you
hipster.
fucking
Why, is that
neckbeard?
about tennis?
By the way,
It is about tennis.
David Foster Wallace. Yeah, it is about tennis. Oh God, nobody knew that. My joke
Yeah,
completely flat.
knew.
none of
Oh,
us
God,
have fucking
no.
read it. I've got the audiobook. I can listen to it and
How
watch
long is
tennis
that?
at the same time.
You know
That'd
what?
be
I
fun.
totally,
That's actually a great idea.
don't agree.
Oh my god, I can play Mario Power Tennis and listen to Infinite Jest! Oh my god! I have to buy the new Mario Tennis game for the Wii U. This is the greatest realization of my life. I might be
Okay.
drunk now, by the way.
I actually don't agree with what I said before about the you can't get into it. I think actually the definition is, can you really get into it and become a fan of it, not just have isolated moments of enjoyment?
Well,
Because
dude,
it's
let me tell you.
It's like I turn on no, shut up. I turn on tennis and I'm like, that's kind of cool. That's kind of, and then I'm done. I'm bored. That's it. That's all I can
I'm
get
the
out of
same
it.
way. I'm not like
that's
into
a
tennis.
totally
Because it's the same thing every time, and I know
All right,
it's all
you
about
say
the
that,
stats
but
of the people,
here's
but
the
that's
reason
not
people
enough for
enjoy
me.
it. The reason people enjoy it is because they know all the players. They know the ins and the outs. They know the stats.
Almost-
they have expectations for what's going to happen.
The
It's
majority
whole
of the
picture.
appeal of
Yeah, there's
sports
stakes. There's
to
stakes
sports
for them.
fans is the narrative. It's
Yeah.
all
Right,
about
I
the sports
know,
narrative.
but there's just not a narrative. There's not like a world that they're inhabiting. It's the same location every time, and I would
The
dislike.
world they're inhabiting is our world. The location
No,
is
it's
human
not.
existence.
you
No,
think.
they're
Our world
not.
is
It's the
boring.
same court every time.
It's
And
not.
I
There's,
would
there's
dislike-
4 different types of courts. You got
But
the
the
clay court,
characters-
the grass
the
court, the
characters-
fucking the super bouncy
That's
one.
not enough.
The players as characters exist in the real world. That's where the stakes are. Is in
You've
the
got
real
the
world.
world.
You've got that one
it's
court where
relevant
the-
to
where the-
game in a physical, tangible
You've
way.
got the one court where sometimes the
doesn't
tiles
have
flip
more
over
than
and
just
there's,
the game.
like water
It's-
underneath,
Checkers
and you
doesn't
fall
have
into
level
piranha plants and
design.
stuff.
Sure
Like
it
there's all
does.
these. There's all
What
kinds
about
of levels.
snakes and ladders?
Shoots and ladders. God damn it!
But Devu, more than just
I'll
the
shoot
game
you.
is relevant to the game.
With a ladder.
Yeah, but
Me
it's
and
not
Hippo
enough.
were
If it
both
the
trying
other
to
way
make
around-
irreverent jokes while you
Look,
guys were talking.
If it were the other way around,
Neither one
like
of them
it,
worked.
like let's say like football. But okay, just think about how much cooler football would be if it took place on a mountain. Yeah, it wouldn't be
wouldn't-
even anymore.
whatever,
But it
dude.
would be
It
the coolest
did
thing.
once.
Make it
Wait,
100%
wasn't that what
cool.
that Homestuck art was about? The one that Hussey went through so much effort to get.
No,
there was
the
a
foot. It's not Homestuck.
But yeah, the
art, but
football
yeah,
player on the mountain
painting that he bought
fighting
of,
like a dragon or whatever.
No, that football player fighting against like an evil
Yeah.
unicorn with like an erupting mountain
Yeah,
in the
that was the
background.
best art ever.
Like imagine if like
Hold on, I have to
imagine if
find
like
it.
soccer took place in a
Davu.
marsh and they had to like get around with
No,
the-
Davu,
Go on,
Davu, there's an interesting thing. Back when in England, football used to be played, soccer used to be played between towns, and they would kick the ball from one town to the other through forests and over rivers and
That's
stuff.
so cool.
So that would be cool. That would be what you would want to
Yeah.
see,
Pretty
right?
cool.
This
Sounds pretty
this is
doesn't sound very
exactly
much
what
like
Hippo wants
soccer.
all football to look like. I mean, Davu.
Yeah, there it is.
That's pretty great.
I'll link that in the description.
I'm the one editing this. This
picture
is
that-
two of you have said you were going to link
okay.
something in the description.
Well, I say that
forgetting
because
I
I
edit.
know.
Well, you know,
that means
in
you're
my
going
interview,
to.
you said you were going to link that fan art that I made, and you didn't link it. I had to wait for a commenter to point it out, and I had to go in and put it in.
You'll probably have to do that again.
Okay, let's move
Jesse,
on.
do you have another thing you can't get into?
Oh yeah. Oh okay. New fighting games. Can't do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
I can't get into fighting games in general.
I used to really like Street Fighter, but that was when I was young and naive.
Like when we played Street Fighter 2 on our SNES.
Yeah, when we had
Yeah.
the Super
Well,
Nintendo and we would fucking just casually
Here's
Street
what
Fight
I
each other.
mean.
It was great.
Any fucking fighting game that I grew up with and have a fondness for, you know, is Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Smash Brothers, whatever. I have my character, I have my guy, I know all the moves, I know how to play it, I can be reasonably competent at it for the rest of my life. But any new fighting game that's just coming out, I don't have anybody around to play with, so I don't have a fucking, there's no social
You
aspect
can play
anymore.
online now.
So I just,
Oh, yeah,
I don't have
Fuck
the ability.
that, Jesse.
I don't have the ability.
Why do I keep getting everybody's
to-
names confused?
It's because you're
I-
fucking wasted, making an ass of yourself on the
That
internet.
drunk.
Everybody shut
All
the
right,
fuck up
all
for a
right.
second. God damn it, let Jesse continue his point.
Yeah. I don't have the
apologize.
ability to like learn a new character. Shut the God damn it! Shit!
God!
Okay, all right.
Oh Christ! You got me to that point. It took you 2.5 hours, but you did it. Devu kicked me out of the podcast. That didn't do it.
Shit. Here
You
we
started
go.
yelling at me about yellow. That didn't do it. But you finally pushed me right over the edge.
I'm sorry. Okay, go
All right,
on.
Jesse.
Go on.
Well,
I'm listening.
I wish to know more.
I don't know. That's fucking it. I fucking would have had more if you'd let me talk the first time.
All right.
I have a really easy time getting into new fighting games because all my friends are fighting game addicts. All they do is talk about fighting games, play
That's-
fighting
I
games.
don't have
watch-
the time, nor the patience, nor the ability, nor the incentive to learn a new character in a new game. That's my whole point. That's all I wanted to say. Fuck it. Move on to the
Okay.
next one. I hate
You know,
everything.
The last fighting game I was able to get into, I mean, I guess I kind of got into Smash at some point, but like I got into I just like the aesthetic of Guilty Gear so much, and I thought that Kai looked like so cool. I thought he was such a cool looking dude that I managed to like sit down for long enough to learn how to sort of play Kai
I have
in
this
Guilty Gear.
like
a
real
bit.
burning desire that like you know I have a lot of weird plans for when we all like eventually live near each other. And one of them is that Jesse is always describing Guilty Gear as like the coolest game that he's never gotten into or never played. And like I have this dream of having Jesse around and I could be like, Jesse, let's play Guilty Gear. And I can be the one who finally gets Jesse into Guilty Gear because I fucking love Guilty Gear. And
How do you feel about that, Jesse? Are you into that?
I'm all into that.
Oh, so you are open to it. Okay.
I mean, there's
thought
no-
that you weren't interested in new games.
God, well, if
New-
you had been listening, Nate, you would have
I'm
heard.
sorry.
I
Wow,
didn't
Nate,
say I
I'm
wasn't
actually
interested.
shocked that you actually didn't get his point at all.
Oh, right,
How
because
the
there's no one around to
fuck?
play with. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
with you. I'm with you. All right.
I'll play Guilty Gear with you fucks. That sounds
Yeah,
cool.
it's a fun game. It's fun. We used to
And
play.
Playing
you and
video
me.
games online is miserable and shit. Even when it's with people you know,
Yeah.
I have no interest in playing games online.
Oh man, that's
Yeah,
funny
I can't get
because
into
like
that. Definitely cannot get into playing online games randomly. It's not an appealing
but
idea
this
for
is
me
this
at
is
all.
relevant. I gotta tell you.
Hey,
Yeah,
Tom's
hey, Tom.
back. Hey,
Tom,
Tom,
you
how
love
you
Guilty
doing?
Gear. How do you feel about playing it online?
I don't play Guilty Gear online.
Interesting.
Exactly.
And well, let me tell you guys,
Because playing online sucks.
I played
Games
League
are
of
not meant
Legends
to be
for
played
years
that way.
online, and it was only so that I would have an excuse to hang out with my friends because they live far away in other states.
I agree.
And
'Cause
I
used to
still do
play
that with like
Halo 2.
Overwatch now and shit, you know.
I played Halo 2 back in the day all the time, but
Yeah.
I never played it online with my friends. We'd
Mm.
all like, schedule it together. We'd all play. I'd never play solo by myself. Same thing after college when I played Black
Yeah.
Ops 1. I played with some of my friends, but I hate playing online by myself because I
me
hate
too.
being social in general, unless they're people I'm comfortable with. So just a bunch of people yelling fag in my ear, playing a game that's really boring. So I hate that. I'd much rather play a single-player game that's constructed around have an
Yeah.
experience for
Agreed.
one person.
If
Agreed.
only they
used
made
to
a
play-
single-player game about guys yelling "fag" in your ear.
I'm into that.
I used to play like Halo and Gears of War online, but that was because you could have like a split screen with you and your friend, but you were in
Right.
the same match together online. So that was
Yeah,
always
I did
fucking
that
cool.
with Halo 2 a lot too. I'd go to my friend Mike's house and we'd just fucking get the Xbox going.
Because you'd have your,
Split
like,
screen Halo.
when you have a friend next to you and your teammates are all yelling at you like, what the fuck, man? Don't use the fucking sniper. Then you and your friend can just be like, listen to this fucking idiot.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
just make
Bash
fun
on
of
them.
him.
When it's
Yeah.
just you
Best.
hearing that voice, it wears on your soul after a while, you
Yeah.
know?
You're like, does this guy really feel this strongly about this video game? Like,
I'm sorry, I used the sniper rifle. Please.
Yeah.
Please forgive me.
Sure, like I get it. You seem to care a lot more than I do, so I'll just back out of this match and go
Yeah.
back to my life and
that's why I
go back to other
immediately-
things.
Yeah, I immediately muted the chat in Overwatch once I got that game.
Yeah.
There's only 3 multiplayer online games that I can stand. It's Hearthstone, World of Warcraft, and Team Fortress 2. Hearthstone and Team Fortress 2 is okay because when I lose, it doesn't feel so bad. And in World of Warcraft, I can just be by myself.
Yeah.
But in every other game I've ever played online, like including Mario Kart Wii and fucking anything, it makes me so infuriated that I break things and I hate everyone.
It's the worst.
It's the
There's one game
it's
actually
co-
that I did play online by myself, and I didn't have like a ton of fun with it, but it was the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, and I just did that. I had to do it because you had to fucking, for the story, you had to like get your readiness up by fucking
Oh,
playing
really?
multiplayer, which is a crock of shit. But it was cooperative. It was like horde mode from
Yeah.
Gears, so that was a bit more because it wasn't like people screaming at you that you're a fag. It was just like people working together or trying to, or at least like kind of doing their own thing.
That's
So,
cool.
it
will
was
say-
more palatable.
Relevant to that, like, you know, most people, like, when they characterize online gaming, it's like, you know, it's just people yelling at you. But those times when you get someone who, like, compliments you and stuff, I always feel like that's the most heartwarming thing in the world. Like, to realize
Yeah,
that
it's pretty
some
nice.
random stranger is a halfway decent person is always, like, really
I
nice.
think the idea of online gaming would be fucking great if people didn't suck so much balls.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say that I am a big fan of MMORPGs like Terra and Black Desert, but I play them totally solo and talk to nobody. So I just play them because I like the mechanics.
World of Warcraft is my favorite single player.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm surprised.
But yeah, like I actually that is a great transition because I was going to bring this up as one of the things I can't get into, which is like playing online games in particular and just generally any game that's not about beating it in like a sitting. You know, like I love single player games where I can sit down for 2 or 3 days and beat the whole game and be done with it for as long as I want. You know, Dark Souls 3, beat it in 18 hours, you know, played a little bit more just because I like the game so much and then fucking forgot about it. Doom, beat the main campaign, went back, did a little bit. All right, I'm fucking tired of Doom. Let's move on with my life. Any game that's like you play it regularly or you come back to it or there's not an easy out. Like for me, what's always made me paranoid about playing online games is the idea that if I leave, I fuck somebody over. You know, like
Oh yeah,
like, we're
that's a trap right there. They're setting
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, in a lot of those games, and I could not even imagine like one like League of Legends where the matches are like 45 minutes long.
It's
like,
a nightmare, dude.
You know, I've done a lot of like you know, first-person shooter games is not too bad. It's like somewhat because I like to be able to just get up at any time when I'm playing a game. I like to just go like, you know, I literally in Dark Souls sometimes I smack an enemy and he's dead and then I realize I'm hungry and I put the controller down and I go eat, or you know, someone calls me to go do something, and like I really value that. And when I can't do that, when it's like, oh shit, I have to finish this match before I can go eat dinner, you know, that it's like that is like unbelievable stress for me.
It's pretty
and
bad.
I cannot handle
You're playing LOL that LOL. It's
Dude,
tough.
I
not
hate
to
that as well.
not to co-opt the point, but yeah, LOL and MOBAs are something that I cannot get into, and that I honestly fucking hate.
It's understandable.
I
The
can't get into any
I
point-and-click
mean-
games. I cannot stand point-and-click controls.
Not even
in
like
video
StarCraft.
games.
You never played StarCraft?
No.
StarCraft's
Some
fun.
friends of mine tried to get. I played League of Legends for a while with some friends, and they tried to ease me into it, but they could not help themselves but to get mad at me when I made
It's because you depend on everyone to carry the weight of a team. It's brutal, you know.
Yeah, I know, right? They were counting on me, but like I'm a noob. I couldn't.
You can't play with
very
friends
well,
like
and
that.
It fucking sucked. And I played enough. I had a couple of good kills. I had some fun occasionally. It wasn't just like D&D. It wasn't all bad. There were highlight moments. But then I sort of got okay with Warwick. Like I sort of figured out how to play Warwick decently, and I was like, oh cool. Now I'm starting to have a little bit of fun. And they were like, okay, now stop playing Warwick. Pick up a new
learn
character.
the first
learn
out of
that
like
character,
100
and then repeat,
goddamn champs you need to learn.
And then repeat for every and then repeat for every character until you know them all, because that's the only way you can fucking be good at this game. And I was like, no.
I remember when you did
understand how anyone I cannot understand how anyone has any fun with these fucking games unless they're at like a super high competitive level that takes thousands of hours to get to. And who the fuck would want to do that?
I kind of get it because the thing is,
I only did it because my friends played, you know. And I don't know why they play.
I think the people who get really into those kind of games are ones who like don't really do anything else.
Oh, absolutely.
Like my brother Shade gets really into like right now he's really into Overwatch, and it's like Overwatch came out.
Yo,
and
dude,
now
I want to play
that
with
is
DJ
what he
MC
does.
Shadu. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'll give you his. Apparently, all my friends are playing it now, but Shade is definitely going to be the one who's the highest skilled and playing the most, because he gets into a game and he'll just like not stop for months. It's all he does, all he thinks about. He's actually editing a Overwatch video just comparing all the running speeds of all the characters, like proving which ones are the fastest and slowest. Like, just because he fucking felt like it, like, you know. Well, he's. I don't know. It's not like a narrated video. It's like just footage and music.
It's just remember when the fucking
he
Game
set it
Grumps
to his
dudes...
own music too, which is great.
Oh, that's cool. Remember when the Game Grumps dude made that like clapping thing of all the Smash Bros.
That
characters?
was great.
It just reminds me of that.
But before we compare the running speeds of
First,
these
we have to
Overwatch
talk
characters,
about
we'll have to talk about parallel universes.
Yeah.
Oh, if only.
It's the best meme ever.
All right, Tom. Now that you're back, do you have another thing you can't get into?
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know what was said while I was gone. But
Yo, I can't get into yo girl. Know what I'm saying, dog?
Hey,
I've been trying, man.
Suck that dick. Suck that dick.
That's a weird.
Yeah,
that's
a
weird
burn on
burn,
you.
man.
That's like
a really
I
strange
failed to
burn.
have sex with your girlfriend. It's really bumming me out right now.
Damn! Oh, damn! Getting
All right, Tom. What's your?
All right.
I don't even know how I can follow that up. No, one of the things I've written here is sports/reality TV. I think it's fucking retarded.
We did cover sports, but not
did
reality.
Sports. We did not do. I want to talk about reality.
Well, let
TV.
Tom
Let's
start.
Please talk
Yeah.
about
Brought it
that.
up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
My mother is obsessed with reality TV, so I see it all the time because all she does is watch TV when she's not at work. And I've just seen like the depravity that it's, because she's been watching it ever since like the first Survivor, like started the whole genre.
Old school.
So I've
My mom too.
watched it evolve via proxy, and it's just the most disgusting, vapid, boring shit ever. And I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand why people like it, but I just can't believe people are so stupid that they like it.
There's one reality TV show that I do like. It's called I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. I don't know whether you guys have
I
it
don't
in
know.
America, but it's a bunch of celebrities trapped in an Australian jungle, and they have to do challenges in order to get food.
Oh shit!
And you're just seeing them go insane over like a course of a week or two.
That does sound great.
It's pretty good.
All right. I too. I'm not really into reality TV shows.
Hold on, Ben.
Again,
Wait,
this is
before
gonna be
you
the
start,
thing
I
Devu
want
was
to
saying.
ask Hippo.
Okay.
I want to say that if it's celebrities, I don't think it entirely counts, because at that point it's basically like a panel show with a broader concept, right? Like, because celebrities are famous for the fact that they have a personality and are interesting people on some level, as opposed to reality shows. Like, what makes it reality is that it's just real people, supposedly.
Well, the thing about these celebrities is that they're washed up and nobody actually knows.
I mean, we
who
have
they
a
are.
few.
They've been in a TV show.
We
once,
have a bunch of
and
shows
that's how
like
they
that.
get
Like,
in.
we had the Surreal Life, which was like basically a bunch of D-list celebrities doing the like a regular reality show. But I don't know. I feel like there's something slightly different because to me the whole point of it being reality is that it's supposed to be just like a window into the life of some normal.
Well, you are
people.
seeing them like literally starve and go insane.
It sounds hilarious.
There's
like,
elements
like
of reality there for sure. Okay,
that's why I'm hesitant
like,
to think of it as a reality show because it sounds too good.
All right. Anyway, Ben was saying something.
Okay, yeah, I don't really make a habit of watching reality shows. I haven't seen that many, but there are some that I have really, really enjoyed.
Oh, I know
I'm
one.
gonna tell you, the first one was Penny Arcade's Strip Search, which was not on TV. It was a web series, and I should preface this by saying that I don't really like Penny Arcade, the comic, or find it funny at all, and yet I fucking love everything that Gabe and Tycho do. I think, like, every interview with them and every, like I listen to their podcast, and I think that as dudes, they're just fucking awesome. I love the shit out of them. And they decided that, hey, we've got this fucking comic empire and all this money. Let's just do something. And they decided to have a reality show where they invited all of these cartoonists, all these more or less unknown cartoonists, into a house, and they had them do challenges and fucking compete to win, like, a spot, like, basically, like, working in the Penny Arcade office and like being like an official Penny Arcade partner. And the thing about this show was that Gabe and Tycho set out to make it as bog standard a reality show as possible. They wanted to direct everything so that the artists would hate each other and want to kill each other and foster bitter rivalry and drama. But they couldn't. Because they're weak. Because Gabe and Tycho are weak bitches, and they did not have the fucking emotional stones to carry through with this plan of theirs. So what ended up happening is they all became best friends, and they all like loved each other, and like
awesome.
They all cried when they left because they loved each other so much, and they couldn't bear to leave one another behind.
That sounds
Ben had me watch it too, and
that's like a deconstruction of the whole concept of reality shows.
Yes, it was an unintentional deconstruction to the whole concept, and it's fucking awesome. I mean, okay, some of the challenges are really stupid, and some episodes are better than others, but like, some of the people in there were really great, and like a couple of them formed like beautiful friendships that continue to this day.
Dude,
and like
I gotta tell you, like a bunch of
now.
watching that show with you, like.
A couple of them were fucking assholes, though. One or
bunch
two
of them were shitty,
hate,
but just like
anyway.
watching some of these like kind of shittier people really like make great comics and like bloom, it was like awesome. It felt so good to watch people be like forced to get their shit together, and they did, and then they won.
It was
oh
a
man, it
beautiful
was awesome.
thing.
Like Maki was so cool.
Maki wasn't my
He's just
favorite,
the first
but he
guy I
was
thought
alright.
of the top of my head.
The challenge.
Katie Rice was the best, by the
challenge
way. Katie Rice for life.
Yeah, I
All right, you guys are getting
Katie
too
Rice
specific
was
about
my
this.
favorite.
So I have
Okay,
seen
sorry.
hundreds of reality shows. I know this because I made a list of every TV show I've ever seen recently, and I was deeply disturbed by a lot of the shows I had to include on my list as having seen. The worst one, this was the absolute bottom of the barrel show on my entire list, the one that I was the most ashamed to have seen one episode of. And Jesse, I feel like I think you've made reference to this show before. Rock of Love with Bret Michaels.
Oh yeah,
Jesus.
it's a class. I don't know if that's the spin-off of Flavor of Love or if it's the other
It
way
is.
around.
It was a spin-off of
That's
Flavor
the
of Love.
one with Kid
Yeah.
Rock, right?
Yeah.
It might as well be. No.
Well, they all come from each other. Like Bret
Oh,
Michaels'
okay.
show came from Flavor Flav's show, which came from the Surreal Life season 3.
Oh.
They all spin out of each other.
Where's
Yeah,
the
it's a nightmare.
Tila
A
Tequila one in there?
self-perpetuating
Yeah,
nightmare.
Tina Tequila's from that too.
Yeah.
She's from and there was I Love New York is from there.
Oh yeah,
but
right.
I've seen a lot of these fucking shows because my mom has always been really into just all of it. Like she'll watch all of it, and the thing is, I think that the reason that reality shows are so popular, because I cannot tolerate them. Like every second of it is pain for me, and the reason is that they are edited so fucking awkwardly. Where like you can just hear like. They try to make it look real, but the more you know about filmmaking, the more you can't believe any of it.
The thing that really gets me every time is like how fucking obviously they're manipulating your emotions. Like if these things happen in real life, it'd be like, oh, he said this to me, but they'd put like
even on like
and, you
on
know.
a production level, it's like
Yeah.
you see all these people, and sometimes you're like, how can they have audio that good from where they are? Like there's parts in Survivor where they'll be out in the water, right? and then they'll be talking to each other, but they'll film it from an angle where you can't see their faces, and they'll have a conversation that I know, as someone who knows how to make film, you can't have that conversation with that audio. Because the only way to do it would be if they had lapel mics, and those wouldn't survive in the water the way that they're in the water. So, and the reason they're not filming them from the front is because they're ADRing those lines in. They're adding in later. You know? And there's so much stuff that's falsified or fake, or it's edited weirdly, where they'll have someone giving like a speech, and you can hear where each part of the sentence that they're saying is not one sentence, but you can tell that it's stitched together from multiple.
I hear you, dude. I just have to defend, because the best ones, I've seen a couple. The other example I know Ben was going to give was The Pickup Artist, which is...
That is the other one I was going to say.
Me and Ben were into that for a time back in the day. Yeah. And this show was it was so important to me to see.
It was powerfully emotional.
It was the story of a bunch of scared, helpless men trying to make carve out a little piece of happiness for themselves in the world, and watching their growth over the course of this series and them becoming real fucking human beings was beautiful, and it was completely real. And look, the emotions that Mystery felt when they had to leave, it was like when they had to kick a guy out. It was like they're casting him out.
These were lonely men. These were lonely men in need of help, but like the rules of the competition dictated that one of them had to be like, it was hosted by Mystery. Mystery was like sad and emotional when he had to kick some of them off. Like it was really
there's a
tragic.
huge gradient in quality between them. Not all of them are equally terrible. I've always heard that RuPaul's Drag Race is kind of like what you guys just described, where it's like a way more emotional and like legit feeling show.
People do like it.
It's just that so much of reality TV is creating the same kind of narratives that you could get anyways, like from a well-made show, but trying to make it
was well made. God damn it!
The idea
I don't know if it was well made, but it was
it's just as good a narrative as a regular TV show, but it's real, so that makes it even better. Except it feels even less real because I can see the seams so easily, like
there's
every
no
little
seams
thing.
in the Pickup Artist. God damn it! Look. Okay, I hear what you're saying, and let's say that that's true. But the thing is, though, these men were actually helped by this show. Real good was done to the world.
I don't doubt that some of them are more real than others. And I will say that if we're doing net shows, my favorite one is Thumbs Up, which is a series about these two Korean guys who like
stick their thumbs up each other's butts. Is that what it's about?
No, it's a pretty low budget. It's like a low budget internet show where it was about these two guys hitchhiking across the U.S.
That makes
and
sense.
they did like 3 seasons of it. Where like the first season is they had to make it from Vegas all the way to Florida, only hitchhiking or only taking free rides. Like they would train hop a lot and do all this like sleep in weird fucking like rundown places in the middle of nowhere. And like, but their cameraman would travel like individually. Like he would film them sometimes on the road, and then he would like drive to wherever they were next and stuff like that.
That's cool.
And then they did one season where they went from Texas to Alaska, and then the third season they crossed China all the way through hitchhiking alone. And I don't know if they ever did more, but like, I don't know if that counts as reality TV, but it was definitely in the vein of it. But it was
shows probably don't count just because like I was talking about like the shit that's on like network TV. Like my mom watches like fucking Millionaire Matchmaker, which is fucking garbage.
You know, maybe we got a little away from Tom's point.
Naked.
It's
fucking awful.
I think it's worth mentioning those other shows just because of the fact that those like that shows how like because they're obviously inspired by reality TV. These internet shows that are much
internet
better.
shows. My
it's
internet just
like
cut out.
The concept and
everyone
better
stop.
with it.
What's been said in the last minute? I didn't. My internet died.
Tavu, dude, just calm down.
Nothing's been said. I assure you.
I thought of something.
That nothing of any importance.
Think of another thing I can't get into. So, yeah. I was gonna wait until it was a good time.
I'm a big fan of Naked and Afraid. I want to talk about how great that show is. From like something about it, from
the concept is amazing.
From a philosophical standpoint, it just touches something primal deep inside me. I mean, this is the whole concept of, you take a man and a woman, they get naked in the jungle, they have to survive, there's nothing sexual about it, but then it gets to that point where it's at night, and they gotta cuddle, and they gotta spoon, and that's just profoundly beautiful, That's
I agree.
That's what it's all about.
I've still never
on this
seen that
planet.
show, but I've always wanted to watch it.
That's like my ideal vision for what the world should be. I think we should all be naked and afraid together, as opposed to clothed and depressed alone.
When the third impact... when the
Chloe
third
can depress
impact
the
comes
sequel.
and all that's left are naked Jesse and Fluttershy, they will comfort each other in each other's arms or hooves, and it will be beautiful.
You know,
All right, Davu, what was the thing you can't get into?
well, I was thinking of Extreme Makeover Home Edition, and that reminded me of something I can't get into.
Oh, like house flipping shows.
No, that one is all about like, hey,
So-
we need to. There's this really tragic story of this family, and they have
Yeah.
a shitty house, and everyone, the entire universe comes together to build them an amazing house.
That show is literally like everything, every single element of emotional manipulation you can possibly imagine
Big
packed
time.
into one show.
But
That sounds like-
there's two things about it that really, really get under my skin about. Is the fact that they have these kids in the show, the kids who were part of the family, and they always build them a room that looks exactly like everything that they want at that exact moment. Which not only will they be embarrassed to have when they're an adult,
right.
but they'll be
yeah.
embarrassed to have next year.
I hear you,
right?
dude. I hear you on this.
But that's just one that always bothered
Yeah,
me. But then
yeah.
after watching the show
Yeah.
more, I realized, wait, hold on for a second here. These are people who are dirt broke. They can't afford this giant house. How is this happening? And I remember seeing news stories
don't
of
they give it to them?
well, how can they afford the bills is the thing. And I remember seeing, I remember my mom saying there's a news story of
right.
oh yeah, 1 year later, this totally broke family is even more broke having to pay property taxes on this 3-story house.
Oh, dude.
And so
Yeah.
here's what I
One
can't...
of the best things you could do is look up the follow-ups of all reality show people.
Yeah,
like Kitchen
man.
Nightmares. There's a whole website dedicated to what happened to every Kitchen Nightmares restaurant.
Right.
They
So-
didn't all become famous chefs.
Yeah, so
by
this is what I
Gordon.
can't get into. Charity.
Imagine
The
that.
idea of giving someone something, I just think is so imprecise and
Oh,
so hard
boy.
to figure out. The idea of giving anything, it's just like, if someone gives me
Here
something,
comes
I'm like,
Davu
I
with
can't...
more hardcore conservative.
I can't, if someone gives me something, I'm like, I wish you didn't give me this. It would have been better for everyone if you
I
had
feel the
bought your...
total opposite. I want everyone to give me everything
Davu,
all of the
I
time. Please
feel-
go to patreon.com.
Patreon.com/endless
Patreon.com
Everyone,
I don't
best
think
guy
Davu's
ever.
talking about money.
Everyone except for Davu because he
No,
doesn't want it. We want
money
it.
or not, I want absolutely everything that anyone wants to give me. I will absolutely accept.
A Lannister takes what is
Is
offered.
that a thing
Is
they
that,
say?
is that a thing they say?
Or takes what is given. I'm pretty sure Tyrion
All right,
says
there's
that.
a
It
Well,
might
the thing
just
is,
be
I
it's
know
such a good
Atlantis
reason to
never
give for
Well,
Patreon.
yeah.
always pays
but,
debts.
but when I'm talking about stuff like Christmas...
No,
Digi,
an elephant never forgets. That's not
I
a
said
Lannister-
pays his debts. God damn it!
Lannister never
with
Yeah, the
Christmas
elephant
and
family
stuff,
lives in
like-
the Southern Isles. They're not from up western Westeros.
I'm 90% sure Tyrion said a Lannister takes what is given.
That's interesting, Davu. I feel differently. I like the idea of charity. I just will never do it because I don't give a fuck about anyone besides me.
But
so
okay,
I'll definitely take,
that's how I feel.
with Christmas.
There's definitely an element
yeah.
of that to it, Nate. But I'm also very distrustful of the
for
people
sure.
that
Yeah,
facilitate
absolutely.
charity. I do not trust
Because, I mean,
charity
let's
companies to
get to the
fairly
heart of the
distribute
matter.
my money.
Yeah.
Even if they offer me statistics claiming
Because
that they do, I still
everyone
don't
without
trust.
fail operates in self-interest, whether they admit it or not, and every charity is there to make, at the very least, to make you feel good about doing it. That is an unquestionable fact. So
if you
how
wanna give
how
to a
good
charity-
do you want to feel about it? Are you
If you
want
want
to
give
some
to
of that
charity,
money?
just put
You know?
$100 in your pocket and walk around Chicago for an hour and dole it out to bums.
Yeah, the poor community will have that money.
At least you know that it's going to someone.
Yeah.
Even if it's someone who's panhandling, who's not a real bum, who cares? At least I know it's going to him. He
And you know
earned
what?
it.
To have that money disappear out of your wallet like that,
It's
you know
not
it's
gonna
going
be
to an
fucking-
entrepreneur.
yeah.
A
It's
guy
gonna be
who's out
siphoned
there
away by the
hustling.
Susan G. Komen Foundation to pay for their pink helmets and their stupid
But
wristbands.
it's not even that. Okay,
Yeah.
look, Patreon. That's
Yeah. Yep.
it kind of belongs in the same realm as you're friends with someone and you go to dinner and you pay the tab sometimes and sometimes they do. There's this unwritten exchange of benefits to one another that you give. That's
Yeah.
what Patreon is.
That's why
but then you
the
go into
reason
stuff like-
Davu,
Yeah.
But then you get into
the
stuff
idea
like
behind charity is that there is also an unspoken thing, which is that you elevate someone's life and then they no longer are fighting in squalor to eat, and then maybe they turn out to be a great artist because they can finally pursue their
But
passions.
why don't they
or
just fucking
something.
deal with it, fuck them. I don't care. I don't care about anything.
Well, it's to me the whole idea of uplifting the lower members of our society is that it might benefit me in the long
No,
run.
you're absolutely
because
right. And if I could, I would
better
elevate
everyone
everyone
is,
immediately. However, I am not willing to lose even a single cent of my own money to do so. That's my position.
I mean, I don't blame you. I don't think it's necessarily true that you're automatically like. I don't think that that the only means to the end of people being better is giving them money. Sometimes the means to that end is
by the way,
spending
no claims on being a
I
good
can't
person.
get into.
I
It's
just
something that
don't
I can't
care.
become a fan of. It's like something. The idea of giving something is like it's just one of many great things to do, but it's not something that I ever think of as something that's good in itself. And I think that the whole idea of like Christmas gifts to adults doesn't work, at least for me. There's just nothing that anyone can buy me.
That's just like a friendship thing, dude.
Oh
I
my
mean,
god.
works.
Christmas gifts is such a fucking like
Right.
flaccid.
Well, here's what it is. Here's my
obligation.
theory
Such
about
a
Christmas gifts.
Stupid waste of
Here's my
everybody's
thing.
time.
The
and
whole
Okay,
the
all
whole
right.
tradition of giving people gifts on Christmas was invented back in like the 1800s, back when everyone made everything by hand. So that made a lot of sense.
Right,
But today,
right.
everyone just buys stuff, so it doesn't make a difference.
Okay,
I think.
but I just want to say I kind of like the idea of giving gifts on some level, just because oftentimes you will under no other circumstances will you ever give the people you care about anything. I know that's true of me. I never give anyone
Well, that's
anything.
because there's Christmas
I like
for you
being
to
forced to do nice
know,
things for
you
people.
feel-
I really do. I really do.
I feel like you would give gifts more if there weren't obligations to do so
Maybe,
at certain parts
maybe.
of the year.
I don't think I would either.
I would never give anyone anything.
I
Well,
had
you don't
I had
know
a
that,
fun
do you?
moment when once
I
I was
guess I
old
don't
enough to
know.
have my own money, and then Christmas rolled around. It was like exciting because it's like an expression of the fact that I'm an adult with his own income now, that I can buy things for people.
Sure.
Yeah, like
Am I
things
the
that
only
in ways
person
that
here
make
who
sense
just
and
likes
stuff.
being
Yeah.
nice sometimes? I
Yes,
feel like
you're
I'm
the only one.
Yeah,
I don't.
probably. Hey, I just gave Hippo $116 for his plane ticket down
But
here,
Tom,
like,
Tom, you're really doing it for
Yes,
yourself,
thank you
though,
for
aren't
that.
you? Just to feel good about doing it. I'm
Yeah.
not criticizing
Well,
you.
see, I have
just
to
think that's.
I think there's an element of both in there. I don't know.
okay.
It's like I'm going to visit my friend this week, and I'm
Yeah.
giving her a computer. She doesn't have one, so I'm giving her one.
I mean,
You're giving
I
her
think
one.
it's
Wow.
I think it's
so
different
you're gonna
if
smash
it's your
that puss,
friends
right?
because
I
like
assume that's what's going on.
I don't think of giving stuff to your friends as being in the same realm as charity, because when you're giving stuff to your
Yeah,
friends,
well,
it's deepening your bond and making you all sucking each other's dicks and getting a good hard
Right,
blowing,
right.
you know. And then,
Yeah,
like
of course.
if you just give money to some kid, that kid's not gonna suck your dick. That kid's
Yeah,
like,
what the
he
hell, kid?
doesn't even
Suck
have
my
lips.
fucking dick already.
He got hit in an explosion and he doesn't have lips anymore.
And you know
How's he
what?
gonna suck
I
your
bet
dick, you
even
know?
if he sucked my dick, he wouldn't be good at it.
Personally, though, I just have an obligation because my name is Digibro, and like the first time I did something nice for someone after changing my name to that, they said like, "Man, he really earned the bro in his name." And ever since
wow.
then, I feel like I have to do something really nice for somebody every couple of months so that I live up to Digibro, just so
Well,
that
the
more
next time
people
you
will
feel
say
like
that.
Did you, bro? Give me some of that sweet Patreon bucks.
Yeah, yeah.
I just gave, like I said, I gave some to Hippo, but that was a sweet Crunchyroll bucks actually.
I'll 4 or 5 months from now. Don't worry about it.
Everybody needs to get your plane tickets, by the way. Hippo and Devu already have theirs.
Wait, have we made a
guys
total
want-
announcement about RadCon 2016? I know
Should
you.
we? Do we need to on the channel?
We don't need to.
I mean,
Yeah.
they'll find out because we'll definitely make some shit.
Let's leave it a
definitely do
mystery
some
for
live
now. We
PC
can
Why?
come
I
back
mean,
to
that's
this
going to be
later.
too much of a mystery. You guys are just all going to.
All right, hey everybody, we're gonna have
I
a
don't want to ever tell anyone. We might just not.
we're gonna have a
never
conference
say.
at my house in September. It's gonna
there
be
you go.
cool.
Yeah, there. That's it.
By the
That's
way,
all
it's
I
not
wanted
a
to say.
convention. It's
Yeah,
rad.
it's not a
conference.
it's not a real convention. None of you people listening are invited. Don't
Yeah,
get the
it's
wrong
a
idea.
conference, not a convention.
Yes, it's rad conference. I'm considering it a conference or a summit, but not a convention.
Oh, and in case anyone doesn't get the joke,
I like
in
that.
case you
I
don't
like
get the joke,
Summit.
RadCon, Conrad is at Digi's house.
Oh.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
There's
I like
someone
it.
still doesn't get it in the audience.
Someone
Who
won't
the
get.
fuck
Whatever.
is Conrad?
I feel
Do we
like
have
you
any-
explaining it
anyone
made
wanna
it
do-
like way worse, and now
Anybody have anything
Whatever,
else?
man.
Absolute. Oh,
Before-
vastly
like we've been going for
worse.
3 hours and 10 minutes. Does anybody have
I'm
anything else
done.
they can't get into? All I brought up was country and classical music, and
I
I
have
guess
one that
old
could make
things.
everyone in this chat very mad. So
What's that? Let's hear it.
Yes.
This is as soon as you said things that I didn't like. This was the first thing that came to mind, and I knew if I said it, I'd get
Can't get
frustrated for it.
into.
Oh boy.
Oh, I want to
Yep.
hear it.
It's
I want to hear it.
punishingly difficult video games in the vein of Dark Souls. I fucking hate.
Oh,
all
come
those
Well,
on,
that's an
dude,
oxymoronic
come
statement
on.
right there.
Dark Souls is
How have you not like heard the
punishing.
5 million videos that people have come out with saying Dark Souls isn't punishingly difficult? This is a misunderstanding. What are you doing, Tom? How have you not heard that 5 times yet?
Yeah, how?
Oh, you
I have
fucking
no
geeks!
interest in
Who
playing
cares?
Dark Souls.
Well, there you go.
But
That's
Dark
not
Souls
how you
is the
do
best
it.
video game
Tom,
ever
I
made!
think you-
Why are you even living if you're not playing Dark
Tom, I
Souls?
think-
Nothing in life has ever given me
Tom,
joy
I can't
except for
believe
Dark
you say
Souls.
punishingly difficult. That's
Tom,
such a
I
hackneyed
think you
phrase.
bought
I'm
into
so sick of the punishing. Like, what does it mean to be punished? Does it literally spank you after you lose?
All right,
There's
all
no
right,
such
I
thing as
think-
punishingly
Yeah, Tom,
difficult.
I
I
don't-
hate that
The
term, by the
best
way.
game
Devu,
ever
wait, hold on,
made
wait,
is
hold on.
Crazy Taxi.
Devu, you are fucking
best
wrong.
game
There is
ever
such thing as
made
punishing.
is
If you have ever
Frogger
played
Frogger
Banjo
PlayStation
fucking Kazooie, when you die in that game,
The
you lose
best
every
game
collectible you've
ever
picked up in the
made
whole
is
level,
I
and
like
you have to
Taxi
start
7.
over,
Yeah.
and if you lose 5
Two.
lives, you have to start from the
Enter the
fucking
Gecko.
starting
Did you?
area
I
of the
totally
game.
agree that
It's
I can
way
agree
over
that the phrase
punishing.
is punishingly difficult. I
The
just
best
hate it when
game
Tom
ever
says it.
Is
Because he's
3
revealed himself as
Deep
such a
Cover
hack.
Gecko. The best game ever.
I
is
mean,
Crash
there's
Bandicoot
games
2.
like I Want to Be the Guy, which are
best
deliberately
game ever
punishingly
is
difficult. So
first
obviously
is Tomb
punishing
Raider
difficult
1.
is a thing, but
The
that's
best game
Dark Souls
ever
isn't
is
like
Mortal
that.
Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero. The best game
Yeah,
ever
that's true.
is Banjo Tooie. The best game ever.
I just don't think there's that many consequences for dying in Dark Souls. Like, the worst thing
Is
that
Pong.
happens is you have to fight through the last 1 minute again, which is fun because the combat is fun. So I never feel like I have to do something I don't want to do. It's like, oh boy, or oh no, I died and now I have to fight the funnest level of all time again.
When you do it the
You know,
20th time, it
I
starts to get
think-
annoying, though.
Well, you shouldn't be that
I-
fucking
I can-
shit
I
that
can-
it
I
takes you
think
20
more
tries.
so-
I've had to do that, and I'm the
I
best
think what
gamer
makes
of all
Dark
time.
Souls hard to get into way more than its difficulty is just the steepness of its learning curve, and even more so just the opaqueness of its UI and its systems. The fact that it doesn't explain how to play
That is
itself
definitely
the
the
worst
hardest thing
to
about
me.
Dark Souls
And
is not
I'm
knowing
pretty
how to
confident
play it.
that Tom
And
is
once
at
you
that
know how to
point.
play it, it's fucking
Welcome
easy.
to
And
the
I know
Dark
that because
Souls
I am
commentary.
garbage at video
I
games.
have created a faith build called Father Mitosis. You can all tell me your sins.
Look, all right, advice to the whole audience. If you want to be good at Dark Souls, put all of your levels into vitality, or not vitality if it's Dark Souls 3, but vigor and strength.
Yeah.
Just put all of it into your life and your strength, and then if you have a lot
Put
of
it all
life,
into faith.
then no matter how many times
All
you
of
get
it into
hit,
faith.
it doesn't matter because you have 1,000,000 life and the enemies won't do anything to you. And if you have a lot of strength, you kill them all in one hit. So then you
Yeah,
just
you'll
run
be
through every
fine.
level with a huge sword, upgrade your weapons, by the way. That's the other thing. Upgrade your
Dark
weapons.
Souls sucks.
And you're done. That's it. Have
Dark
a lot of
Souls
health, a
is
lot
a
of strength,
bad
upgrade your
game.
weapons, you
It's
win.
gay, and so is Homestuck. It's all bad.
The
My
only game
video
that's
is
good is
not
the
yellow.
color yellow.
Tom, did you have more to say about that subject before we all snapped on you?
I mean, I guess to just move away from Dark Souls and just punishingly difficult games, quote unquote, however you want to take that in general.
Yeah.
I don't like games. I play games to
I
relax.
don't like games.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
I play games to de-stress, not to get stressed. So there's
I
definitely
see.
a certain kind
Yeah.
of there's a threshold where I stop having fun and it starts becoming a chore. And any game that goes too far past that line, I feel like I'm just not getting anything.
I'm completely
that's how
in
you
agreement
feel.
I
with
think
you.
Souls is
I
very
absolutely
stress relieving
despise
because-
punishing games. I just don't think of Dark Souls as, and I did before. That's why it took so long for me to play it. But once I figured out how it works, then it was easy as fuck.
I
so
played, I played
it no longer was a
Contra
punishing game.
DS, and that game fucking sucked because it was just it's impossible. No one can fucking beat Contra. You get hit once,
Yeah.
and you're
I
dead.
tried
That game
playing
sucks.
Mega Man Zero. You ever play Mega Man Zero for GBA?
Of course, I
Those
played
things are
all of them, and I
fucking
loved
brutal.
them. And they were brutally difficult, but I beat them all just because they were so fun.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
Mega Man Zero. Yeah. Heck yeah, man. I was all about that
I
shit
mentioned
in
it
high
in
school,
passing
whatever.
earlier when everyone was yelling over each other, but I legit quit Banjo-Kazooie specific. I enjoyed
Lol.
the game, but the way that it punishes you when you die is
It did
so
fuck you pretty
unbelievably
hard.
severe.
How is
because
it?
of the fact. Because you have to collect like for certain jiggies and stuff, it'll be collect
Yeah.
every music note in the level, and if you lose a life, you have to collect everything over again.
do.
It gets rid of everything you've collected, and then if
I
you lose
see.
5 lives, it just arbitrarily puts you in the very beginning of the game. You just have to walk back
Yeah,
to where
it's-
you
it's
were, and
dumb.
it takes
It's dumb.
a long time. So anytime there's certain there's a pretty big steep difficulty curve in the game where it gets pretty hard later on, and it's like, it's not that the challenges weren't fun, but it is an early N64 game, and sometimes you die to the camera, sometimes you die to you attacked slightly off from the enemy and then they hit you. Like, there's a lot of deaths that would be forgivable if you were instantly respawning and not losing everything.
If we're defining punishing as just like shittily designed and like unreasonably, like a camera death is punishing because you're just being punished for no reason.
Requires a lot of.
I mean, when I say punishing, what I really mean is games that I'm not having fun with anymore.
Well, I agree with that. I hate not fun games.
Wow, really insightful, Tom.
I think what Tom was meaning is like
harsh.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that I feel about video games is I have like an ungodly amount of patience.
Yeah, me too.
Like I can summon I can sometimes summon infinite patience.
It must have been the way we came up, because I feel the same way, Ben. We're like that.
Okay. Like Newgrounds games that are like, the games where like you fire yourself out of a cannon and like how far you go gets you more money, and then you use that money to buy upgrades to your cannon. I can spend like entire days like upgrading games like that.
Or Cookie Clicker, something along those lines.
And like if I put in a significant amount of effort collecting all those music notes in Banjo-Kazooie and I die, you better fucking believe I'm going to do it all again.
Well,
I don't care.
Right now, Ben is trying to get the 100th and final crystal in Grow Home, something that seems completely ridiculous to the rest of us. But he's chugging away.
It's like it's a matter of.
Except for this last one, it wasn't even that hard. Okay, the last like 5 or so were pretty fucking hard.
I think I love hard games, but only when it's like every moment of it is fun anyways.
I was just going to say, like, for Ben, getting, like, the last 5 out of these 100, like, it's the bell curve of fun has curved down, so you're getting so little fun per time invested,
On the one hand, yes, it's true. Even if it's not fun anymore, I continue to do it. I can't stop. On the other hand, Grow Home is such a great fucking game. It's fun it's fun to just glide around and climb.
Yeah, just being in the game is enjoyable
so that's still fun.
Yeah, because, like, there's like the original Ninja Gaiden for the original Xbox. Like that game is.
You can't say the original without meaning NES. You have to say like the semi-original.
Well, he said for Xbox. God damn it!
Yeah, well, he faked me out for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Why don't we just talk about every fucking video game ever made? Why don't we just make this an 8-hour podcast? How about that? Why don't we just sit here for the rest
Jesse,
of our fucking...
you can dip out and stop your recording if you want, Jesse.
That's true.
We're not holding you at gunpoint.
No, because I wanted to make my final point. I need to say my final thoughts.
All right, well, let us wrap up Tom's point. Tom hasn't been here the whole time. Yeah. He's trying to blow off some stress from work. Let him get the.
Here we got fucking Princess Jessie over here.
Wait
a minute. I want to hear about.
Wait a minute. I didn't know you guys could hear me. I was just muttering under my breath.
I bet.
I wasn't trying to annoy anybody.
No, Tom, I am curious about this because of the fact that I know you're a huge fan of like Ninja Gaiden and Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, which by my metric are unbelievably fucking hard games. So this is definitely not about hard games.
Ninja Gaiden is definitely pretty difficult.
Yeah.
I've never like people were bitching like when Devil May Cry 3 came out that it was super fucking hard. And I didn't think it was hard at all. Like, I fucking destroyed that game, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is hard." So it's, but like there are other games that I'll find fucking really difficult. So it's weird, and I want to like Dark Souls because everybody here likes Dark Souls, but every time I play it, I'm just not enjoying the gameplay at all.
Tom, have you played Bloodborne yet?
Are you leveling up? Are you upgrading your weapons?
I've only played it for a little bit, but even just like the way the game moves, the way your character moves, the way
have you tried
Bloodborne? It takes time to get
yet?
used to it.
I don't have a PS4 anymore. Nate has my PS4.
Oh yeah,
well,
I bought it.
I think you would enjoy Bloodborne a lot more than the other games because of the fact that
I think you might enjoy
way faster.
Dark Souls 3 because that's a lot faster as well.
That is true.
Well, Bloodborne in particular has like a more aggressive like Metal Gear Rising or Devil May Cry-esque feel to it. I don't know if anyone's going to disagree with me on that. I had this very long argument in the past about how I think Bloodborne is...
After watching that video of Matthew Matos's analyzing the first Devil May Cry, it looks a lot like Bloodborne in the sort of the feel.
It has the same... Like,
Yeah, like the attack animations, I definitely see where you're
it
coming
feels
from.
like, even though it plays like Dark Souls, it's a lot faster and it's less punishing on your health, where enemies just do less damage, and it's more about regaining health. Because like in that game, every time an enemy hits you, if you hit them back within a certain amount of time, then you regain all the health that they took from you.
Which
so
is
it really
a great
promotes
mechanic.
This, yeah, which is a lot like Metal Gear Rising, where if you know, kill enemies in a certain way, you regain your health. So it's got some of that like spectacle fighter aspect to it, while still being the like free-form open world RPG that Dark Souls is. And I think that Bloodborne, in spite of being like, I don't think it's easier than the other games, but I think it's so much easier to like get the point and be like, oh yeah, this is fun, you know, which is why like Aaron Hansen got into the Souls series through that game, because like he totally didn't get the point until that one, and then it was like, oh, now it all makes sense, and then went back and played all the others, and that's how I experienced it too. So maybe Bloodborne would be a good entry point for you if you ever find a chance to play it.
I need to get a PS4 again at some point, because now there's actually games coming out again.
Did you like sell it to Nate or something?
I sold it to
me
because you wanted to get the new Kingdom Hearts, because you were hyped for Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, like that's gonna happen. You're gonna need the PS4K by the time that fucking game comes out.
Possible.
You know,
Well, I think specifically because I remember going out. I believe I got the PS4 from you specifically because Bloodborne was coming out and I wanted to be there.
Hey
midnight
Nate, remember
release,
that time
baby.
you bought the PS3 for Kingdom Hearts?
I do remember that. I remember buying. I have purchased in my life 3 PS3s with the intention of playing Kingdom Hearts 3. Oh God, just fucking kill me.
Okay, what was
Why
Jesse's
did you
final
betray
point?
me,
Dead.
Square Enix? Why would you do this to me?
in the fucking head.
Yeah, I'm rolling in my fucking grave right now. Jesus Christ.
All right, Jesse.
I got
Huh? What? Oh. Okay. Well, guys, it sure has been a great podcast, but it's time for my final thoughts.
It's time to nuke this baby. Yeah.
It's
been a
it's
fucking
been great
roller
being friends
coaster.
with you all, but it's time for my final thoughts on Yellow.
Yeah. Okay.
I
I don't have the energy to argue anymore. Just
This is
do
the
it.
greatest podcast I've ever been a part of, by the way.
Guys,
This is the most
people-
I've
Digi, you
ever
better
enjoyed a
make it-
podcast.
Digi, you have to give this video a yellow stamp.
I'm gonna make the opening song is gonna be Coldplay. I promise
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
all
right,
the
Jesse.
people out there in the world listening to this, all the impressionable youngsters who may hear these people's bullshit and believe it because you don't know any better.
Yeah.
I just want to set you straight. I just want to let you know, yellow is actually my favorite color.
Wow.
And this is true,
I actually knew that.
I love
Starboard bow is yellow.
yes, right. Starboard, and I love Fluttershy. I love Asuka's yellow dress in episode 8 of Neon Genesis
who doesn't?
Evangelion.
Who doesn't?
There's so I love bananas. I love all the yellow things. So don't you think I'd know if my video was yellow? Don't you think
That's
that a
an appeal to
connoisseur of
authority.
yellow, such as myself,
It is an appeal to authority.
You
That's a
know-
fallacy. No, shut up. You don't know what
guys,
the authority on yellow.
I've been down with yellow for a long time, and if my videos, if I had a video that was yellow, it would be because I purposely made it yellow, and seeing as how I did not purposely make a video yellow, it could not have been yellow because
now I know how Digi feels when he claims that like I just say that I get video games more than everyone else because I am the best at them.
Yeah.
That doesn't,
Yeah,
not much
now
of an argument,
tasting
hearing
your
it
own
from this
medicine. I
side.
think we all do it. I
Yeah.
think we're all fucking terrible
guilty.
people,
Yeah,
honestly.
that's true. It's
Well,
true.
I'm just saying that since we've established that I am the best guy at determining what is yellow and what is not, the best guy at finding it in
Yeah.
the crowd, I
Jesse,
think it's
if
pretty
your
obvious.
victory for this argument is that we have to accept that you decide what is yellow, I'm down.
I'll
I'm
accept
honestly
that.
down. I will accept that we're all going to change our definition of yellow to fit Jesse's definition of yellow.
Yellow's performative.
that
Patreon.com/BenSaint.
Yes, Jesse?
that's one way to put it, Digi, but the more accurate way would be to say that you should all be done changing the definition of yellow and you should go back to what it actually is, which is and has always been my definition of yellow, which is the actual color yellow, not the color of my video. It's a simple formula, kids. It's a simple fact of the world. It's
All
not.
right, so
it's
what
not
color are
rocket
your
science.
videos? The color is normal, right? That's what you
Normal
wanted us to
color.
call
They
it.
are normal color. They're
My
all one
videos-
color.
Normal.
My videos are definitely normal, and that Christmas video in particular, I
It was really looking normal in that one for sure.
It
I'm gonna have to
absolutely
I'm gonna have to download.
Dude, I just smoked some weed, bro, and I'm
I gotta go
normal as
into my
fuck
color
right
packs
now.
on my computer and download normal, like a font pack, and throw it in there, just so I can make stuff in Jesse's style if I ever need to.
It's smart.
It's funny that you're trying to make my argument sound so out there by claiming that normal is like some color. That I'm saying something so crazy when I just say that the video looks normal. It looks how the human eye actually detects what the world looks like. I'm not talking rocket
in
science
rooms with
here,
fluorescent
people.
light. It does look like
This
what the
podcast
human
has
eye
been such a
sees.
fucking gauntlet. I can't believe it's still happening.
Why, to you, is it yellow? Is my question.
God damn it, Jesse! There's a
looks
just because it's not
yellow!
actually full
It's-
yellow. There is a delta in
You
the
see,
yellow
right
value
there,
of the image.
Right there, he said it, people. You heard it right from the horse's mouth. Just because it's not yellow doesn't mean it's not yellow.
You don't understand how color works in fucking video. God damn it! There's a
I
gulf
don't understand
between
how
the
color
yellowness.
works. These
of
guys
both
are saying that
images.
something. This guy's argument
Roy
is that
G.
because
Biv.
it's not
Roy G. Biv. Roy G. Biv. Roy G. Biv. Roy G. There is. We all live in our own realities. We all have our own, ideas about the world. And if one of us thinks that one thing is yellow and everyone else thinks it's something else, we can't tell that person they're wrong, really. I mean, we can say that they don't agree with the general consensus, but it's no different than saying that something is good, Good is in the eye of the beholder. Yellow is in the eye of the beholder of yellow. We can't tell a man what is or isn't yellow. We can only tell him what we perceive. And just as some people might say, well, there is a God, and therefore morality is determined by what my God says, the next guy who doesn't believe in that God will say, you're wrong. And neither one you can really say is right. I mean, you can have scientific observations to back your claims, but who's to say that science is correct, right? So there's really no way of disproving what is or isn't yellow by each individual person's standards.
Biv! Roy G. Biv! You need
G.
to introduce
Biv.
yourself to my buddy Roy G. Biv,
think-
Jesse.
you see-
He's gonna teach you a thing or two.
You ever played Smash Bros. When you're winning with Roy and the crowd starts chanting Roy G. Biv?
chaos. But what they don't realize is that I am prepared to do this all day.
Jesse,
I will
okay.
I will make a 10-hour podcast.
The endless podcast.
Okay, Jesse, I have a
I fully
question that can be
understand
answered
and
with yes,
appreciate
no,
that about
or
you. I do.
no. It can be answered with okay. I'll give you the question. All right.
Okay.
In that visualization that I showed you, where I compared the colors of your face and your beard and your eye from a natural lighting shot to a fluorescent lighting shot, and you see the individual colors, and there's the color on the left is the color in your basement. Are those colors more yellow, yes, less yellow, or the same amount of yellow?
Does he even have
The
that
same
image?
amount of yellow, Devu, which is none yellow. Okay.
That's objectively
There
incorrect.
we
Jesse,
go.
you realize
What
that
a-
light is made out of a combination. There's one thing that really
I feel like we have a different opinion on what is a color.
I think we do.
Pointless conversation.
We need to get to the root of this whole
well,
thing. If we're ever
here's
gonna
the
fucking
problem
have
though
peace.
is that I want to be able to tell Jesse that there's a spectrum of light by saying that light.
Oh, there's a spectrum, all right, and he's on it.
Bam!
But the only
Damn!
problem, the reason why that argument
We're all
isn't
on
going
the
to work
spectrum.
is that the
That's
light
true.
spectrum is red, green, and blue, so it doesn't involve yellow. So he's gonna not even accept that as an argument. So there's just
Don't
hopeless.
computer monitors use blue,
Roy G. Biv.
purple, and monitors only use.
monitors
Yeah,
use RGB.
blue and purple. It's cyan,
Yeah,
yellow,
it's
Real
and
light
whatever.
is the
magenta.
entire spectrum.
Devu.
We've
everyone-
experienced the entire spectrum in this podcast for sure.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it at
Obviously-
this point.
That's what happens when we all
Ah,
come together.
God,
clearly.
It's true.
people.
Maybe all of our different perceptions of colors is determined by our different levels of autism. Maybe that's
Maybe.
why we don't all see it the
Maybe
same
we've
way.
cracked the
Yeah,
code.
exactly. I have no
Have
autism,
we
and
mentioned
so
what video this even is?
I don't see any yellow because I'm not autistic, unlike the rest of you. That's exactly right, Digi. You see, Devu, that picture
That's one way to
that you
interpret
made,
that.
yes, obviously the colors in the two pictures were different, but neither of them were yellow in any way.
Jesse, so are you saying that the other one looks blue to you?
No. What the fuck?
Because if something is less yellow, it's more blue.
What the
Yeah, that's
fuck?
That's
I had a
thing.
feeling we were gonna get to this at some point, and it was gonna make it even worse.
That's how color
Light
works,
comes in
dude.
two forms: yellow and blue light. Those are the two kinds of light.
That's
Well,
that's,
No, you idiot!
simplistic. That's a
Light
simplistic.
comes in one form, light, or else it's dark.
Oh my god.
No, there's a rainbow of color. There's a rainbow, but the thing is, when light is normal, light is really shy. The colors are really shy. You need a prism which excites them and makes them feel emboldened in their actions. It's like alcohol for people. It makes them
Is this
all
how you learned
they
this
come
or
out from the.
something?
This is like teaching kindergartners. You know,
You
how
guys
light
are
works,
trying. You
Jesse,
are
Are
do
teaching
you think
kindergartners
that-
by using alcohol as an example?
Well,
Jesse,
I mean, maybe not
Do you
alcohol.
think that just because that image captured by your camera is what it looked like in real life, does that to you mean that it isn't yellow?
No, Ben. What makes it not look like yellow is the fact that it does not look like yellow.
I
So
mean,
it's like
I'm looking
orange,
at my
right?
room
It's
right
I don't
now.
know why
my
this
whole
is
room
so
looks yellow,
complicated
and
for
outside
you
looks
people
blue.
to grasp. I don't know how
Why did we
anyone can
start
be
this
this
again? I
retarded
thought we were done.
that you people just
'Cause
can't
Jesse couldn't
understand
fucking
that
leave
it
it.
simply
God.
does not look like yellow. This is not rocket science. This is not open heart surgery. It does not, I repeat, does not look like yellow.
I just don't believe in this idea that there is a normal look. Like, everything is affected by the light source that is on
Okay,
it.
forget the word normal.
Jesse,
forget
I'm
it
gonna
completely
fucking
then.
take this picture. Jesse, I'm gonna print this picture out and take it around fucking Steve Harvey game show
Then
style,
that's
whatever it's
pointless
called.
because we're
And go
all in
it around
agreement,
to 100
and
people
that's
on the
not
street and be
helping.
like, hey, what fucking color does this look like? And like 99 out of 100
Jesse,
Jesse,
99% of them will look
Jesse won't
at you
care.
like you're
Jesse
a
won't
crazy
care.
person because it doesn't look like a color. It looks like a fucking picture of a guy.
Well, what the
You're
hell,
so
man? There's
god-
pictures
Oh
of
yeah,
fucking
pictures,
native colors.
pictures don't have colors, dude.
What?
You see, I think that most people believe
there
in
are
some kind of
colors in the
objective
picture.
reality.
I'm wearing a
that
red
everyone
sweater,
is
I'm
kind
wearing
of
a red
biased
hat,
towards the reality that they
background.
themselves perceive.
Obviously,
I've got frosting on my
the
face.
video itself does
I'm
not have a
eating
yellow
these.
tint. You guys are out of your fucking minds. You guys are
You know, there's no way to prove or disprove someone else's reality as
Jesse, I have
being
now
less real than your
now
own.
created
So it's
a
always an argument. Everyone's perception of reality is a fight. And there's no victory.
I'm sorry,
There's no way
I
to
can't
convince
hear you
someone
over the
else that
retardation,
they're
the
seeing
cacophony
something
of
wrong
retardation
or that
that's
you're
surrounding
seeing
me at
something
this
right.
moment.
Yeah.
Not that it's that much different from the other.
So I don't think there's such thing as an objective
You guys
truth
go
about
from
what's
one
yellow.
retarded cacophony
Like
to
I
a
said,
retarded
yellow
symphony.
is
And it's one or the other, but
really up
neither
to
is
the
better.
individual,
Neither
so-
is helping
That's
your
true.
case.
A
No one's
cacophony.
right
It's a cacophony.
or wrong.
Cacophony of sound. That's true.
Yeah.
When we do it, it's a cacophony.
Yeah. Here, guys.
You know, the
guys.
burden of proof is on you guys. That's, you know,
Good. I'm proving it.
No,
I'm
it's-
proving it
well,
even more. Here,
God.
this is more evidence, right? I'm taking the color of your face in the basement videos, and then I have a list of shades of yellow, and and there's one shade of yellow in particular that's pretty dang.
Well, that's not perfectly
I know, but it's
blended.
pretty dang similar.
Wait,
out of
how-
only like 30
here's-
that are listed.
Here's
It's
what I'm
pretty
gonna
close.
do. Here's what I'm gonna
Go on,
fucking
Ben.
do. I'm gonna take the picture. I'm gonna put it in fucking Manga Studio. I am going to blend the entire picture into a single solid hue, and then I'm gonna post that hue, and you guys are gonna look at it and tell me what color does it fucking
Okay.
look like.
So-
I'm gonna
so
fucking
Jesse, you
solve
wow,
see that,
it.
right?
Ben,
There's all
it's
these
almost
different
like
shades of
if
yellow,
you
and
change
one
the
of which is
picture,
very
it'll be
similar to
something
what your face
different.
No,
looks
Ben,
like.
that's not
Wow.
gonna work. Jesse won't believe it because he'll say that because you altered the picture, it's not real.
I'm only gonna use the blur tool and nothing more. And I don't care if Jesse doesn't find that valid. It
It's
is.
not
Yeah,
valid.
yeah.
Nothing
I
that any
think
of you have
everyone's
said is valid.
desperation to win this is really fucking hilarious.
Guys,
What's your response
we
to
need
this?
to
I
end
don't-
I want your rebuttal of
This
this.
is
This is a
going too
shade
long.
of yellow that looks very similar to your skin in your basement videos.
No, that's a shade of skin that looks similar to my skin, you dumb fuck.
Skin is not. Hey, guess what, Jesse? You're promoting racism because skin used to be a name of a color for Crayola crayons. Skin, and
That's
it just
true.
was just white people's skin. That was racist, so they got rid of it. You're saying that yellow looks normal because your skin
Listen
is
to
tinted
these-
yellow.
Your logic is getting
Listen to
pretty
these
out there.
people trying to
Digi,
convolute
how else am I
society.
supposed to
We're-
rebut
you're
Jesse?
trying-
We're all completely.
You're not
punch-drunk.
supposed to rebut it because there is no rebuttal.
It's not gonna
Jesse
work.
doesn't think it's yellow. Nothing is gonna change that. We're all insane for arguing with him, but I find it so funny that I can't stop. And I'm also wasted, and I just love this podcast.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked and appalled by your guys' insistence on trying to rationalize your insane belief that this fucking picture of me is yellow.
Jesse,
it's
yellow
not.
in comparison. It has a yellow hue tint to it. It's just an overture of yellow.
Hippo's not even playing songs related to this argument anymore. He's
Yeah.
just playing "She's So Heavy" by the Beatles.
This conversation is fucking heavy. It's weighing on my soul like a fucking anchor.
All right, does anybody have anything else that they can't get into,
No,
or are
I'm
we
glad
wrapping
it's
this
weighing on
up?
your soul.
I'm
I
done.
hope this conversation haunts you all for days to come. I hope you see my face in your nightmares, and I hope my face in your nightmares looks yellow, motherfucker, because that's the only place it's ever going to look yellow, is in your own sick imaginations, just like in your imaginations right now.
You know what?
When you're imagining
Okay,
that my video is
wait,
yellow.
You know what the
You know,
opening
I
of this
know
video
how we
should
can
be?
end this.
What's
Okay,
that?
I was just talking with Idle Yokai about
Yeah.
this argument, and she says that Jesse's videos look yellow.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Why does that matter?
Well, Idle.
I'm
Yukai
just gonna
is
fade out this
obviously
podcast
the
on
word.
Hippo.
Why does that matter, Tom?
Guys-
why is that even
Guys,
relevant?
everybody stop. We have to sync with
Hey,
Tom.
you know what? It's a funny thing that you mentioned Idle Yukai, and I'll tell you exactly why. And I want everyone to gather around and listen to this little
okay.
tidbit, okay? Because Idle Yukai is currently drawing a picture for me, okay? She's doing a commission. And I said to her, and this is a true story, you can ask
shit.
her. I said, I want my sunglasses to be yellow. And
Okay.
guess what?
Oh boy, I'm
Reflect the
on
light in
board.
your room.
She gave me
Guys, I'm-
her picture, and the sunglasses were wrong. The sunglasses were black, so she doesn't know what yellow is. Okay? So I win. That's it. Thank you.
Guys,
Thank you
the
for
opening-
proving
the
my
opening
point.
for this
Grumpy.
podcast. The opening for
All
this
right.
podcast
I'm
should
getting
be
grumpy
that
as fuck.
I
yellow.
win.
Look,
Guys, all right, we need to sync with Tom.
Okay.
You've
Tom,
thrown your hat into the ring with fools.
all right.
Tom,
we're
on the
synced.
count of 3, we all say shit bricks. 1, 2, 3.
Shit bricks.
Shit bricks.
You know what's really crazy is I've had a
1,
lot of restraint.
2, 3.
Shit bricks.
Shit bricks.
Well, you know what else we haven't even
Alright,
brought up?
and I'll stop
that would
recording.
just amplify this even more.
Wait,
is
wait,
the,
everybody, say goodbye. Bye.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm supposed to be working right now. I'm supposed to be working right now. But I'm not working. I'm doing nothing. My dick I'm jerking. Myself I'm sucking. I am an asshole. I am a stupid. I've got a deadline. Don't wanna do it. What the hell is wrong with me? I'm supposed to be making money. I'm supposed to be creating funny things that the people gladly will pay for. Artistic genius, that's what they came for. Instead, I'm tweeting, hashtag repeating. That's why there's no heat and holes in the ceiling. Yeah, it's quite the burden. It's a hard knock life being a genius.